contains rows and columns. A row is also called as record or tuple. Column
Yes,
is nothing
let's
but
start
what?
today's
Field or
session.
attribute. And if you want to create a table in
So this
SQL
is
Server,
your
at least
first
one
session
column is
of
required.
Python full
So like
stack web
ID, name,
development.
address, age, salary, these are the
Okay.
column names, and
So
maximum
this
10,
is
24
Python
columns are
full stack
allowed in one table
development
in
session.
SQL Server especially. A
So
table
first
name
of all,
should not start
in
with a
today's
digit
lecture, I'm
and
going
should
to
not contain
discuss
2 or more parts. These
in
are the
Python full
table
stack
creation
development,
rules.
what subjects
At the
are
same
going to
time,
be
column
covered.
name also should not
Okay.
start with a digit and should
So
not contain 2 or
I'll
more
explain
parts.
you clearly each
In
and
case if
every
you want to
subject
create a
purpose.
table name or
Okay.
column name
Then
more than one part,
you will get
okay,
clarity.
then we can use
So
underscore
what
sign
things are
better
there in Python full
to
stack
combine
development,
the
right?
2 or
Yeah.
more parts.
So
So
first
I
of
said
all,
SQL
in
Server
Python
is
full
a
stack
relational
development,
database
or if you
management
want to
system
become a
which
Python
is
full
used
stack
to
developer,
manage and access the
you
data
must
from
and should
database.
learn one language.
To work with SQL
Okay,
Server
that is our
development
main core
coding,
language.
we need one
So that
software called
language name
SQL
is
Server 2022
Python.
software.
So this
This
is the
is an
main
editor tool
subject. Okay,
where we
Python,
can write
first language.
completely database queries and
Next,
SQL
some
statements.
frameworks are there
The moment
in
when we
Python full
install
stack
successfully
development,
SQL Server
especially
2022 software,
to develop web
and you will
applications
get
or websites.
SSMS.
Okay,
This is
some
client tool,
frameworks are
SQL
there.
Server Management
The
Studio.
frameworks are nothing
And
but
this
like
client tool
Django
through we
framework,
can perform all the SQL Server
REST
queries
API
and
framework,
statements. So this is what
Flask
exactly I
framework.
explained
These
in
are
the
the
last lecture.
frameworks.
Just basic information I passed.
Along with
And
these
even those
frameworks,
who are
you
new to
must and
this
should
session,
aware of
okay, who are
UI
new to this session,
basics.
this is the second demo
Means
I'm
user
going to start today.
interfaces
And even
like
after
HTML
completion of demo,
plus
our team will
CSS
send a previous
plus
demo link
JavaScript
also. Yesterday,
and then
whatever the session
jQuery
conducted, that video link
and
also
then
they'll share to
Bootstrap.
you. And along with that, they'll share
Okay.
the
Then
topic
along with
like
UI
content, SQL Server
designing or
development
UI
content also they'll
basics,
send it.
so you
So
must
please
and should
check once,
aware
okay? And
database
even tomorrow
knowledge.
also you
So
can
in full
have the
stack
demo
development,
session. Total 3
we are
demos
going
we'll
to cover
conduct in the
SQLite 3
context of SQL Server.
and
And tomorrow also attend the
MySQL.
demo session. Feel free to
These
attend
are the
with the same
database
link.
tools.
After that, you can enroll for
So
this
observe
course to
carefully.
continue
These are the
all SQL
main
Server
subjects
development
which I am
sessions
going to
from day
cover
after
in
tomorrow
full
onwards.
stack
Enrollment
development.
is required.
Okay, one
But tomorrow
language
also
that
demo
is
session is there.
Python,
You can feel free
and
to
total
attend the
3 frameworks,
session with the same link only.
Django, REST
Now
API,
let's begin
Flask.
the session today, sir.
These are web application development
So
frameworks.
first,
Day after
In the
tomorrow
web
onwards,
application development process,
tell
you
me.
must aware
day
the
after tomorrow
UI
onwards,
design,
the link which
like
we are
how
having
to
finish up
prepare
in
the
that
web
will be
pages or
open as well
websites
for us, or
design
we will
wise.
be providing a
Design
link for us
purpose, we need
for
to
SQL
learn
Server.
UI basics. Okay, and database
Timing,
management
wait a
also
minute.
required, right? In
Timings
the
are
web
7 a.m.
development
to
process,
7 p.m. to 8
compulsory
p.m.
we need to handle with our data. So
Yes,
the
7 p.m. to
database
8 p.m.
management
she shall
purpose, we
complete
need
the
to
subjects.
learn
No,
database
no,
tools
no.
like
That's
SQLite 3 and
No,
MySQL.
no, not at all. I'm
So
not
total
speaking about
these
at all C#
6
.NET. I
subjects
clearly
I'm going
mentioned
to cover
by this weekend we
in
will
Python
plan
full
that
stack
pending
development.
topic.
So if you
This will be
enroll
continued.
for this Python full stack
I'll
development,
let you know
the
that.
course duration
This
is
is not
4 months.
situation to talk about
Yes,
that.
it will take totally
Okay.
4 months
Yeah.
to complete all these
Right. Let's begin.
6 subjects.
First, I would like
That
to
is
show
a
you
part of
already
Python full
in my
stack
computer
development.
right now SQL Server
For
Management
suppose if you
Studio is there
enroll only for
because I have
Python,
already
that means
installed
some
and
students
downloaded
are
and
looking
installed that.
for only Python
Okay.
programming
Now,
language according to
if you
their
want to go
requirement.
with
It's
SQL
enough.
Server Management
Python,
Studio,
basic Python, that is
or
core
if you want to
Python,
install it, so I
advanced Python,
simply
both are there in
recommend just
Python
go
language.
to Google
Only
search
Python if you
and
enroll.
simply
So
download
it takes, the duration is
download
45 working days to 50 working days. Okay, that means
SQL
up to 2 months I can say that.
Server
Only Python up to 2
2022.
months. Like 45 working days to
Then
50
I
working days.
recommend you to click
And
on this
full
SQL
stack
Server
development of
downloads
Python, that
Microsoft.
means total
Once
3
you click on
frameworks,
this
1
link,
programming
okay,
language,
you can scroll
UI
down
basics,
simply,
and
sir.
SQLite and
I
MySQL.
recommend to
For this, it
download
will
this
take 4
SQL
months
Server
duration.
2022 Developer
Okay,
Edition.
so depends on
It
your
is a
requirement, you
full-featured
can
free
choose
edition only.
anyone.
Okay,
So I can give you
licensed for
some
user
clarity
development
about
and
this.
test-based in a
Who should
non-production
go with
environment.
only
So
Python
for
language
students
and
and
who should go with
faculty
complete
members
Python
or
full stack development.
practice
Suppose your requirement
purpose,
is
they
after learning
provide free
Python,
edition only.
if you
I
want to
strongly
move
recommend to
towards
download and
data
install it.
science
Okay,
or
installation
data
process is also
analysis
very simple, but
or
it is
MI,
not lightweight
ML,
software.
machine
It
learning
is
or
completely
AI,
heavyweight
in
software. It
this
will take
area,
minimum
if you are
4
planning to
GB
go
memory.
with this area like
So
data
it
science,
will take minimum 15 to 20
data
minutes time
analysis,
to installation process. process.
I
You
and
just go with the
ML,
flow, step by
even
step.
AWS, DevOps.
Automatically you
So
will understand
after
this. If you don't know,
learning Python,
then
if you
just to
are
follow the
moving towards
steps,
these
steps to
courses, then
download
better to
or
go
steps
with
to
only
install
Python
SQL
core in
Server
advance.
2022. You can type that, then
So no
provide a
need to
lot of
learn
steps here.
Django,
Or
REST
else
API,
if you have
Flask
any
UI and
trouble,
all.
please let me
Okay.
know
But
after
some students are
completion
looking
of
for
this demo
purely
sessions.
Python. If
Anyway,
they
I'll
don't
assist
have
you through
any
WhatsApp
plan
group,
to
no
move
problem.
towards data science
So
or AL,
the moment when we
ML,
download this SQL
AI,
Server
and
2022 developer edition and install
DevOps,
it, so
AWS
you
like
will be
this.
able to
So
get
if
the
you
first
want to
time,
become complete full
this is
stack
going, sir.
developer
Let's
of
open
Python,
the
so better to
SQL
go with
Server
all
Management
these
Studio
subjects,
here.
full
You
stack
just simply
development.
go to search box,
So this is
SQL
just
and
I'm
type
giving
in.
clarity.
You
Then
can
you
see
can
everybody
decide
should
which you
get this
want.
Microsoft
Okay.
SQL Server
Yes.
Management
Now
Studio.
let's talk about
Microsoft SQL Server
each and every
Management Studio.
subject purpose
This you
actually.
have to get.
So I'm saying in
If you
full
get
stack
this, that
development, you
means
are
you have
going to learn these all
successful
6 subjects,
installation
right?
complete
So
of
each
SQL
subject
Server.
purpose
Okay.
you must aware
So let
that.
me open for
So
the first
first
time how to
subject
open
is
this Microsoft
Python.
SQL Server Management.
So
So
what
just
is
click on it.
Python here? Okay.
Once you
Yeah.
click on it,
First we'll talk
so
about Python later.
we are able to
I'm
see
giving
lot
just
of
brief
services here.
introduction each
So I
and
would
every
like to
subject so
explain the
that what is
services
the
also, sir.
purpose of subject you
This
must
is
know that.
SQL Server
So
Management
after that
Studio.
we'll begin with Python
Microsoft
only,
SQL Server
because
Management
Python is
Studio
mandatory
2022
before going
Microsoft
to
All Right
learn
Result.
anything in full
So
stack development
first
like
time you will be
Django,
able
REST
to get
API,
this
Flask,
window.
other things.
Okay.
So first
But notice
45 days
this,
to
in this
50 days,
window, all of you,
we have to
server
focus
type
on
is there.
only Python.
So there are
So
lot of
first
server types are there. You can
Python
expand this
is
drop down list. So we have database engine service is
Python
there,
is a programming
analysis service
language.
is there, reporting
Yes,
services are there, integration
Python is a
services are there,
programming
SSII,
language.
Azure Cloud
Generally,
integration
any
service,
programming
runtime
language if
also
you
there.
take,
There are
which
so
is
many services are
used
there.
to
So
develop
let me explain one by one service.
coding
And
part,
also I will
coding part
disclose what is
for
our
the
service
applications.
type actually, because we
Yes.
are purely involving
Python is
the
a
SQL
programming
Server
language
development
which is
topics.
used to
So our
develop
service is
coding part,
ultimately
or which
database
is
engine
used
only.
to write
Okay.
coding part
But
for the
not
application
only the
development.
SQL Server development process, analysis
So if you
process,
want to
reporting
develop the
process,
applications,
integration process also
you
will be
must
there.
write some
For
logic or
them,
coding,
they are
right? That
providing
coding we
these
can
many
write using
services
what
here.
language? Python
First, let me
language.
talk about
So that's
database
what we can
engine.
say it is a
Database
programming language.
engine service.
So
Database
programming
engine
part is
service
important and
is
logic
used
part is
to
important
manage
for
and
developing any
access the data
application.
from database.
Okay, this
Okay,
is the language
especially
actually.
SQL Server
So
developers only.
throughout
I recommend
entire
to
full stack
select this
development,
database
wherever
engine
you
type.
write some
Every time we are
logic
going to
or
pass
wherever
SQL
you
commands
write
and
some
SQL
coding
statements,
part,
that
that
statement
coding
passing
part
purpose we use
going to
our
be
server
written
type
in
is
Python language through
database
only.
engine server type.
So that's what you
And
must aware
analysis service
Python
means who wants to
compulsory before going to
analyze the
start
data.
writing code in any
Okay,
framework like
so
Django,
this
REST API
analysis
and all.
service can be used for
So this is our
data
main core
warehousing concepts
language.
especially. Data
What we are
warehousing
going to
concept
learn
means
first
we
initial
can
days
keep the
of
data or
Python full
bulk
stack
data in
development
warehouse,
course.
and we
Okay.
can retrieve
So once you
whenever it
know
is
about
required some
Python,
data, and we
once you
can
are
analyze
good at
them
Python,
and we can
okay,
represent them.
so then it's
So
easy
analysis,
to develop
data
any
analytical
applications
programming
by
purpose,
using
we
these
use this
frameworks.
analysis
So
service.
next
If you
subject
have a
is
lot
what
of data in
Django.
your tables
What is
that you
Django
want to
here?
analyze the data, then
So
simply you can go
Django
for
is
data
not a
analysis
programming
service.
language. Then
Okay,
what it
data
is?
analysis service
So I
also
can
there
say
clearly.
Django
Next,
is a
the
framework.
service is
Yes,
reporting service.
Django is a
Yes,
framework
we
which
can
is
keep store
used
a huge
to
amount of data in the
develop
form of tables in
the web
SQL Server,
applications.
but sometimes we
So
need
if
to
you want to
generate some
develop web
reports to
applications,
submit
then
the
we
data
use
or
Django
reports to the
framework
higher
in Python full
authority
stack
persons
development.
in the real time.
So it's not a
So
programming
reporting
language.
generation
It is a
purpose, we
framework.
can use this
Okay.
reporting service.
What is
It
framework
can be
generally?
used to generate
Yes.
reports from the
Framework is
database,
nothing but
and that
it's a
reports we
collection
can
of
submit to
built-in
the concerned
class
person
libraries.
as per requirement.
Built-in class
And there is an
library means
integration
each
service is
class
there.
library contains some built-in
Integration
classes
service
like
means
predefined
it
classes,
can be used to convert
and
from
each
one
predefined
relational
class is
database
having
tables to
built-in
another relational
functionality.
database tables.
That means
For
already
suppose we have
pre-written or developed
created
code
many
which is
tables
directly
with huge
available
data
to
like
use in
customer
our
tables,
applications.
employee tables, manager tables,
So the
student tables,
moment when
many
we
tables we
install
created
Django
with data.
framework, so
But
it
that tables are
offers
completely
lot of
created through
libraries,
SQL Server.
especially which
But
are
all of a sudden
required to
same details
develop
or
web
same table
applications.
structure,
Those
if you want
libraries
to convert into
can be
other
used to
relational
develop web
database structure like
applications
Oracle,
at faster
MySQL,
rate.
you can convert them
That means
by using
if
integration
They have
service. So
built-in
ultimately, this
libraries
service
or
can be used
predefined libraries.
to convert from one
Using
relational
that
database
built-in
tables to
libraries,
another.
we can quickly
And there
develop
is
the
a
web
SSI
applications, right?
integration service.
We
This is
don't need
cloud
to waste the time.
integration. it is
because
normal
from the scratch
integration.
we need not
Then
to
Azure
write any
means it's a
logic.
cloud integration.
Only
Who are going to work with
we
cloud
can use the
storage, they
libraries
can
which
go
are
with it as
provided by
Azure
Django.
integration service.
So it's a
But
framework.
there is
Framework
one
means
more
it's having
service also there,
set
which
of
is not
rules
showing
and
here because
specifications.
during the
Okay,
installation
it's
time, I
having
was not
lot
select
of
that
libraries. By following
services.
that rules and
That is
specifications, we
especially
have to
SQL
develop
Server
some
Compact
applications.
Edition or Mobile
So
Editions.
Django is not a
So
programming
that
language.
service can be used
Django is a
especially who
framework which
wants
is
to
used to
develop the
develop
mobile
web
application
applications.
development.
Web
They
application
can
means
keep
what?
store their data in
Please
the
mute your
mobile
audio.
application service only. SQL Server
Web
Compact Edition
application
or
means what?
Mobile
The
Edition we can call
application
it as.
which will provide
Okay. So
services
these are
over
all
the web
important
is
service,
called
but
web application,
ultimately
right?
our main
The
service is
application
right now database engine.
which will
Okay,
provide
so database engine is our
which will
service
provide
because we are the
the
SQL Server
services
development
services
process we are going to do.
over the
We need to
web
pass the
is called
SQL
web
queries
applications.
and execute
Simply.
the commands against SQL Server
Application which
database
will
engine.
provide the
Okay,
services over the
that
web
engine
is
will
called
process
web
our
application.
request and
Okay,
execute the queries
fine.
and give the
But
required
I'm saying
output
that
in
Django
the
is a
form of
framework
tables in the output
and
window. Now
Django is a
coming to this next option,
Python-based
server
framework.
name. Look at the server
Django
name.
is
There are several
Python-based
options you have in front of you.
web
So
development
some students may
framework.
select the server name,
It's
their
completely
computer name,
Python-based
what
web
it is,
development
inbuilt name
framework.
is there. But you can also
So that means
communicate with the
Django
inbuilt name,
framework
whatever by
completely
default
written
will
in
come
Python language
at the
only.
time of installation.
Okay,
Automatically, one server name will
Django
prepare and
framework
take. Most of the cases, the
written
server
in
name will take your computer name only.
Python
Desktop hyphen
language.
something.
So
But actually,
ultimately, I
this
can
is
say
not recommend
to
actually
start
because whenever
learning
you
of
want to provide
Django,
server name
especially to develop
into
web
the coding
applications,
part, so you
first of
should
all, you
remember
must
this
have
name of the server, no?
the
So
knowledge
that's
of
what it is
Python.
hard thing to remember this.
So
So most of the
Django
cases I recommend the
prerequisite
universal
subject is
server name that
Python.
is
If
dot.
you know the
Dot server is the
Python
best option.
knowledge, then easily
So
we
that
can
anybody can
implement web
understand the server
applications
I'm
using
connecting with
Django
the dot
framework.
server. Dot is a simple name.
Why
Or else you have
Django
to
need
use
Python
this
means
also, no
because
problem. In
Django
the
is
round bracket
completely
or
written
parenthesis,
in
we can
Python
mention
language
local
only. How
also.
they developed Django framework
Server
by
name,
writing
three
Python
options you have.
script.
Either you can
So that's the
mention
reason we
in the
can say
round brackets
Django is a
local,
Python-based
or
web
you can
development
mention,
framework.
or
It's
you can
completely
select the
Python
default
frameworks.
name like this,
And
your
Django can
system name. It's
understand the
not same name
instructions
in your
from
case. It might
Python
be
only.
different name.
So you
Or
can't
else
send
I
any
recommend to
instructions
use
from
what?
different
Dot server
language
is
like
the best
Java or
option
C
here.
language. So Python instructions
So
only
server
can
name is okay.
understand by Django.
Coming
So
to the
it is easy to
authentication
implement
process.
web applications
Authentication means
by
what?
writing code in
Again,
Python language.
so this is Windows
So to learn
authentication I'm
Django,
selecting now.
Python is
Yes,
mandatory.
server authentication
To
also there.
learn Python,
But these
nothing is
are
mandatory
not
because
required for
Python
us
is
because these
a
are
basic
cloud
programming
authentication
language.
schemas, these all.
To learn this basic
But we are
language,
going to
no
focus
any
on Windows
basic language is
authentication,
required.
SQL Server authentication,
Like
both
C,
only
C++,
there.
not at all.
That
Because
too,
itself,
if you want
Python
to go
itself,
with
it
the
is a
Windows
basic language,
authentication,
right?
select this.
You can learn from
What is the
scratch.
advantage if you go to
Okay.
Windows
And
authentication means
also you will
it
get the
won't ask
knowledge
any
in the
username and
basic
password.
level and
Directly we
intermediate
can
level
connect with
and
SQL Server
advanced level
Management Studio.
once you
For
complete your
suppose if you
Python
select
course
SQL
here.
Server authentication,
So I'll
you
teach
can
from the
see
scratch. No need to worry.
I have to
So if
enter the
some
name
students
of the
feel that
user
I don't have
and
any
password.
programming
This
knowledge,
username
then
and
is that
password, how it comes,
possible
sir?
to learn
Yes,
Python?
at the time of
Undoubtedly,
installation of
it's
SQL
possible to
Server,
learn Python.
then automatically
Python,
it will ask you,
no
do you
prerequisite
install
languages.
the
Okay,
mixed mode
directly you can start
authentication
learn
like
with
Windows
Python only.
authentication as well as
And
server
Django, before
authentication,
going to
or else
Django,
only Windows
you must
authentication
have
it
the
will ask.
Python knowledge.
Depends
Okay,
on
otherwise you
your
can't.
options.
So this is
Okay,
about
whatever you have
Django
chosen,
subject
that option
purpose.
through it's
Okay,
going to
it
be
is
effect
purpose is
actually.
what? To
But
develop
in
web
my case, already I
applications.
have selected
What type of
both
framework
mixed
it is?
mode
Python
authentication
framework.
or
Why it is
Windows
Python
authentication. You
framework?
can
Because
select.
it's
Right
written
now,
in
I'm showing
completely
Windows
Python
authentication.
language, right? Right.
Later,
Next,
I'll
I'm
show you
trying to
server
discuss about
authentication. Server
a
authentication
third
means if you want
subject, which
to
is also very, very
uh,
important
go
in
through the
real
SQL
time.
statements
That
with
is
secured
REST
manner.
API.
That means no one
This
should
is our
enter
third
into your
subject, which
database
I'm
and
going to
access.
cover in
Go
our
for
full
SQL Server
stack development
authentication.
course,
Create your
REST
login name and
API.
password.
See, sir, whatever
Even
the
though,
order I have
sir,
written here, same
some
order
students
I'm
may
going
ask
to
the
cover
doubt
all
like
these
this.
subjects.
Sir,
But
already I
except
have
UI
installed
and
in my
SQLite,
mission
because these two under
Windows
comes into
authentication
Django,
service.
REST
Okay,
API, and Flask with
not
these
production
frameworks only
server.
in the
It is
middle.
normal development server
So
only.
let's
Windows
talk about REST
authentication means.
API.
Windows
Sir,
authentication means
we
what you
know
know. Anonymous
how to develop
authentication.
teach our web
Already the
application by
username
using
and
Python.
password
We are ready with web application,
system name
right?
will consider. That's what
Then
it will allow
why
you
REST
the
API again?
access your
Yes, it's
database.
very
Okay,
important
anonymous
in real
authentication,
time.
that is Windows
What is the REST API
authentication is
purpose?
no
I'll tell you that.
username and
So
password,
here, first of all,
no account checking is
REST API
required
is
because
one of
by
the
default
framework.
anonymous authentication is there
Let's
no in
talk
your
about
computer
this.
system.
REST API
While installing
is
Windows
a
operating
framework.
system, we will have the
It is
mention.
also
We should have
completely
the mention
Python
name like
based
what is the
framework.
computer name and all these
REST
things. No, that
API
will
is a
take by default.
framework
But server authentication means
Purpose
while
of the REST
installation time
API is
only, you
which
have to
is used
mention login
to
name and password that you have to remember
develop,
and you have to use that.
which
In
is
case
used
if you
to
forgot
develop
this
the
server authentication
APIs,
username and password,
APIs
later also
for
we can
web
create server
applications,
authentication. We can create
APIs
your
for
own
web
login name
application.
and password. Okay.
In REST
So let me
API,
select Windows authentication. So
in
once again,
REST
you can see the
API,
option. Server type is database
REST
engine.
means
Server name is dot or computer name or
REST
round
means
brackets with local. And
representational
authentication is Windows authentication. Click on connect. You will
state
be able to see
transfer
connected
in
successfully.
REST
This is
API.
SQL Server Management
Okay.
Studio.
In
Clearly
REST
we entered.
API,
But listen carefully.
API
The
means
moment when we enter SQL Server Management Studio
REST
for the
means
first
what?
time, in
REST
the left hand
means
side, there is a window
representational
called
state
Object
transfer.
Explorer. So this Object
In
Explorer
REST
is
API,
nothing but simply
API
Windows
means
Explorer. How we can manage
application,
the folders and creating the files,
application,
okay, databases, everything we can manage in
programming,
this Object Explorer. But sometimes what will happen,
interface,
some students may not
application
get the
programming
Object
interface.
Explorer in the left-hand side
So
panel.
REST means
So in this
representational
in this
state
case,
transfer.
you have to get
API
it
means
again Object
application
Explorer in
programming
the left-hand
interface.
side of this
REST
SQL
is
Server
an
Management Studio.
architecture
How to
or
get,
design pattern.
simple. So you
Simple.
need not
The
to worry to
APIs
bring
which
this
is going to
SQL Server
design based
Object
on
Explorer
REST
window here.
architecture is
Simply
called
there is a
REST
view
API.
menu option is there
So
on the
what
top of
is
the
the use
Microsoft
of
SQL Server
API, sir?
Management Studio view menu.
Because I'm saying that
And you
REST
can see there
API
is Object
is
Explorer
used
option
to
is there,
develop
or else you
APIs,
can hit
application
F8 from
programming
your keyboard.
interface for web
F8 shortcut.
applications.
The moment
So
when I
why
hit this
REST
Object
API
Explorer,
means
automatically Object
actually
Explorer window
API
is coming
is
and simply it's
a
available in the same
software
location
tool.
left hand side panel.
API is a
So you
software
just click on
tool
Object Explorer, it will
which
come out. Again, you can
enables
click on it, will close.
which
That's all.
enable
Okay. So this is
the web
how we can
application
manage Object Explorer
which
window. That
enable
is
the web
important, sir.
application
Everything
to
we are going to do
communicate
that window through only
to
actually.
communicate
Okay, you can create
with
database
other
and
applications,
what we can say, you
to
can
communicate
manage
with
your database folder
other
and files.
application. Yes,
Everything
this
we
is
can
very
do
important in
from
real time,
Object
right?
Explorer through only.
For example,
Now
you
let's
are
begin
having
the
you are
simple
going to
creation
deal
of
with many web applications in
database
real
today.
time. For
But look
example,
at this. If you want
consider
to
a
see already
flipkart.com
available
website is
databases,
there.
what was created
In the
previously,
flipkart.com website,
databases.
what we
We
can do
have
generally,
no
we can select
databases,
the
only one
product and
database,
we
the
can
two
click
.NET
on buy
7 p.m.
now.
purpose I
After that,
created.
the
Okay,
Flipkart
especially
website
who are following
can
my lectures
communicate
from
with the
last
banking
2 months
application for
onwards, C Sharp
making
.NET
payments,
sessions.
right?
For that,
Here,
we
what's going
created
to
.NET
happen
7
for
p.m.
doing
database.
transaction
But actually,
over the
this is
Flipkart
not
website?
our database today
So the
onwards. Today, once
Flipkart
I'll
web
create one
application
database, throughout my all
should
the
communicate
database
with
lectures
banking web
will follow
application,
that
right? Here,
database
two
only. But I'll
applications
show
are
you clearly
communicating or
how many
talking with
possible
each
ways
other
to
by
create a
sending request
database
and
today.
response for making
But before
transactions
that, I
successfully.
want to tell
So
you
that
basic SQL
communication who is going to
sub
provide
languages
means
are there. SQL
exactly
command set
API,
also we can call it as.
application programming
So
interface.
SQL
Here, two
Server
or more application can communicate with
is
each
a
other.
not a
That
programming
purpose
language,
API
but it is a
software is
query based
required.
language.
It's a software
Query
tool
means
we have
we
to
need to pass
design
SQL
for
statements or
our web
database
application.
statements.
Yes,
But
Python with
SQL Server
Django
is
through we are
having
going
sub
to develop web
languages. That is
applications.
called
Once our web
SQL
application
command
is
set. We
ready,
can call it as
and to
SQL
provide
command
more
set.
services
SQL
for the
command set is there.
customers,
What
our web
command set is
application
there?
need
I'll
to
tell
be
you, sir.
interact
SQL
with other
command set,
applications
you
for
can see.
making
These are the
transactions.
SQL
So for
command
that,
set.
we need to generate API
Command set
as
is
a web
nothing but
developer
lot of commands
responsibility.
we can
So API
we
generate
can include.
purpose, we need to
So
use
first
another framework called REST API.
sub language
So
of
the
SQL
API
Server
is
is
a software
DDL.
tool
Okay,
which
almost
enables
many
the
of
web
them know that
application to
what is
communicate with other
DDL.
application. It's
Data
mandatory.
definition language.
And the
Anyway, I'll write
API
it.
which is used to
Data
generate
definition
or
language
design
commands are there.
by using an
Generally, what kind
architecture
of
called
commands we
REST
can call it as
architecture
data
is
definition
called REST
language?
API. In
Create,
any full stack
okay,
development, not only here
alter,
Python full stack development, even in
alter,
Java full stack
then
development,
drop.
.NET
These
full
are
stack
the
development, APIs
DDI
are very
data
common.
definition language command.
Here we are using
This
a
is
name of
basic command
subject
set,
like
sir.
REST
Everybody
API.
should know
Java
this
people,
command
they
set.
use RESTful
Compulsory.
APIs. .NET people, they
So
use web
these are
API.
very
So
important
simple.
actually. Every day
So this
we
is
used to do
another
these
subject we
commands
are
only.
going
If
to
you
learn,
know
a
these
REST
commands,
API
then it
for
is easy to
generating APIs
manage
for web
in the future
application.
upcoming
And
programming.
when we
So
should
DDL
learn
data
REST
definition
API
language,
after
create,
completion
alter,
of
drop.
Django only.
Next
So to
DML,
learn REST API,
DML,
what are the
data
prerequisite subject?
manipulation language.
Django and as well as Python.
Data
Both are
manipulation
required.
language commands. Data
As I said,
manipulation
to
language
learn
commands.
Django, Python is
So
mandatory
what are
before
the
going
data
to
manipulation language
starts
commands
with
means? Insert,
Django means Python
Python is
Okay.
mandatory, right? So
Update,
to learn REST API, what is required?
delete.
Django as well as Python,
These are
both are
next.
required
Third
because
one is
Even though we are
DCL,
using REST
data
architecture to
control
generate
language,
APIs,
data
complete
controlling
logic
language.
part we are going to write using Python language only.
DCL
So
commands,
Python is mandatory. Everywhere
data
we are
control
going to use
language.
in full stack development, wherever you write logic part, that
Okay,
logic part
data
should be written
control
in Python
language.
only, sir.
This is sub language again.
So REST API need
What kind
two
of commands are there
prerequisite
in the
subjects
data
like
controlling
Django and
process? Means
Python.
grant and revoke.
Next, other framework is there. This is
Grant and
Flask.
revoke.
So it is
Yes, these
a
are the
completely
permission level
different
commands.
framework here.
Next,
So it is also
TCL,
Python-based
transaction
framework.
control
So
language.
to learn Flask, Django
Transaction
is not at all required.
control
REST API not required. Directly you
language.
can start learn Flask
Okay,
with only
transaction
Python
control
knowledge.
language.
So
what
Python is
commands are
enough
there in
to
TCL
learn
transaction
Flask.
control
What is
language?
Flask
Means
framework?
rollback.
It is. So Flask
Yes,
is a
rollback,
framework. Flask is a
commit,
framework which is
commit,
Flask
and
is a
save
framework
point.
which is used to
Save point.
develop
These are the
the single
transaction
page
control
web
language.
applications.
And the
Yes,
last one that everybody
single
knows,
page
the
web
DQL,
applications.
that means data query language.
So
Data
as I
query
said, Django is a framework
language, we
which
can
is
say
used
that.
to develop web
What are the
applications.
data query language?
But
Means
what is
only one
the
command which
difference
is
between
commonly
Flask and
used
Django? Means
command, that
Django
is
through
select
we
command.
can develop
So
medium
these many
scale and
commands are there
maximum
in
scale
SQL
applications.
command sets are data
Okay, but
definition
using
language,
Flask, we can't
data
develop medium
manipulation
scale
language,
and
data
maximum
control
scale
language,
applications. Mostly
transaction
using
control
Flask,
language,
we can
data query
develop what
language. Okay, so
single
create,
page web
alter,
applications
drop,
only.
under comes
Single
into
page web
DDL.
application means
Insert,
like dashboard
update, delete for
applications or
manipulation purpose,
microservice
means modify the
programming
data.
purpose, we use Flask.
Grant and revoke or
Flask is a
permissions
framework
level.
which is used to
Rollback
develop
and
single
commit and
page
save
web
pointer.
application.
Transaction
And
language
Flask
commands.
is a
Select means
Python
data
based
query
macro
language.
framework.
So let me explain one by one.
Flask
Then
is
after that we will do
a
some
Python based
programming
micro
or some SQL
framework.
statements we can pass while creating database.
Micro
Very simple, sir.
framework,
In
which can
entire the
be
SQL server,
used
okay, if you
to
want to
write
create anything means either it can
microservices
be a
programming.
database creation, or it can be a table
Microservices
creation, or
programming
it can be
also.
a stored procedure
So this is
creation,
Flask.
or
To
it
learn
can be a
Flask, only
join
Python
creation,
is
view
required,
creation,
not
index creation,
anything
anything.
required.
Do you
So
want to
it's a
create
small
something?
Flask
What command you
framework.
have to use?
So
Create command you have
instant
to use. Create
service
command
usage
is used
purpose,
to
we can
create
write
the
Flask
tables,
script and it can be helped to
databases,
develop
built-in
applications clearly.
functions, procedures,
So in our
constants,
syllabus,
everything.
Flask is also one of the framework which is
Constant
going to
means
be
primary
deal
key,
a
foreign key,
small
many
scale
things are there.
application development.
So
This is also
everything
used
we
to
can
design
create by
web
using create
applications.
command only.
Okay, right.
But
So
after
total three
creating,
frameworks are there.
suppose as
One
a
is the
SQL
Flask
server
framework
developer,
and the
I
REST
would like
API
to
and then
modify the
Django. Three
structure of the
frameworks
table.
and one
That means we
language,
can use
programming
alter
language.
command.
And
Alter
strictly
command
remember that these three
is
frameworks,
used to
especially Django, REST
modify the
API,
table
Flask
structure,
frameworks,
but make
are
sure that
completely
it's
written
not
in
about
Python,
modify
so
the table
Python-based
data.
frameworks.
Got clarity?
So if you
Alter
write
is used to
Django,
modify the
REST
table
API,
structure,
Flask,
not table
logics,
data.
that should
Data
be in a form
modification
of
purpose,
Python
what
only.
command we have, sir?
So that's
Update
what
command.
Python is mandatory
Modification
language
of
to
the
learn
data
these
purpose we
frameworks.
use update
Okay,
command,
fine.
but structure
So
modification
let's
purpose we
talk
use alter
about
command.
UI
Alter
and
means
SQLite 3.
it
In
is
what
used to
context we
modify the
use this?
table structure,
But before
like
going to
adding
talk
one
about
extra
this,
column to the
let's
table,
discuss
or
in
else
Python
do you
full
want
stack
to drop
development,
the column
especially
from the table,
we need to
or
focus
else
on
change the
front-end
column
development
name or
and
data
back-end
type
development.
size. Okay,
Front-end and back-end.
initially while creating the
Yes.
table database,
So
data
in
type size
front-end
is,
development, what
column
things
size
under
is
comes?
20
Like for
characters means
example,
we
here
can change
front-end
30,
means
40 characters
first
like
time
this. This is
when we
completely
open
under
any
comes
web
into
page or website.
alteration
So
process.
what we are going to see on the
Alter means
screen,
modify the
that
table
is called
structure.
front-end, right? Front-end development.
Drop in the sense what?
So the
Complete
front-end
deletion.
development
Yes,
purpose,
drop
we
is
need to
used to
focus completely on
delete
UI.
the table or
So this is
database
UI.
from SQL Server.
UI means user
Complete deletion
interfaces.
do you want? You can
UI
go for
means
drop.
what? User
For
interface.
suppose table is there.
So user interface means what we
Table
are going
contains
to
some
present,
records
like
group of records also
login
there.
form,
So if I
registration
apply
page, change
drop command
password
on the
form, this
table,
type of
complete
UI
table will
design
be drop as
we
well as
need to
records also
represent
will
to
be
the
drop.
customers,
Everything is
right?
completely done.
So that's his UI
But
basics. It
delete
is
is
only
not
for
like that.
designing, which
Delete
is
is
under
used
comes
to
into
delete
front-end
or
development.
remove records from
So
the
in the
table
UI
only.
basics, I'm going
So
to
one
cover
record or
HTML
multiple
first
records we can
to
remove or
create web
delete from the
pages.
table. For
And do
that
you
purpose
want to
we use
add some
delete command.
styling to the
But
web
drop is
pages,
not like that.
CSS,
Drop is
cascading
used to
style sheets.
completely delete
And then
entire
if
the
you want to
table
make some
or along with the
functionality
structure
like
also.
validations
So drop
purpose, we
is
need to
used
use
to
JavaScript. JavaScript.
Drop the
So
database or
HTML,
table or anything
CSS,
permanently we can
JavaScript are
drop.
the basic UI
Whereas delete is
technologies.
used to
It's
delete the data
mandatory
from
for
table only,
every web
records from
development
table only.
process. When
there
it
as
comes to
insert is
jQuery
nothing but what
Bootstrap,
to
jQuery
create
is the
something like
extension of JavaScript.
to
It is an
store the
other
data or insert
framework.
some records, then we can use
So
insert.
Bootstrap is
Insert
the
is used
combination
to
of CSS
insert
and
the records into
JavaScript.
table
So mostly we
or
will
to store
prefer
our
to
data
use
in the table.
Bootstrap
After
for
storing
bringing
data
look and
modification
feel
you want, for example, student
better
name or
when
student
compared
address
to
do you want to
normal
change
plain
with
HTML and
existing
CSS
one,
styling.
then existing data
Because
will
nowadays
remove from the
Bootstrap will
table,
play the major
and
role in
what we
web
can say
development design. So
newly
it's
updated data
bring
will
look and
insert
feel
into the
more for
table.
our web
So this
application
is
or for our
completely
UI
soft
user interface.
deletion actually.
Okay, this is the main.
Update is also called
So
as soft
React.js will
deletion.
not be
Soft deletion
included
means
here. It's
old
not
data
required
we are
because
deleting,
what
in
we are
place
going
of
to do
that new data we are
React.js
giving.
we are going to do with the
So
Django
delete means
itself
not
only.
soft
That's
delete,
what it is
directly
not part
delete
of our
only.
curriculum.
Now coming to the
So
grant and
Bootstrap,
revoke. So
jQuery,
these at this
all
moment
these
we cannot
basics will be
discuss with
covered in
practically. For
Django
sure,
time
in
only.
future, in
At the time
upcoming
of
sessions,
Django
I'll discuss
development,
grant and revoke. Just
okay,
these are
so we'll be
permission
covered that
commands.
all UI because
Suppose
you
you
have
are
to
the
deal
SQL
with the
server
complete front-end development like UI design, everything
administrative
is there.
person.
So
So you
this is
want to
the
allow
part
the
of
SQL
front end.
server developer to
And
access
backend is
your
having three
tables or
subcomponents.
database and all.
Okay,
You can
backend
execute the
is
permission
having three
called grant
subcomponents
command.
actually.
Then whenever
So
we
what are
execute
that
this grant
in the
permission
backend
command, then
development?
they
What
can
are the
allow you
required?
to
First
they
thing
can
is
allow the access the
the
tables and
programming
database.
language. It's compulsory in the backend
Suppose you want to
programming
cancel the
language. That
permission
means logic
for
must and
not
should be
allowing
right,
to
right?
access anything,
The
then we
programming
can
language, what
simply
is that?
execute the
Python.
revoke command clear.
Next,
The
the
grant command means
frameworks.
allowing the
Yes,
permission.
in the
Revoke
backend
command means
development,
canceling the
compulsory
permission.
frameworks also required.
Okay.
So
And
frameworks
rollback is
means
nothing but what
it's having set of
by mistake or
rules and
accidentally, if you try to
specifications you have
delete
to
a
follow while
record will be
developing the web
deleted. Do you want to
applications
get
in
back
Python full stack
deleted
development.
record
So
again
what are the
into your
frameworks we
table
are going
back?
to cover?
Then
Django
rollback
framework,
can be used.
REST API
That's
framework,
what
and then
while
Flask
doing any
framework. These are
transaction,
the frameworks.
by mistake, if you
Next, the
remove some records
database.
or data which is
Yes,
really important,
three
then again you can
compulsory.
get back
The
the
database.
deleted data
So database
into
purpose, we are
table.
having the
Then we
tools
execute
like
rollback.
SQLite
Rollback means
3 and
cancel the
MySQL.
transaction. Once the
See, sir,
moment
SQLite
we
3
cancel the
is a
transaction means
built-in
under the
database
transaction,
integration with
whatever
Django
the
framework.
SQL
For the
commands are
first time,
repeated, that
when we
can be
create
rolled back means
Django
cancel.
application
After
or
cancellation,
Django web
as it is your
application,
data will
Django
get back to
project,
your table only.
that project is
Commit means what?
associated
Save
with
changes
inbuilt
means
SQLite
after
3
deleting,
settings.
once you execute
So
commit,
maximum
that means you have
operations
committed for that previous
with
transactions.
database we
Once you
can do
committed,
with
again
SQLite
there is
3,
no
and also
possible
we
way
are
to
going
roll
to
back
cover
your
MySQL
statements.
because most of the
Commit
cases
means
in Python
transaction makes
or
permanent
Django
or fixable.
applications in real time,
Save points means
MySQL is
sometimes we
preferred
need to do
database.
a
It
transactions,
doesn't make
completely
sense
step-by-step
using
transactions need
Python
to be
can't
saved.
we communicate with
Whenever you
other
do
databases
save
like
the transaction,
MongoDB,
which
okay,
transaction do you
MSSQL,
want to roll back,
Oracle. Yes,
and
it's
that we can
possible.
able to only
But
particular
majority of the
transaction we
cases
can get back
in
if we
Python
use save
development
point
as well
only.
as
If we don't
Django
use
web
save point,
development,
then
MySQL is
particular
the preferred
transactions we
database,
cannot
or
get
else
back that.
SQLite 3 is the
Save point means
integration. This is
multiple
pre-integrated, already
multiple
integrated with
SQL
Django
transactions
framework.
we can
Okay, no
save
need
it.
to install
Once you
explicitly.
save it, which transaction do you
But it's
want
a
to really
combination actually.
rolled back later?
But
That save
suppose
point
.NET
through, we can roll
full
back the
stack developer,
transaction.
how they use
And
MS SQL,
finally,
right?
select
Microsoft
command is
SQL
used
Server.
to
It's a
select the
product of
records
Microsoft.
from the database
Similarly,
table,
Java
select star
programmer,
from
Java full
table
stack
name,
developer,
or
how they
select some
use
column
like
names from table
Oracle.
name.
So same
Few
in
column
Python
values
full
you
stack
want, column names
development,
you have
we
to
prefer
mention.
to use
All columns
MySQL.
you want, you can mention
You
select
can
star from
configure
table
with
name
any
like this only.
database, it's
So
not a
these are all
problem. Database
basic
main purpose is
commands
what?
like this
How
only.
to deal
Okay.
with your
Now
customer data,
let's create
how to store
now
the data
one
and
database here.
manipulate or
How to
retrieve
create a
something,
database?
access data, like
What
that
is the
database
command?
operations we can do
Without
in these
command also
tools.
we can try to create a
So
database.
backend
Let's fix
development
that.
need
So
three
let's
things.
go to SQL
In the
Server Management
backend,
Studio.
while
Look at this right now. The
working with
moment for the first
application,
time when we go
behind
to
the scenes,
SQL
what
Server
is
Management
required?
Studio, you will
Python
have
language
Object
is
Explorer
required
only
because we
left
have
hand
to
side.
write complete
But where I
logic
can
part
pass my
with
commands
Python.
are where is the query window means
Frameworks are required.
simply
We are
you
going
can see
to
there is a
design and
new query
develop our
option is
websites or
available.
web application by following
Or else
this
you can see Control
framework
plus
set of
N
rules and specifications.
from your
And
keyboard.
database
Control
is
plus N.
required
So
to
new
store
query
a
window.
customer
When I click
data
on new
that
query,
is in
then
MySQL or
automatically you'll be able
SQLite 3.
to see this new
So
query
these
window.
three
In this window
language
only they are
frameworks,
asking
databases are
to
behind the scenes. It's works. That
write
means
the
we can
commands.
say
So
back-end
any command
development
you can
process.
write like this. For example, I'm
See, for
trying
the
to write
first time
select
when we
command.
open any website, we
Okay,
are going
select
to
star
see
from
on the
table
screen
name or
right what?
something like this.
Presentation
If you
layer,
have
right?
table really,
Presentation
and
layer
any
means
commands
UI,
you can
user
write in this
interface.
window only.
But
But
user
mainly,
interface
I'm
will
telling
provide
you,
us some registration page
by
like
default, for
labels,
the
text
first time,
boxes,
whenever
buttons.
you install
Okay, you are going to
Microsoft
interact as a
SQL Server
customer with
Management
that
Studio,
forms. So,
You
but
will
behind
get
the
some
scenes, what's
default
going to happen?
databases also,
Actions will
sir.
be performed,
These are
right?
called
So that
system-defined
actions and
databases.
everything will be managed.
So databases are
These
two
three
types:
only, language and frameworks
system-defined or
and
predefined
databases. It will
databases,
not appear
and
in
user-defined
the
or
customers.
customized databases.
Customer can only see
User-defined
in the front end
databases
like
means
UI
as a
only. So
programmer, we
in
need to create
Python
our
full
own
stack
database name.
development, so you
From
must
there
involved
onwards,
in two
we have
ways
to
like
include
front
many
end and back
tables.
end.
Each
So
table
the
should contain
person who
information,
can
and we are
easily
going to keep
handle
all the tables and
both front end
data into
development
the
and back end
database only.
development things,
But by
then that
default,
person is said to be
for
full
internal
stack developer.
management or
Okay.
activities
Or
purpose,
else the person who can handle
SQL
with
Server
only front
every
end,
time for
but they
every
don't know
instance.
about
Instance means one-time
language and
installation.
frameworks and
You're
database
doing SQL
management.
Server in
So
your
this is
system means
UI
one
developer,
instance.
user
Do you
interface.
want to create
Or the
one more
person
copy
who
of
is having
installation? That
only
is next
Python,
instance.
so they
So
cannot
yes,
handle
with
with
a different
frameworks and
username and
databases
password
and UI.
or different
So
server
they can
name, you
only
can maintain
involve
any number of instances of
writing the
SQL Server
logic with
software.
Python. So
Okay,
exclusive Python
but for
developer
every
like this.
instance of
But
SQL
if you
Server
know
software,
how to
then there are
manage
some
UI,
built-in databases are there. What are
programming
the built-in
and
database do you
frameworks
want to see?
and
You can
database,
expand this
everything,
drop-down list,
so
sir.
you will
Right now,
be
you are able to
considered
see the
as
master database.
a
Look at
full
this:
stack
master,
developer like that.
model,
So
MSDB,
nowadays, full
TempDB.
stack
These are the
developers
four
are
built-in
having huge
databases are
demand in
there.
the market.
But already for
So
my
the
previous lecture,
better
I
to go with
created
full
one
stack
database
development
that is
process. If you don't have
after 7-8 p.m. data
any other
database is there.
course, you
This
are
is
not looking
completely
like
available user
DevOps,
defined.
AWS,
So
AI, and
built-in
ML, as I
databases are
said
what?
in the
Four
beginning session
databases:
of this
master, model,
today.
MSDB, TempDB.
See,
I'll try
Python,
to show you
only
clearly
Python,
what
who
is
needs
exactly
means
master. Master is the
if you
main
want to
database,
go
sir.
with furtherly,
Okay.
like after learning Python, Python with the data
Master
science,
is a
Python
main
with the data
database
analysis,
which is used to
Python with
manage
AI and ML,
user and
so AWS
administrative
and
tasks.
DevOps, testing,
Yes, complete
networking. If you
user
want to go
tasks
with this
as well
side,
as
that all tools are
administrative tasks. If you
required
want to manage,
Python
master
script, then you
database
can
can be
go with
used.
only Python.
But
Other than
we
that,
don't
you
do much
can
more
focus on
things
full
in
stack
master
developer. Full stack
database
means
really.
one language,
That is internal
total
activities
3
purpose.
frameworks, Django,
We
REST
are,
API,
we are the
Flask,
SQL
and
Server developers or
knowledge of
programmers.
UI, user
We will
interface, and
concentrate on
knowledge
our
of
own
MySQL
database.
and SQL
We
S3.
can
So this
create
is
tables and
about our
everything we can
subjects,
manage.
which I'm going
So
to deal
master is a main
in our
database which
upcoming
is used to
sessions.
manage
So
user and
after
administrative
completion of
tasks.
this demo
And the
session,
next
our team will
built-in
communicate
database is
with
model.
you through
Model
mail
is
so that they'll send
just a
complete
template
content,
for other
syllabus content. You
databases.
can observe once what I'm
Model
going
is
to
nothing
cover.
but what? It is act as
So
a
all the
template for
subject
other
related
databases. For
content,
suppose
and they'll
today you're
also
creating one database.
send
That
the today's
database based
recording
on what
demo
it will
link
create
also.
internally model
So
database.
totally
Model
4 to
template is
5
there.
demos will
Based
be there.
upon the model
So from today
database,
onwards,
model template
so
only,
feel free to
our
attend and
databases will
regularly
create clearly.
the demos.
So
After
model is
the
just
demo
a template
completion
for
only, you can
other
decide that
database who
whether
are
you want to go
creating
with
the
this course
database
or
with
not.
any
Okay,
name.
that's feel free to
And there
take
is
the
next
decision. It's not a
database is
matter.
there, MSDB.
So because of the
Microsoft
thing is,
database
you
it
have
is.
to learn comfortably, right? So
MSDB
wherever
is
you
a
comfort, you
Microsoft
can go with
database
that.
which is
But
used
you
to
have to
store
learn properly.
job
That is our
history.
main intention.
Job history
And
means what
every session is going to
like
be
user
recorded. The recorded
execution
video I'll
statements
upload to
history.
your Google
Suppose as a
Drive
programmer, we will
once the
keep
session
on
is over.
typing some
And
SQL
the
Server
sessions will
statements here,
be
lot
from
of
Monday to
at what time,
Saturday.
what statement
The
executed,
Sunday
everything,
no
complete
session.
history will be
So, and
available in
each and every
MSDB. If you want
subject,
to
look at
watch it, you
this,
can watch
a
MSDB,
Python, right?
Microsoft
First
database.
subject.
How
And then
we are going to
Django, REST
browse
API. Each
the
and every
website or
subject,
information,
the
browse
PDF
history we are
material
going to
will
see in our
be
system. No,
handed over
same
to
like
you.
this in the
Once
database.
your
If
enrollment
you want
process is
to
over,
monitor or observe
so
the
each and every
history
subject
of SQL statement, then you can go for MSDB. So
material
MSDB
I'll
stands for
send to your mail.
Microsoft database. It's a
So
built-in.
material
So
will
it
be there,
maintains the
that is
job
PDF,
history. That
and
means user
recorded videos
execution
will be
statements
there.
history completely available.
Like
And
the
then
recorded
finally,
videos will
last
be
one
once I
is what
send or
TempDB is
shared
there.
the folder, that is
TempDB is
lifetime
nothing but
access,
what?
like
The
Python
name itself,
related
the
videos
definition
and
is there.
Django related videos.
Temporary
Every
database.
subject clear videos
TempDB is a
are there.
temporary
Okay.
database
So let's
which
see
is
this
used to
material. You will be
store
able to get like
temporary
that is
tables,
core Python, basic
temporary
Python,
files,
advanced
temporary
Python,
procedures.
and
All
Django,
everything
Flask,
will be
REST
stored in
API.
temporary basis,
In the
not permanent.
Django folder
Why
only, the UI
temporary means
basics and
as long
database
as we
things
are
will be
using
there
the
in
temp
this folder
database,
only.
it's available.
So
Once
totals,
if
each
you
and every
don't
subject's PDF
use
will be
long
sent
time, the
along with
tables and
recorded video
temporary
here only.
procedures and everything
Okay.
will be deleted
So this is
automatically.
which I covered
So
basic
temporarily it
things
will store
today.
in the
Python
TempDB
be
full stack
just it
development?
will
What
act as
is
a
Python?
blueprint.
and
So these
Django,
are all
REST
built-in
API,
database
Flask,
purpose
and
actually,
UI and
but we
SQLite.
don't
Just
need to
basic
concentrate
information
on
I
this
have
built-in
given
database. Our main
today. No,
focus is our own
but
database.
from tomorrow
So how to
onwards, what
create
is our
database
action plan means?
by
I'll
using
focus completely
query?
on
I'm going
Python
to show
only,
you,
sir,
sir.
for
Either
first
you can use
45 days to
query through,
50
like
working
create
days.
query through, we can
So
create
my
database,
focus is
or else
completely on
without
Python.
using
The
any
reason
create
is why,
query, we can also
I
create
said
a
already,
database through Wizard.
without
Wizard means
having knowledge of
step-by-step design
Python,
process.
then you
No need
can't
to write
able to
SQL
start with
statement or
Django,
command.
right?
Without
So
writing
that's the
SQL
reason
statements
whether
also,
you are
we can
looking for
create a
full stack
database, we can
development
create
course
table, we can
or
insert,
only
we can
for
delete, we can
Python
update,
course, no
all through
matter.
design
For all
also
of them,
possible, as
I'll
well as
start
coding
from
also
tomorrow
possible.
onwards only
But I
Python
will show you
language.
both
Once we
by
complete
following the
Python
step by
within the
step through
45
design, how to
working
prepare
days to 50
database with
working
tables and
days,
everything else. So
then
at the
after
same time,
we'll
by
start
writing the
with
SQL
Django.
queries or statements
So at
through,
that time,
I'll show
after
you that
45 days
all.
to 50
But
days, you will be good
you
at
are the
Python for
SQL
sure,
Server
no doubt at
developer,
all. You can
so you
handle
must
the
concentrate
things which are in
to
Python,
write the
so
SQL
easily we
statements
can
only, sir.
understand the
Don't
things. Okay,
habituate
so
the
that,
design process, because you are the developer
yeah,
in real
course fee
time.
and
So they
particulars
don't
and
be chance
everything
to
our
get
team
to
will
work
send
with
to
the
you
design through
through
completely how
mail.
to pass SQL
Okay,
statements, very
this is
big
not
queries through, we
right
have to handle the
platform to
situations.
disclose the
So better
details.
to
So no, don't worry.
focus
So our
how
team
to
will
write the
assist you
SQL
regarding
statements
this.
only.
Okay,
Let's
so
observe
they'll
how
send the
to
mail.
create the
So in
database
that,
today.
the
For the first time, I'm
complete
creating
particulars will
database
be there,
by using
or
create
else you can
command.
feel
I
free
said
to
already,
contact Durga sir
anything do you
so
want to
that they can
create in
assist you
SQL
regarding
Server,
this clearly.
compulsory you have to use create
So
method.
first
So
you
let's
have to
give the
focus
syntax part. Create
to attend the
database,
demos. After demos,
database
you can
name.
decide it, no problem.
Simply
Okay, that's my
create a database name.
what we
That's
can
it.
say
This is the
suggestion.
only
Don't look at
syntax to
that
create
everything.
database. Create
First, try to attend the demo
database,
sessions
database
next
name.
3
Let
to
me
4
use the
sessions so
command
that
here.
you will get clarity
So
how
what
I'm
command here? This is
delivering the
create
content
database
and all,
database
so
name.
that if
So I'm
you, based
passing
on if your
create
comfortability,
database,
you have to choose the right
database name.
instructor,
So let me
then it will be good for your career,
create my
right?
database
So
name,
just focus
SQL
on that. That's it.
or
Rest
MS
of the things
SQL
we'll take care of, no problem.
DB
But one thing I can say from my
7 p.m.
end as a
This is my
trainer
database. You
from
can
Durga
mention
Soft.
any
So if
name
you
of the
enroll
database
for
as
this
per your
course,
requirement. Okay,
at the
just
end
for
of the
clear
day,
idea purpose.
you will
Our
never
subject is
disappoint.
Microsoft
That
SQL
much
Server
guarantee we will give.
database 7 p.m.
So other
Create a
than this, you
database
have to be
MS SQL DB
focused
7 p.m.
and be
But before
practical.
going to execute this
Okay.
SQL
So
statements,
regular
let me show
attendance
you
is
in the
required.
Object
So
Explorer,
regular classes
expand database.
will leads
What
to your
databases are there right now?
knowledge, more
Only .NET
skills. You
7
can
p.m. is
improve
there.
that.
Now
So
let's
instead
create
of
this query.
uh,
To execute this query,
skipping the
create a
sessions. So
database.
regular
Database name
attendance
is
is
MS
important.
SQL
If you attend the
DB 7
classes,
p.m.
the
Select
concepts
this
will be
line of
clear
the code
and you will
and try
be
to click on
your
this
flow will
execute
be good
option,
in the
or
learning
else you
process,
can
right?
hit
So that's what.
F5
And
key
you
from
have
your
to learn
keyboard, sir.
properly this
From your
Python full
keyboard,
stack
you
development
have to hit
courses like
F5
orderly.
shortcut key. So
So
let me
some
execute this
students
now. This is
ask
the
me,
moment when
can't
I hit
we
the execution,
directly
you
join
will be able to
Django
get the
sessions?
message commands
No.
completed
Without
successfully,
having
the
Python knowledge,
compilation
so
time.
Django
So the
sessions are not
2025
possible
Feb some time
because
zone is there. This is
once we
just
start
basic
framework
information. So
development
command
like
complete
Django,
successfully.
REST API, Flask,
But sir,
every
how do I
time
know
I'm
that
going to write
whether my
Python script
database
only. So
created
you
or not,
cannot
like MS
understand
SQL
Python
DB
script,
7
right?
p.m.?
Before
Very
going
simple.
to
Go to Object
without
Explorer.
having Python
Simply
knowledge with
right click on
Django. So
databases
Python
folder.
is
Every
mandatory,
time
man.
you better to
So
refresh
in full
for
stack
getting
development of
updation
Python,
clearly.
wherever you write
So
some
the moment
logic
when
that
I
is
right click
Python
on
related only.
databases and click
You
on
must have
refresh,
the knowledge of
automatically you
Python
can see
first.
we
After
got
that, you
one
can
more
go with
database
the
joined
remaining
here
frameworks
in
and
the
all.
databases
And
folder.
most
MS
important thing I
SQL
forgot to
DB
tell you,
7 p.m. only.
once
So we don't have
in
tables
the
right now here,
Django
sir.
ending,
Okay, we
after
don't have any
completion of
tables right now.
Django,
Table
I'm
also we
going to
have to
deal
create
with 2
later.
to 3
So in this
projects like
database only.
real-time
For
experience,
suppose,
real-time hands-on
right now,
project I'm
even
going to
though
deal
I'm
with you.
creating this
So
database
these projects we can
MS SQL
include in
DB
your
7
resume
p.m.,
also as a
but
fresher
still you
candidate,
are
so
in
that
which
we have
database currently,
you
you know?
can disclose your
You are
skills.
still under
Okay, so
master database
we
only.
have
Look at this, the
implemented this type
clearly
of
showing
projects
that
in your resume
you are
also.
in
You can
master
include those
database
projects
only,
clearly.
not your
So
database.
project
But
development
how I
and
can
real-time
shift
exposure you
from
will get
master
with
database
this
to
course. Okay.
my database like
Yes.
MS SQL
DB 7 PM, sir? Very simple.
Yes, tomorrow
Do you
demo,
want to shift
the
from
topics will be
master
different
to your
because it's a
database,
continuation
or else do
process.
you want to
Today, what I explained,
currently
just
use this MS
our
SQL
agenda, I
DB7 PM?
explained, right?
Expand this
In the
drop
full
down
stack
list.
development, what
Automatically, you
subject
can
and each
select this
subject
which
purpose
database you
and
want.
course
Yes, right
details
now
and
we are
time
in
duration.
MS SQL
But tomorrow,
DB7
from
PM
here onwards,
database.
we'll
This is the way
continue.
to
So tomorrow,
activate your
I will
database
focus
name.
completely on
But
Python
either
only.
you can go
So
through
what is
drop down list
Python? Why
and
don't
click on the
other
master
languages?
or any
And
database. This is
where
through
do we use
design
Python
only. We
exactly?
shift from
And
one
what are
database
the
to another database.
versions? Which version
But
is
sir, is
required
there
to
any
install
command
and
without
download?
going
What
to
is the official
hit
website
this
of
drop down
Python?
list
These are
and
all
select this?
details will be
Because
covered
you
in
said
tomorrow's
just
session.
now
And next
you
we'll
are the
start
SQL Server
coding part
developer,
also slowly,
don't try to
which
go
by
with the
including
design
some
patterns,
editors.
all
Okay,
design
so many
mechanisms
editor tools
or
are there,
wizard
software
options.
editors
Try
to
to
deal
pass
with
the
Python full
SQL
stack.
query so that
Which
you'll get
editor is the
clarity.
best
So is there
editor
any
for
SQL
Python
query
full
or
stack development
SQL
also I'll
command
disclose.
is there
From then
to
onwards, I'll
shift
continue
from one
with that
database to
editor
another
only.
database? Yes, right now we are
Yes,
master
for sure.
database. If you want to shift from master database to your
Yes, throughout the
database,
course 7
simply
a.m.
we
only,
can use
because
command
there
called
is no
use
chance
command.
to move this
Use
session
MS SQL DB
before or
7
after,
p.m.
because
means,
I have
so
already
the moment
sessions
when I
engaged.
select this
My
and you
batches are
can see
engaged with
execute
that
option
time.
I'm hitting,
So
the
7
moment
to
when
8
I
only
hit
fixed
this
time,
execute option,
unrotatedly, bro.
automatically this drop down list
No changes.
master
7 to
to
8.
MS
Daily 1 hour
SQL
session.
DB 7
Monday
p.m.
to
will come. You
Saturday
can see
regular
this
sessions, and Sunday will
commands
be the holiday.
completed
Every day
successfully.
after
Now
session,
automatically the
recorded
database name
video will
changed
be
here from
uploaded
master to
in
MS
the saved
SQL DB
folder.
7 p.m.
Okay, so
So
every
this
day
is
you
the
have to check
command
in
through
that folder
also
in Google
we can
Drive. So
shift from
recorded
one
video will be
database to
there
another
with the
database.
clear number,
Okay,
Python 1,
or
2,
else
3
directly you
orderly
can
how to
select
watch
this
it.
and required
Along with
database you can
complete
select.
material,
So
I'll
this is
send
the way
once your
to create
enrollment process is over.
database.
Core Python
But
PDF, Advanced
is
Python
this
PDF
only way to
with
create
interview
database?
questions
No.
folder.
There
And
is one
then we will
more
maintain
option
some
also I'll show you,
WhatsApp
sir.
group once your
Without
enrollment
passing this commands,
over. Then
and
you
there
are
is
the
one more
part
way
of
also there.
WhatsApp
The
group.
way is
If you have any
simply
questions
right
and
click on
doubts, you can feel
databases
free to
folder through
post
design I'm showing
in
you.
that group. We will
Either you can
assist
go
you
through
regarding
design
that.
or you can go through command, no problem.
So this
But
is
I'm
about
trying
complete
to
details.
showing that
And yeah,
here
now it's your turn to
how
ask
to
any
create a
questions.
database through
If you have
design
any
only. Very simple. Through design
doubts
means
about
simply
these
right click
sessions,
on the
feel free to ask
databases
me so
folder.
that I'm ready to
There
give
is an option clearly
answer.
shows that what new database option is there. Click on that
Yes, after,
and automatically it will ask you the
yeah,
database
it's a
name what
part
you
of
want. So
core
database
Python
name
only,
just for
no?
sample
So
purpose I'm
yes.
creating Durga DB I'm creating.
Web
Anyway, I will
scraping
delete
and
this
everything will
Durga
be
DB
there.
also.
So
Just I'm
that is
showing that
part
how to
of, you
create
can
it.
check
Okay.
the
So
course
Durga
content so
DB
that
is
it will be
what
clear.
one just a sample database and click on OK.
Yeah,
So
Mohan.
there is a OK
Web
option is
scraping
there
means
no. Click on OK. Automatically
actually we
Durga
have a
DB will
project
create. It's a new
uh,
database
going
completely.
to come.
But I
So
have not
we have to
supplied
get the
any
data
data
from
query like create command
different
or something
applications by
directly
using
through wizard
Python.
only by
So is it
following
Yes,
covered
steps only.
in
I
Python or
created Durga
Django?
DB. Look at this
Python
Durga
only,
DB
Python only.
created
There is a
and
concept
available in
called web
database
scraping.
folder.
Some tools are there.
Sometimes even though
Request and
after
request libraries
providing
will be there.
the
Even
SQL query
Django also we can
execution,
use, and Python
even though
also we can use.
you
Just
don't
grab
get
the data
expected
and
result here,
keep the data
simply
in required
refresh here,
format,
sir.
right?
Database right
Yeah,
click
yes.
and
Yeah,
simply
yeah.
refresh it.
That will cover, sir.
Automatically
No
your
doubt at all.
impact, whatever
Okay,
you
thanks.
changes, that impact will be there. So Durga DB created. So anyway
Yeah,
you can
one thing
create
to ask
database
you,
either
sir.
following command
Like, is
create
there any doubt session
database name, or
separately
you can go
happening
through
after
simply
the
right
class,
click
or it happens
and
during
new
the class?
database, give the
No,
database
sir.
name and
During
click
the
on OK.
class, you can
Okay,
see when I
but sir, after
explain the
creating
concept and
database,
while
suppose
writing
if
the
I want
script
to
here.
drop,
And if you
what
have
can I
any
do?
questions,
Yeah,
meanwhile,
let
you
me
can
drop this
raise
Durga
the
DB, sir. Just I'm
voice or
showing how to
raise
prepare
the
this
message in the chat
database
box so that
through wizard.
I'll
But if you
quickly
want to
answer
drop
that
the
in the
Durga
during the
DB,
session only. Or else at the end of the
then we
session
can
also, I'll
simply
ask
drop
any
command.
doubts.
Drop
After ending the
database.
session, I'll wait in the
Database name
meeting
is
10 minutes
Durga
of time
DB
so that
actually.
you can feel free
But
to
make sure that once you
speak
can
with me.
cross
Or
verify
else
before
we
going
have
to
a
drop.
group, right? So
Suppose
at
you
any
already
point
in
of
the
time,
current
even in
database
the
Durga
during the
DB,
entire
that
the
will not
day,
drop,
so
sir.
if you have any question
Just
while
because you are
practicing, you can
in
feel free to
currently one
post the
database,
question
MS
over
SQL
there.
DB 7
We'll
p.m.
ready to give
That's
answer
what whenever I
with
try to
proper
execute this drop
screenshots
database,
and
my
all. You can
database
also
name is
share that,
Durga
no
DB.
problem.
Obviously, it will delete from this
As long as the
database
course
SQL
is
server permanently.
going, so
But in
the
case
our
by
assistant will
mistake, if
be
you are in
there
the same
even after
database, for
completion of
example, I am
core.
moving
Also,
into
any
Durga DB. Right
requirement
now,
is there, so
I'm
we'll
in
help
Durga
you
DB
regarding that
database,
undoubtedly.
but you are using still,
Because
but
we
you
have a
can't
lot
drop
of
it. You can see this. I'm
group
trying
of
to drop
students
this
are there in
Durga
that
DB
group, so
and cannot drop
anybody can
database
react at
Durga
any
DB
time.
because it is currently in use.
Got you, sir.
So who
Thank
are
you.
using that currently database, you can't edit, you can't modify it, you can't delete it. So that's the reason. Let's shift
Any
into my
software need to
database MS
install?
SQL 7 p.m.
Obviously,
Once you are in this MS
Python
SQL
software
DB
first you
7
have to
p.m., do
install,
you
then
want to
after that
drop
some
this?
editors are
Simply
required.
drop
So you will come
database,
to know
database
mostly
name
tomorrow or
Durga.
day after
So
tomorrow.
command
So
completed
we'll go through
successfully.
orderly.
Even
So
whether it is dropped or not, let me refresh
editor
it
tools are
once.
compulsory
Right click
required
on
to write
database folder
some
and
script.
refresh. There is no Durga
So
DB
whenever
like
we
this.
install for the first
So
time
this is the
Python,
way
so
to
default editor
create a
will be there,
database through
like
command
ideally,
and
so
with
integrated
wizard. And
development
if you
learning
want to drop the
environment.
database, you can drop.
But you can go
Dropping
through
also
it, or
not
else
only
you can go
command
with
through.
separate
Directly you
editors
can
like
see.
VS
For
Code, Visual
suppose you want
Studio
to drop
Code,
this,
or
right click and drop
PyCharm
this.
I'll
Only
assist
delete it
you.
here.
Don't go with
This is
Visual
also
Studio.
possible
We'll
through
go with
designer.
completely PyCharm
So
only
this
in
is
our
overall
Python
basic
development.
session. Again, this is the second demo session which I complete today. Tomorrow we'll continue all these commands I'll
So
explain,
very
sir.
simple
Don't miss it,
software,
which is
lightweight
important.
software.
How to
It
alter,
takes just
how
two,
to
3 minutes
insert,
of time to
update,
set up
delete,
complete
and
Python.
rollback, commit,
It's
save
not a
point,
big deal.
select. Everything we'll discuss in detailed step by step again. This is basic command set. Everyone must and should aware
So
of
that's
these
all
basic
from my
commands.
side today.
Okay.
Thanks for
So
attending this
tomorrow also
session,
you can
and
just attend
just
the demo
feel free
session.
to continue
free to
the
attend
demo
and
sessions for next
listen
3 to 4.
carefully.
You can use the
After
same link
completion
at
of
same
tomorrow
times
demo
morning
session,
7 a.m.
do you wish to
So after
continue
demos, you
MySQL
can
Server
decide that.
development lectures
Okay.
continuously
So have a nice time.
from day after
See you
tomorrow? You
tomorrow
must
at
enroll
7 a.m.
the course
Join with the
uh,
same link.
up before going to join day after tomorrow session.
Thank
Okay.
you. Thank you.
So
Bye.
because why? After tomorrow demo session, the link will be changed. That is completely paid link. Only enrolled students will get that link. They can able to
Yes,
continue
let's
that
start today's
SQL
session.
Server development sessions. If you don't enroll, then
So
you
this
will
is
not
your
get the
first
link.
session
And here
of
so many
Python full
students are
stack
my students
development.
also there who are
Okay.
completed their C#.NET.
So
They
this
are
is Python
clearly allowed to
full stack
attend this
development
SQL Server
session.
sessions. Okay, you will get obviously link
So
from
first
Durga
of all,
Soft already
in
who
today's
opted
lecture,
completed
I'm going to
package.
discuss
Okay, who
in
are looking
Python
for
full stack
exclusive SQL Server
development,
development in this,
what
you
subjects
must
are going
enroll
to be covered.
after tomorrow demo
Okay.
sessions. Okay.
So I'll
So that's all
explain you
from my side
clearly
today. If you
each
have
and
any
every
questions,
subject
now you can feel free
purpose.
to ask me now.
Okay. Then you will get clarity. So what things are there in Python full stack development, right? Yeah.
Who are
So
new to this
first
session,
of all, in Python
I
full stack
strongly recommend to
development,
watch my
or if you
session
want to
1 of
become a
SQL
Python
Server
full stack
development, which
developer,
is present in
you
Durga
must
Soft
and
YouTube
should
channel.
learn
Even our
one
team will
language.
send
Okay, that
the
is our
demo
main
link
core
also to you.
language.
Okay,
So that
today.
language name is
And
Python.
along with that, they'll
So
share
this is
the
the main
content also,
subject.
syllabus,
Okay,
what I'm
Python,
going to
first
cover in
language.
these 30 days.
Next,
So
some
these demo
frameworks are
details
there
and everything I
in
explained in the
Python
last
full
lecture.
stack
Okay, so
development,
please follow
especially
that.
to develop web applications or websites. Okay, some frameworks are there. The
Any more
frameworks are
questions?
nothing
Please, we
but
can
like
proceed no
Django
problem.
framework, REST API
Sir, how
framework,
we can do hands-on practice?
Flask framework. These are the
Tell me.
frameworks.
How
Along
we
with
can
these
do hands-on
frameworks,
practice
you
and
must and should
I mean
aware
any
of
project or something
UI
that we can do
basics,
after this
means user
course.
interfaces like
Yeah,
HTML
see, this is SQL Server
plus
complete
CSS
development session. You can
plus
take
JavaScript
dummy database and
and
you
then
can work on that.
jQuery
Depends on your
and
requirement.
then Bootstrap.
I'll show you how to do it. But this is complete
Okay.
lectures you have to practice from
Then
your side.
along
If you
with
have any
UI
queries or
designing
doubt in
or
the class, you
UI
have to ask, or
basics.
else
So
we
you
are
must and
maintaining
should
some
aware
WhatsApp groups. In that group also, you
database
can feel
knowledge.
free to
So in
discuss
full
the
stack
queries and all.
development, we are going to cover SQLite 3
Okay.
and
Thank you.
MySQL. These are the database tools. So observe carefully. These
So
are
these
the main
commands are very
subjects which
simple.
I'm going
SQL
to
Server
cover
is not
in
a
full
big deal
stack
to handle.
development. Okay.
Easily we
One
can understand
language
and
that
easily
is
you can be able
Python
to manage it.
and total
Because we
3
are completely
frameworks,
keep on working with the
Django,
data
REST
and
API,
databases
Flask.
only. So
These
focus
are
should
web
be in
application
completely
development
back-end
frameworks.
development, database only.
In the web
No much
application
more
development
programming.
process,
These are
you must aware
SQLs, no?
the
So
UI
all
design,
syntaxes
like
are very
how to
pretty
prepare the
simple to
web
handle
pages
it.
or websites design-wise. Design purpose, we need to learn UI basics.
Even advanced level
Okay,
programming
and
also there, like
database
stored
management
procedures
also
and
required, right?
functions
In
and
the web
schemas
development
and
process,
views and the
compulsory,
triggers and
we need to
indexes,
handle with
everything is
our
there.
data.
You just
So
check the
the
content
database
what I'm going to
management
discuss.
purpose, we need to learn database tools like SQLite 3 and MySQL. So total these
Fine,
6
sir. Have a nice time.
subjects
See
I'm
you
going to
tomorrow. You
cover
can use
in
the same
Python
link
full
for
stack
tomorrow demo
development.
also.
So if you enroll for this Python full stack development, the course duration is 4 months. Yes, it will take totally 4 months to complete all these 6 subjects. That is a part of Python full stack development. For suppose if you enroll only for Python, that means some students are looking for only Python programming language according to their requirement. It's enough. Python, basic Python, that is core Python, advanced Python, both are there in Python language. Only Python if you enroll, so it takes, the duration is 45 working days to 50 working days. Okay, that means up to 2 months, I can say that. Only Python up to 2 months, like 45 working days to 50 working days. And full stack development of Python, that means total 3 frameworks, 1 programming language, UI basics, and SQLite and MySQL. For this, it will take 4 months
today's
duration.
session.
Okay.
See,
So
this is
depends
the
on your
first
requirement,
session
you can
of
choose
SQL
anyone.
Server development
So I
sessions.
can give you some clarity about this. Who should go
SQL
with only Python
Server
language and who should go
development
with
sessions,
complete
or
Python
we
full
can
stack
call it as
development. Suppose your
Microsoft
requirement
SQL
is
Server,
after learning Python,
MS SQL.
if you want to move towards data
Okay.
science or data
So this is
analysis
completely related to
or
database.
ML, machine
So
learning
in
or
this,
AI, in this area,
we are going
if you
to
are planning
discuss
to go with this
all
area like data
all
science,
database related topics,
data analysis,
SQL
AI
Server
and ML,
or Microsoft
even
SQL Server.
AWS, DevOps. So
So
after
SQL Server is the
learning
product
Python,
of
if you are moving
Microsoft,
towards these courses,
especially
then better to
designed
go with
for
only Python core and
to
advanced.
store customer data
So no
or
need
end
to learn
user
Django,
data
REST API,
into
Flask, UI and all.
separate
Okay,
location,
but
that
some
is
students are
in
looking for purely
database.
Python if they don't
So
have any
generally,
plan to
why
move towards
database
data
means
science
to
or
store
AL, ML,
the data
AI
permanently.
and
When we store the data
DevOps,
permanently,
AWS like this.
whenever it
So
is
if you want to
required,
become complete
then we
full
can
stack
access
developer
directly
of
from the
Python, so better
database.
to go with all
So
these
permanent
subjects, full
storage
stack
area it
development.
is. Okay.
So this is just I'm giving clarity. Then
Storage
you can
areas are
decide which
different
you want.
ways.
Okay. Yes.
Temporary
Now let's
storage
talk
areas are
about
there. Permanent storage
each and
areas are
every
there.
subject purpose actually.
So
So
temporary
I'm saying in
storage
full
areas
stack
means
development, you are going
as
to
long
learn
as
these
when we
all 6
execute the
subjects, right?
program,
So
normally
each subject purpose you must
the
aware
output
that.
will be
So
hold the
first
data.
subject is
But
Python.
once you move
So
to
what
other
is
program
Python here?
execution,
Okay.
the previous program
First we'll talk
output will
about
be
Python later.
destroyed.
I'm giving
It
just
won't
brief
save
introduction
anywhere,
each and every
and we
subject
can't
so that
access
what is the
permanently
purpose of subject you
whenever it
must
is
know that.
required. That was
So after
permanent
that we'll begin
temporary
with
storage
Python
area.
only because Python
But
is
permanent
mandatory
storage area means
before
what?
going to
Once we
learn
store the
anything
data
in
in
full
one
stack
place,
development like
from
Django,
that
REST
place
API,
we can
Flask, other
access
things. So first
anytime
45 days to
whenever it
50
is
days,
required. That
we
is
have to
permanent
focus on
storage area.
only Python.
Okay.
So
So permanent
first
storage areas also
Python
can be of
is
two types. Usually,
Python is
even
a
.NET
programming
programmers
language.
or Java programmers,
Yes,
Python programmers,
Python is
so
a programming language.
they can store the
Generally,
data
any
permanently
programming language, if
in
you
two
take, which
situations,
is
like
used
while
to
working with file
develop
handling. File
coding
handling is
part,
nothing but
coding part
storage area, that
for
is
the applications.
permanent storage area.
Yes,
Next, database
Python
handling,
is a programming language which is
file handling
used
and
to develop
database handling.
coding part or
Yes,
which
anyway,
is
we are
used to
going to
write
handle the
coding part
data
for
with
the
database
application
only,
development.
not file handling. But file
So
handling
if you
means
want to develop the
to store
applications,
the data
you must write
permanently
some
in the
logic or
form of
coding, right?
files,
That coding we can write
like
using
text
what language?
files,
Python language.
binary
So
files,
that's what we can
object
say it is a
files, like that.
programming language.
Database
So
handling means we can store the
programming
data in
part
the
is
form of
important and logic part is
tables,
important for
like
developing any
structured
application.
data.
Okay,
This
this is
is
the language
unstructured
actually.
data.
So
We are going to
throughout
store all the
entire
data
full
in
stack development,
text
wherever
format,
you
like
write
string
some
format.
logic or
And
wherever you
database
write
handling
some
means
coding
completely
part,
data can be stored
that
in
coding
structure
part
format, like tables
going
and
to be written
columns
in
format. We can
Python
store,
language through
sorry,
only.
columns and
So
rows
that's what
format
you
we can
must
store in
aware
file handling.
Python compulsory
So this is
before going
exactly
to start
the
writing
permanent
code in
storage
any
area.
framework like
So
Django,
what is
REST
the
API and
main
all.
difference between
So
file
this is our
handling,
main core
permanent
language,
storage area, as well as
what
database
we are
handling,
going to learn
permanent
first
storage
initial
area
days
means?
of Python full
See,
stack
file
development
handling
course.
means
Okay, so
generally
once
this
you know
concept can
about
be used
Python, once you
during
are
the
good
project
at Python,
development when
okay,
they want to
so
store
then
the
it's easy
data
to
for
develop any
accessing into their
applications
application.
by using
Then we
these
can go for
frameworks.
file handling.
So next
So we
subject
can
is
store
what?
the data
Django.
permanently in
What
the
is
separate
Django
file or
here?
separate location.
So
We can
Django is
access
not a
that
programming language.
data in the
Then what
application
it is?
code by
So I can
retrieving
say
the data from
Django
files.
is
Okay.
a
So this is
framework.
completely unstructured data,
Yes, Django is a
and we
framework
to
which is
do some
used to
operations or manipulations
develop
to
the
store the
web
data
applications.
or
So if you
update the
want to
data
develop web
or
applications,
what we can say
then we
deleting the
use
data. It
Django
is little bit
framework in
complex
Python full stack
while
development.
working with file handling.
So it's not a
It's
programming
not that
language.
much of
It is a
easy
framework.
how we are
Okay.
going to do in
What is
database.
framework generally?
Okay. So
Yes,
inserting
framework is
and
nothing but
updating,
it's a
deleting, and
collection
reading
of
the data is
built-in
little bit
class
complex
libraries.
architecture in file handling.
Built-in class library
And
means
even though
each class
while
library
working with
contains
file
some
handling,
built-in
actually,
classes like predefined
file
classes,
handling do not support
and
query
each
based
predefined class is
language
having
support.
built-in
Means there is
functionality.
no
That means
structured query
already
language like
pre-written
statements we
or
cannot pass.
developed code,
Okay,
which is
everything we
directly
have to write
available
manual logic in the
to
file
use
handling.
in our
But whereas
applications.
database handling,
So
This
the
supports
moment when we
completely
install
query-based
Django framework,
language support.
so
Means
it offers
everything
lot
we
of
can do,
libraries,
the operations like
especially
insert
which are
purpose, we can
required
simply
to
pass
develop
insert
web
command.
applications.
Update
Those
purpose, we can
libraries
simply pass update
can
command.
be
Delete
used to
purpose, we can
develop
simply
web
pass delete
applications
command like
at
that.
faster rate.
Simple statement through we
That
can
means
fulfill
if
the
they have
database operations in
built-in
database handling.
libraries or
Okay,
predefined
but
libraries,
file handling,
using that
database
built-in
handling, both
libraries,
are
we can
permanent storage
quickly
areas.
develop the
But
web
file handling
applications, right?
usage is in
We
the
don't
during
need to waste
application
the time,
development.
because
Programmer
from the
can
scratch
store
we
their
need not
data
to write any
permanently
logic.
as long as the
Only
application development is
we
processed.
can use the libraries which
I'm
are
saying
provided
file
by
handling is
Django.
not much more
So it's a
flexibility
framework.
when compared
Framework
to
means it's having
database handling.
set of
Most
rules and
important difference is
specifications.
file
Okay,
handling
it's
do
having
not
lot of
support
libraries. By
centralized
following that
database
rules and
communication,
specifications, we have to develop some
whereas
applications.
database
So
handling
Django is not a
supports
programming
centralized
language.
database
Django is
communication.
a framework which is
See,
used to
file
develop
handling
web
do
applications.
not
Web
support
application
centralized
means what?
database communication means what? See,
Please mute
for
your audio.
suppose you are
Yeah.
the developer or
Web
programmer,
application means
you
what?
are
The
doing the
application which
application
will
code in your
provide
system.
services over the
You are
web
going to
is
store
called
your
web application,
application
right?
data in files.
The
The
application
files are present in your computer.
which will
That means you
provide
can only access that
which will
files
provide
during the
the
program or
services
application implementation development.
over the
And
web is
that
called
cannot allow
web
you to share
applications. Simply,
multiple users, those who are
the
working with
application
multiple
which will
systems,
provide the
okay,
services
during the
over the
application
web is
development.
called web application.
So file
Okay,
handling do
fine.
not allow
But I'm
centralized
saying that
communication
Django is a framework,
system. Centralized
and
communication means
Django
what?
is a
Centrally
Python-based
located
framework.
in one database
Django
or
is
data is available in
Python-based
centrally.
web
Multiple clients
development
can able to communicate
framework.
with centralized database.
It's completely
But that
Python-based
option
web
is not
development
possible
framework.
with file handling.
So that
Whereas
means
database
Django
handling, while
framework
working with the
completely written
database,
in Python language
centralized
only.
database communication is
Okay,
possible, sir. Centralized
Django
database
framework
communication means what?
written in
Centrally, one database is located, and with that
Python language.
database, we can send a
So
request
ultimately, I can say
from the multiple
to
users or
start
multiple
learning of
clients. We can send
Django,
request,
especially to
and we can
develop web
collect the data.
applications, first of
Anybody
all,
can
you must
communicate with
have
centrally
the
available
knowledge
database,
of
and they
Python.
can retrieve the data, they can
So
store the data, anything they
Django
want, they can do
prerequisite
that.
subject is
So
Python.
that is
If you
centralized
know the
database
Python
communication.
knowledge, then easily we
So
can
in
implement the
centralized
web
database
applications using
communication,
Django
multiple
framework.
users can communicate with the database.
Why
They can
Django
do
need
required
Python means
operations.
because
But in file
Django
handling,
is
we
completely
don't have any
written in
centralized
Python
database
language only.
communication.
How they
So we
developed
can't do
Django framework by writing
operations
Python script.
with
So that's
centralized
the reason we
communication.
can say
These are the
Django is a
differences
Python-based
between
web development
file
framework. It's
handling,
completely Python
permanent storage
frameworks.
area, database handling,
And Django
permanent
can
storage area.
understand the
But
instructions
our topic is
from Python
mainly
only. So
database
you can't
handling,
send
that
any
is permanent
instructions from
storage
different
area.
language
So
like
because
Java or
these
C language.
database
So
concepts are very
Python
important,
instructions
sir.
only can understand by
Right now
Django,
we are
so it
working
is
with
easy to
SQL Server
implement web
database.
applications by
MS
writing
SQL
code in
Server is
Python
also
language.
called as Microsoft
So to
related,
learn
because
Django,
I said that
Python is
this
mandatory.
completely SQL
To
Server
learn
development
Python,
is
nothing is
belongs to
mandatory because
Microsoft.
Python is
So
a
SQL
basic
Server
programming
product is
language.
coming
To
from
learn this
Microsoft.
basic
It is
language, no
Microsoft
any
Corporation
basic
product.
language is required.
So once you
Like
know the
C, C++,
idea about SQL
not at
Server,
all. Because
so
itself,
you can
Python
have the
itself, it is
option
a basic
to
language,
get
right?
or to apply a
You
job
can
for
learn
SQL
from
Server
scratch.
developer.
Okay.
Once
And
you get
also you
full
will get the
knowledge
knowledge
or
in the
full
basic
grip on
level and
database
intermediate
with
level
the
and
SQL
advanced
Server,
level
Microsoft
once
SQL
you
Server
complete your
commands,
Python course
then you
here.
can have the
So I'll
option
teach
to
from the
apply a
scratch,
job
no
as
need
an
to
SQL
worry.
Server
So if some
developer.
students feel that I
Or
don't
else,
have any
especially if you
programming
are
knowledge, then
belong
is
to
that
.NET
possible to learn
programmers, for
Python?
suppose.
Undoubtedly, it's
So
possible
especially
to
this
learn Python.
SQL Server, it can
Python,
help as
no
help
prerequisite
to the
languages.
.NET
Okay,
programmers
directly you can
to
start learn
communicate
with Python only.
the data
And
and to
Django,
retrieve the
before
data.
going to Django,
Not only
you must
.NET
have the
programmers, for
Python
example,
knowledge.
you are
Okay, otherwise
MSPA,
you can't.
so Microsoft
So this is
Business
about
Intelligence.
Django
So
subject
that
purpose.
subject
Okay,
also
it
required
is
SQL
purpose
Server.
is what? To
Not
develop
only
web
MSPA,
applications.
even data
What type of
analytics
framework
or
it is?
data,
Python framework. Why it is
what
Python
we can
framework?
say,
Because it's written in completely
visualization
Python
purpose,
language,
like
right? Fine.
business tools,
Next,
BI
I'm
tools
trying to discuss
purpose,
about
SQL Server is very
third
important to
subject, which is
use.
also very,
So
very
if you know
important in
once
real
the
time,
SQL Server
that is
knowledge,
REST API.
okay, then
This
it
is
can be
our
used
third
to
subject, which
implement
I'm going to cover in our
different
full stack
areas
development course,
like
REST API.
.NET
See, sir, whatever
as
the
well as
order I have written here,
MSBI
same order I'm I'm
as
going
well
to
as
cover
data
all these
analytics
subjects,
programming,
but except
as well
UI
as
and
PI tools.
SQLite,
Several
because
PI
these
tools
two
are
under
there.
comes into
Power PI.
Django,
Okay,
REST
this is
API,
the
and
area
Flask
where
with
we
these
can use
frameworks
SQL
only in the
Server
middle.
database generally.
So let's talk about REST
Okay, or
API.
else
if you know
Sir,
the SQL
we
Server,
know
only you can apply a job as an
how to
SQL
develop
Server
Django
development
web
or
application by
programmer
using
also, SQL
Python. We
Server
are ready with
programmer.
web application, right?
So
Then why
this
REST
is
API
just a
again?
basic
Yes, it's very
information
important
which I am passing
in real time.
about SQL
What
Server,
is the REST
Microsoft
API
SQL
purpose?
Server.
I'll tell you
So
that.
some
So
students
here,
like
first
who
of
are
all,
especially belongs to Java
REST API is one
programmers,
of the
Java people,
framework.
they use
Let's talk about this.
the
REST
Oracle
API
database.
is
And
a
some students like
framework.
who are belongs to
It is
especially
also
Python
completely
related
Python
students, they use
based framework.
MySQL. Like
REST
no
API
matter
is a
what
framework.
database tool they are using, but ultimately
Purpose
all
of the
the
REST API is which
programmer's
is used
task is
to
one very simple. They should
develop,
communicate with the database
which
and
is
they
used
should
to
retrieve
develop
and
the
update or delete
APIs,
all these operations only they can do.
APIs for
But
web
according to the
applications.
priority, like what
APIs for web
programming,
application.
what
In REST API,
what we can say, what
in
development
REST
of
API,
application programmer you are,
REST
based on that you
means
have to choose. But Microsoft
REST
SQL Server,
means
most of the cases,
representational
.NET students, especially who are dealing with
state
Microsoft product like
transfer
C Sharp, .NET,
in
ASP.NET,
REST
Entity
API.
Framework,
Okay.
they use
In REST
SQL
API,
Server development process. But
API
even
means
exclusively who wants to become SQL
REST
Server
means what? REST
developer,
means
okay, who wants
representational
to
state
work with
transfer.
database side, not
In
programming
REST
side.
API,
If you want to become a
API
database
means
developer or database programmer,
application,
then we can go for SQL Server, Microsoft SQL Server. Okay.
application,
So after talking about this file handling and
programming,
database handling, let's talk about what is exactly
interface,
Microsoft SQL
application
Server.
programming interface.
MS
So
SQL
REST
means
means
Microsoft SQL
representational
Server.
state transfer.
As I said,
API
it
means
is a product
application
of
programming
completely
interface.
Microsoft. Okay.
REST is an
So
architecture
SQL stands for what
or
actually?
design
So
pattern.
first of all, SQL
Simple,
stands
the
for
APIs which is going to
SQL stands for
design
structured
based
query
on REST
language.
architecture is called REST
SQL
API.
stands for
So what is the
structured
use of API, sir?
query
Because I'm saying
language.
that REST
Yes, it
API
is completely
is used
structured
to
query
develop
language.
APIs, application
So
programming
query language means
interface for
completely
web
we are going to
applications. So why
work
REST
with
API
queries.
means?
Queries means
Well,
SQL
actually
statements.
API is
We are passing the statements.
a software
And
tool.
SQL
API is a
also
software tool
pronounced as
which
SQL Server generally.
enables
Yes, we
which
used to do
enable
sometimes
the
SQL
web
Server only we are going
application
to pronounce.
which enable the
SQL
web
stands for
application to
Structured English
communicate
Query Language. Structured English
with other
Query
applications.
Language.
To communicate with
SQL means
other
Structured
application.
English Query
Yes,
Language.
this is very important in real
Okay.
time, right?
So I used
For
to call it
example,
as
you are having
SQL Server,
you are going
or
to
else you
deal
can
with
call
many
it as
web
SQL
applications
Server,
in
no
real
problem.
time. For example,
SQL means S means
consider a
structured.
flipkart.com website
Okay,
is there.
E for English,
In the
QE for
flipkart.com
query, L
website,
for
what we can
language.
do generally, we can select
Structured
the
English
product
query
and
language.
we can click
So
on
why
buy now.
SQL Server
After
means
that, the Flipkart
SQL Server
website
is
can
used to
communicate with the
manage
banking
the
application for
data
making payments, right?
and
Here, what's going to
access the
happen for
data,
doing transaction
okay,
over the
modify the
Flipkart
data
website?
into
So the
database.
Flipkart
Okay,
web
what is
application
database actually?
should
See,
communicate
sir,
with banking web
database
application, right?
is
Here,
nothing
two
but
applications are communicating
it
or
is a
talking
collection
with
of
each other by
information.
sending request and
What is
response
that?
for
It is a
making
collection of
transaction
information.
successful. So
Database
that
is a
communication, who
collection
is going
of
to provide means
information.
exactly API,
Collection of information.
application programming interface. Here,
For your
two
kind
or more
information,
application can
database is a
communicate
collection
with
of
each other.
information, but
That purpose,
not collection
API
of data.
software is required. It's a
Data
software
is
tool we
different
have to
and
design
information is different, sir.
for our web application.
Database is a collection
Yes,
of
Python
information,
with Django
but
through
what
we are
is
going to
data means?
develop web
Data is
applications.
nothing
Once
but
our web
raw
application is
inputs,
ready,
actually.
and to provide
Raw inputs
more
or
services
raw facts.
for the customers,
Raw facts we can
our
say
web
that.
application need
Raw
to be
fact means
interact with other applications for
whatever the
making
user is
transactions.
giving
So
all
for
the
that, we
inputs,
need to generate
that is
API
completely
as
raw
a web
facts or
developer
raw inputs.
responsibility. So API
But
generate
data means raw
purpose, we
inputs,
need to
but
use another
information
framework
means what?
called REST API.
Information
So
is
the
nothing but
API
what
is
you
a
know,
software tool
processed data,
which enables
processed
the web
data
application to
or
communicate with
well
other application.
organized
It's
data.
mandatory.
Well
And
organized
the
data.
API which is used to
Well
generate
organized
or
data
design
is called
by
information.
using an architecture
So I
called
said
REST
that
architecture
database is nothing
is
but
called
collection
REST
of
API.
information.
In any full stack
Okay, not
development, not only
data.
here Python full stack
Data is
development,
nothing
even
but
in
raw
Java full
inputs.
stack development,
Whatever
.NET
user
full
is
stack
trying to give
development,
inputs to
APIs
the
are very common.
application, that is
Here
data,
we are
but we
using
cannot
a
say,
name
we
of
cannot
subject
store
like REST
data in our
API.
database
Java
because
people, they use
completely
RESTful
we need to
APIs. .NET people, they use
accept the
Web
user
API.
inputs in
So
proper
simple.
way, like no
So this
duplicates,
is another
no null
subject we are going to
references,
learn, a REST
meaningful
API for
data only,
generating APIs for
perfect
web
or proper
applications.
record only,
And
we should
when
allow to
we
insert
should
into
learn
database table.
REST API after
So because
completion of
that's the
Django
reason
only.
I can say
So
processed
to learn
data
REST
or
API,
well-organized data is
what are
nothing
the
but what?
prerequisite subject,
Information, we can say that.
Django and
So
as well as
database is a
Python. Both
collection
are
of
required.
information. Fine, sir. But
How I
normally,
said, to
okay,
learn Django,
so
Python is
what kind of
mandatory before going
databases are
to
there?
starts
Okay,
with
what kind of
Django means
databases?
Python
See,
is
what
mandatory,
kind
right?
of
So to
databases
learn
means
REST
it
API,
doesn't
what
mean
is
that I'm
required?
explaining
Django as well as
like
Python,
SQL
both
Server
are required.
database, which
Because
is related to
even though
Microsoft,
we are using REST
Oracle,
architecture
MS
to
SQL,
generate APIs,
MongoDB,
complete
and
logic part
SQL,
we are going to
Postgres
write
SQL.
using
No.
Python language
So
only.
general
So Python is mandatory.
specialties.
Everywhere we are going
So
to
what are
use
the
in full
general
stack development.
databases?
Wherever you
Okay.
write logic part,
So
that logic
there
part
are
should be written in
three
Python only, sir.
types
So
of
REST API
general
need
database are there.
two prerequisite
Three
subjects
types
like
of
Django and Python.
database generally.
Next,
Three types
other
of
framework is
databases.
there. This is Flask. So it is
Database. One
a
is
completely different
local
framework here.
database.
So it is
Local
also
database.
Python-based framework. So to
Next,
learn Flask,
remote
Django
databases.
is not at all
Remote
required. REST
database.
API not required.
Remote
Directly you
databases.
can start learn Flask
Remote
with only
database.
Python knowledge.
Next one is
So Python is enough to
online
learn
or
Flask. What is Flask
internet
framework? It is.
databases.
So Flask
Online
is a
or
framework.
internet database.
Flask is a
Yes.
framework which is
Three types of databases generally
Flask
we
is a
have.
framework
Local
which
database,
is used
remote
to develop
database, online or internet
the
database.
single page web applications.
Local databases
Yes.
are nothing but
Single
like
page
MS
web
Access,
applications.
which is present in our computer after install.
So as I said,
Like MS
Django is a
Access.
framework which is
Examples
used
only,
to
these are
develop web
DBase,
applications. But what is
DBase,
the difference
Fox
between
Pro.
Flask and
These are all
Django? Means
local
Django
database.
through we can develop
Remote kind
medium
of
scale
databases
and
means
maximum
like
scale
MS SQL.
applications. Okay. But
Okay, for
using
example,
Flask, we
I'm telling
can't develop
Microsoft
medium
SQL Server,
scale and maximum scale
Oracle,
applications. Mostly using Flask, we
MySQL,
can develop what
and MongoDB,
single page web
even
applications only.
Postgres SQL,
Single
and
page
there
web
are many more
application means
remote kind of
like dashboard
databases.
applications or
See, this remote
microservice
databases
programming
is nothing
purpose,
but
we
what?
use Flask.
The many
Flask
clients
is a
are present
framework
in
which
one
is used to
location,
develop single
and the
page web
database server
application,
is present
and
in different
Flask is a
location. They can
Python based
communicate with
micro
each
framework.
other by sending request and response.
Flask is
So that means
a
database
Python based
server is located in different place,
micro
and the
framework.
clients are located in different place. But they
Micro
can communicate
framework
each other by sending
which can
request and
be
response. This type of databases
used
are nothing but
to
remote
write
kind of database. In
microservices
remote place,
programming.
we can have our complete data which is
Microservices
present in
programming
remote server
also.
database, that is remote kind
So
of
this is
database.
Flask. To learn
Okay.
Flask, only
So
Python is
these
required,
are remote
not
databases, especially
anything required.
we are
So
dealing
it's a
with
small
Microsoft
Flask
SQL Server. It
framework.
is kind of remote
So
database
instant
only, not local database. Okay.
service usage
Online
purpose,
or
we can
internet
write Flask
databases
script
are there.
and it can be helped to develop applications clearly.
OLAP.
So
This
in
is
our syllabus, Flask is
online
also one of the
analytical
framework
processing.
which is going to
Online
deal a small scale
analytical
application development.
processing.
This is also used to design web
Online
applications.
analytical
Okay,
processing.
right. So total three
This is
frameworks are there.
online
One
analytical
is the
processing.
Flask framework,
OL,
and the REST API,
OL,
and then Django.
what we
Three
can say, AP.
frameworks and one
Next,
language,
OLTP is
programming
kind of
language.
online
And strictly
transaction
remember that
processing.
these three frameworks,
OLTP.
especially Django, REST API, Flask
Online
frameworks, are completely written in
transaction
Python. So Python-based frameworks.
processing.
So if you write Django, REST
Online
API,
transaction
Flask,
processing.
logics,
OLTP.
that should be in a form of
Online
Python only.
analytical
So that's
processing
what
as well as
Python
online
is
transaction
mandatory
processing.
language to learn these frameworks.
Online or
Okay,
internet
fine.
databases means.
So let's
But these type
talk
of
about
databases
UI
especially
and
can be
SQLite.
used in
In what
banking
context we use
applications
this? But
to
before
do
going to
the
talk about
transactions
this,
or to
let's
hold
discuss
the
in
data
Python full stack
temporarily
development,
as long as
especially
your
we
transaction is
need to
doing.
focus on
During the
front-end
transaction,
development
the data can
and
be stored
back-end
in online
development.
only with the data sets
Front-end
and
and
all.
back-end.
So that is online
Yes.
analytical processing,
So
online
in
transaction
front-end
processing.
development, what things
So
under comes?
generally we
Like
have
for
three
example, here
category of
front-end
data
means
types or
first time
databases only
when
there.
we open any
Local
web
kind of
page or
databases
website.
like MS Access,
So
DBS,
what
Fox
we are
Pro.
going to see on the
Remote kind of
screen, that is
databases
called
like MS
front-end, right?
SQL,
Front-end
Oracle,
development.
MySQL.
So the
Online or
front-end
internet
development
kind of
purpose,
databases
we
like
need to
OLAP,
focus
OLTP.
completely
But
on
you know
UI.
that to manage any
So this is
database,
UI.
to manage
UI means
any
user
kind of database,
interfaces. UI means
to
what?
manage
User
any kind of
interface.
database,
So user
then we
interface means
use,
what we are going
then
to
we need,
present, like
we need a
login form,
software,
registration page,
we need
change password form,
a
this type
software
of UI
that
design
is
we need to represent to the
DBMS,
customers, right?
Database
So that is
Management
UI basics.
System.
It is only for designing,
Yes,
which is under
DBMS
comes into
software is
front-end development.
required, sir.
So
Database
in the UI
Management
basics, I'm going to
System.
cover
Everybody,
HTML
you know
first
that this
to
thing,
create a web
Database Management
pages.
System is
And do you
common.
want to add some
To
styling to the
manage
web
any kind
pages,
of
CSS,
database,
cascading
then we
styles,
need a software that is
and then
DBMS,
if you want to make
Database
some
Management System.
functionality like
See,
validations
to manage
purpose,
local
we need
kind
to
of
use
databases,
JavaScript. So
DBMS software
HTML,
is required.
CSS,
Okay,
JavaScript are
Database
the
Management
basic UI
System.
technologies.
To
It's
manage remote
mandatory
kind
for
of
every
database,
web development
or
process.
DBMS
When it comes
is
to
required,
jQuery
or
Bootstrap, jQury is
DBMS,
the
Relational
extension
Database
of
Management
JavaScript.
System,
It is an
or
other
DBMS,
framework.
Relational
So
Database Management
Bootstrap is the
System.
combination of
To
CSS
manage
and
online or
JavaScript.
internet
So mostly we
databases,
will prefer to
or
use
DBMS is
Bootstrap
required,
for
or
bringing look and feel
DBMS. That means
better
Object
when
Relational
compared to
Database
normal
Management
plain
System is
HTML and
required, sir.
CSS styling.
So got
Because
clarity?
nowadays
So
Bootstrap will
our
play the
topic
major
is,
role in web
especially
development
our
design.
subject
So
is
it's
SQL
bring
Server
look and
or
feel more for our web
MS SQL,
application
that is
or for our
Microsoft SQL
UI
Server.
user interface.
So
Okay, this is
Microsoft
the main.
SQL Server is
So
remote
React.js
type
will
of
not be
database, no?
included here.
So
It's
that's
not
the case.
required
We are
because
going
what
to
we are
use
going
what
to
type
do
of database
React.js,
or
we
DBMS,
are going to do
Relational
with the Django itself
Database
only. That's what
Management
it is not
System.
part of our
Whatever
curriculum.
we are going to discuss the topics
So Bootstrap,
in our sessions.
jQuery,
Okay,
all
all
these
topics
basics will be
related to
covered in
Relational
Django
Database
time only.
Management
At the
System
time of
topics only,
Django
sir.
development,
Because
okay, so we'll be
MS
covered the
SQL Server
all
is a
UI
remote
because
kind
you
of
have to deal with
database.
the
So
complete
to
front
manage
end
this type
development
of
like UI
database,
design, everything
we
is
need a
there.
software
So
called
this is the part of front end.
RDBMS,
And
Relational
backend is
Database
having
Management
three
System.
subcomponents.
Okay.
Okay.
If your
Backend is
database
having
is
three
related to
subcomponents
online or
actually.
internet database
So
like
what are
OLAP,
that?
OLTP,
In the backend
you need a
development, what
software
are the
called
required? First
Object
thing
Relational
is
Database
the
Management System.
programming language. It's
Normally,
compulsory. In
local
the backend
database
programming
management
language,
purpose,
that
MS
means
Access
logic
DBS
must and should
workflow,
be right?
only
The
DBMS software
programming
is
language,
required.
what is
So
that?
database
Python.
management system is enough.
Next, the
So
frameworks.
remember,
Yes,
our
in the
topics
backend
completely
development,
in the
compulsory
regular
frameworks
sessions,
also required.
relational database
So
management
frameworks
system
means
topics only
it's having
we are
set
going to
of
cover for SQL Server
rules and
development process.
specifications we
Okay.
have to follow
Yes.
while developing the web
Now coming to
applications
this, as I
in
said
Python
that
full stack
before
development.
this,
So what are the frameworks
database
we are going to cover?
is nothing
Django
but it's a
framework,
collection of information. No?
REST API
In
framework,
that data is
and then
nothing but
Flask
raw
framework.
facts or
These are the
user
frameworks.
inputs. No?
Next, the
Information means
database.
processed data or
Yes,
well-organized data.
three
No? So
compulsory. The database.
database is nothing but
So
collection of
database
information.
purpose,
This
we are
information
having
can
the
be stored
tools
in
like
where?
SQLite3 and
In
MySQL.
database, in the form of tables.
See, sir,
So I'm saying that
SQLite3 is a built-in
information
database integration
can be
with
stored.
Django framework. For the first
Information can
time,
be stored
when
in
we
the
create
form of
Django application or
information can
Django
be
web
stored
application, Django project,
in the form of
that
tables.
project is
Yes,
associated with
in the
inbuilt
form of tables.
SQLite3
Actually, it
settings.
is going to be stored in
So
the form of
maximum
tables only.
operations
Information
with
can be stored in the
database we
form of
can
tables.
do with SQLite3,
So
and
in
also we are
according
going
to
to
the
cover
relational
MySQL
database
because
management
most of the
system,
cases in Python
okay,
or Django
information will
applications
be
in
stored in
real
the
time,
form of
MySQL
table.
is preferred
What
database.
exactly table
It
means?
doesn't
Table
make sense
is nothing
using
but
Python
it
can't we
also called
communicate
as
with other
entity. One
databases like
table is nothing but
MongoDB,
one entity.
okay, MS SQL, Oracle.
One
Yes, it's
entity.
possible. But majority of the
This is
cases
considered
in
rows
Python
and
development
columns.
as well
Actually,
as Django
table is
web
a collection of
development,
rows and
MySQL is
columns.
the preferred database, or
Rows
else
and
SQLite3 is the
columns. Each
integration.
entity
This is
contain rows and columns. Yes, table
pre-integrated,
contain
already
rows and columns.
integrated with Django framework. Okay, no need
In
to install
SQL Server,
explicitly.
a single row is
But it's a
called as
combination actually.
record, or
But
we can
suppose
say
.NET
tuple.
full stack developer, how they use MS
And in
SQL, right?
SQL Server,
Microsoft
single
SQL
column
Server.
is also
It's a
called
product
as
of Microsoft.
field
Similarly,
or
Java programmer,
attribute.
Java full stack
Yes,
developer,
one
how they
field,
use
one
like Oracle.
attribute,
So
we can say
same
that.
in Python full
Row
stack
is nothing
development,
but
we
record or
prefer to
tuple.
use MySQL.
Column is nothing
You
but
can
field or
configure with any
attribute.
database, it's not a
Table is
problem.
nothing but what? One
Database main
entity.
purpose is what?
It
How
contains
to
rows and
deal with
columns.
your
Every table
customer
contains rows
data,
and columns.
how to store the
But
data
is there
and
any
manipulate
proper
or
or standard
retrieve
rules
something, access
to
data like
create a
that.
table
Database operations
or
we can do
to
in
maintain the
these
rows and
tools.
columns in the table?
So
Yes,
backend
some rules we have
development
to follow,
need
sir.
three things
Okay, what are
in
the
the
rules
backend
to
while
create a table?
working with
So these
application.
rules we have to
Behind
follow
the scenes,
to
what is
create a
required?
table.
Python
So to
language is
create a
required
table,
because
at
we have
least
to
one
write
column
complete
is required,
logic
required, sir.
part with Python.
Okay. If you
Frameworks
want
are
to
required.
create
We
a
are
table,
going to design and develop our
to
websites
create
or
a
web
table,
application by following this
at least
framework set of rules and
one
specifications.
column is
And
required.
database is
Only one
required.
column.
to store a
At
customer
least one
data
column is
that
required.
is in MySQL or SQLite3.
Okay, compulsory,
So
sir.
these
Without
three
column, you can't
language
imagine.
frameworks,
You can
databases are
imagine that
behind
you
the
can't
scenes it
imagine
works.
there is a
That
table.
means we can say
So
backend
column
development
means table
process.
headings, like for example,
See, for
ID,
the first time when we
name,
open any website, we
address,
are going to see
age,
on the screen
salary.
right
These
one
are the columns.
presentation layer, right?
At least
Presentation layer
one
means
column is
UI,
required if you
user
want to
interface.
create a table in SQL
But
Server or
user
in any kind
interface
of
will
database.
provide us some
To create a
registration
table,
page
at least
like
one column
labels,
is
text
required.
boxes, buttons.
But how many
Okay, you are
columns
going to
are
interact as a customer
allowing
with that
in
forms.
one table,
So,
sir?
but
For
behind the
suppose per
scenes, what's
table,
going to happen?
how
Actions
many
will be
number of
performed,
columns
right?
are required?
So
Like
that
for example,
actions
ID,
and
name, address,
everything will
age,
be
salary. Like
managed.
how long?
These
Okay.
three only,
So
language and
table
frameworks
can have
and
maximum
databases.
columns
It will not
1024,
appear
sir.
to the customers.
Can have that
Customer can
maximum
only
columns. How
see
many
in
are?
the front end like
10,
UI
24
only. So
columns in one
in
table, it's
Python
allowed.
full stack
But to be
development,
frank,
so
we
you
can't
must involve
create,
in two ways, like
even
front
in
end
the
and back
real-time
end.
scenarios also,
So the
we
person
can't
who
create
can easily
as an
handle
SQL Server programmer or
both
developer
front end
one
development and
table
back
with
end
a huge
development
number of
things,
columns.
then that person
In
is said
case
to
in
be
real
full
time,
stack
if there
developer.
is a,
Okay.
there is
Or else the person
there
who
is
can
a
handle
requirement
with
like
only
one table
front
should
end,
have
but
multiple
they don't
columns
know
or huge
about
number of columns.
language and frameworks
So
and
SQL
database
Server
management.
developers, they'll
So
do
this
what,
is UI developer,
they will
user
divide the
interface.
table into
Or
multiple
the person
parts.
who is
Okay, each
having
part
only
contains some
Python, so they
section of
cannot handle
columns.
with frameworks
That is
and
one table
databases and
only,
UI.
but they can
So they
split
can only
multiple
involve
tables with the
writing
different
the
columns,
logic with Python.
and they
So
can join
exclusive
together by
Python
using
developer
joins
like
concepts.
this.
Actually, we
But
have a
if you
joins
know
concepts also in our
how to
sessions.
manage UI,
Okay, so SQL
programming
Server
and
development
frameworks and
completely will
database,
cover whatever
everything,
the topics
so
will
you
cover. I will
will
disclose
be
at the end of the
considered as
session, and
a full stack
in
developer
detail we
like
will
that.
discuss, sir.
So
Okay,
nowadays,
after
full stack
completion of this
developers are
SQL
having
Server
huge demand
development
in the
process,
market.
you can
So
apply.
the
You can
better
also
to go
try
with full stack
a job
development
just
process. If you don't
SQL
have
Server developer. Okay,
any other
so
course,
only
you are
for
not
database
looking like
related jobs you
DevOps,
want, you can
AWS,
apply that.
AI, and
So these are
ML,
the
as I
columns.
said in the
One
beginning
table,
session of
at
this
least one
today.
column is required. But what
See,
about records, sir?
Python, only Python, who
Records,
needs
any
means
number of records you can include.
if you want
No
to
matter,
go
no
with
problem at all.
furtherly,
There
like
is no
after learning
restriction to
Python,
include the
Python with the
records.
data
The table
science,
should have only few records.
Python
No.
with the data
As long as
analysis,
the memory is
Python with
available,
AI and
the
ML,
table can
so
accept any number
AWS
of
and
records,
DevOps,
even
testing,
1,000 lakhs of
networking.
records
If
also
you
we
want
can
to go
include.
with
But
this
only
side,
column means
that
structure
all
related
tools
it
are
is, no?
required
It belongs to table
Python
structure.
script, then you can go with
So
only
maximum
Python.
1024
Other than
allowed
that, you can
for single
focus
table.
on full stack
Rows,
development. Full
there is
stack
no
means one
restriction on it.
language,
And one
total
more
3
important
frameworks,
thing here,
Django, REST API, Flask, and knowledge
creating,
of UI,
while giving the
user
name of the
interface,
table.
and knowledge of
Yes,
MySQL
every
and
table
SQLite3.
should
So
have the
this is
name,
about
that
our
is entity
subjects,
name or table
which I'm
name.
going to
Okay,
deal
because of
in our upcoming
after
sessions.
creating
So
the table and
after
inserting
completion
the
of this
data,
demo session,
whenever
our
it is
team will
required to retrieve
communicate
the data,
with
you must
you
mention the
through
table
mail,
name only.
so that they'll
But
send
how to
complete
mention the
content,
table name,
syllabus
the
content. You
table
can
name
observe once what I'm going to
should
cover.
not starts with a
So
digit,
all the subject related
and
content,
table name
and
should
they'll
not have the two
also
parts. Yes,
send the
compulsory.
today's recording demo
Table
link
name
also. So totally
should
4
not
to 5 demos will be there. So
starts
from
with a
today onwards.
digit.
So feel free to attend and
It should
regularly
not start with
the
a digit.
demos. After the demo
And it
completion
should
only,
not
you can
contain
decide that
two parts.
whether you want to go
Should
with
not
this course or
contain
not. Okay, that's feel free to
two
take the
or more
decision. It's not a
parts.
matter. So
In case
because
if you
of the
want to
thing is,
include your
you have to
table name
learn
is two or more
comfortably, right?
parts,
So wherever you
better to
comfort, you
use
can go
underscore
with that.
signs,
But
like
you have to
underscore
learn
symbol you
properly.
can
That
use.
is our main intention.
Table name should not start
And
with a
every
digit,
session is
and
going to be
table
recorded.
name should
The
not
recorded
contain
video
two
I'll
or more
upload
parts.
to
For
your
example, my
Google
table
Drive
name is
once
TBL
the session is over.
student.
And the sessions will
So
be
this is
from
actually two
Monday
words are
to
there.
Saturday.
TBL separate word
The
and student is
Sunday
separate
no
word.
session.
So this is
So
not allowed.
and
If you want to
each and
create a
every
table name,
subject, look at
compulsory
this
have to use
here,
that
Python, right?
underscore
First
sign. That
subject.
is okay. TBL
And then
student
Django,
underscore is
REST API.
there.
Each and every
TBL
subject, the
underscore
PDF
student.
material
And
will
this
be
table name should
handed
not
over to
start
you.
with the digits
Once your
9 TBL
enrollment
students
process
like
is
that.
over,
No, it's
so
not
each
allowed.
and every
So
subject
we have to use these rules and regulations while working with the table
material
name
I'll
clearly.
send to your mail.
At the same time,
So material
column
will
names
be there,
also.
that is
These are
PDF
the column
and
names. So,
recorded
for
videos
example, here
will
I'm
be
trying to
there.
give EMP space name.
Like the recorded
Column
videos will
name,
be
I am
once I
trying to
send or
maintaining two
shared
words.
the
EMP
folder
one
that is
word,
lifetime
name is
access,
different
like
word. So
Python
that is
related
also not
videos and
possible,
Django
sir.
related videos.
So
Every
column name
subject
should not be
clear
two parts and
videos
column name
are
should not
there.
start
Okay.
with a digit.
So let's
Yes,
see this
same.
material you will be able to get, like
Column
that
name
is core Python, basic Python,
should not
advanced Python,
starts with
and Django,
digit.
Flask REST API.
Column name should
In the
not starts with the
Django
digit,
folder only,
and
the
it should
UI
not
basics and database things will be
contain,
there in this folder only.
should not
So
contain
totals, each and every
2 or
subject's
more
PDF
parts.
will be sent
Yes.
along with recorded video here only.
Column name
Okay.
should not
So
contain
this
2 or
is
more
which I
parts.
covered basic things
Same
today.
table name
Python
rule,
full
column
stack
name rule
development.
compulsory
What is
required.
Python
So
and
these rules
Django,
must and should
REST
follow
API, Flask
while
and UI
working
and
with SQL
SQL.
Server
Just basic
database.
information I have
Okay. So
given
ultimately,
today now.
SQL Server means what I
But
said.
from tomorrow onwards,
SQL
what is our
Server is
action
a
plan means?
relational
I'll
database
focus
management
completely on
system
Python only, sir. For
which
first
is
45
used to
days to 50
manage and
working days.
access the data
So
from
my focus is
database.
completely
What
on
is
Python.
SQL Server?
The reason is why,
SQL
I said
Server
already,
is
without
a
having knowledge
relational
of Python, then you can't able to start with
database
Django, right?
database
So that's the reason,
management
whether you
system.
are looking for full stack
It is
development
completely
course
relational
or only
database
for
management
Python course, no
system
matter, for all of
which
them,
is used to
I'll start
manage,
from tomorrow onwards
which is
only
used to
Python
manage,
language. Once we
which is
complete
used to
Python
manage
within the
and
45
access
working days
the
to
data,
50 working
which is
days,
used to manage
then
and access
after
the
we'll
data
starts
from
with Django.
database. If
So
you
at
want
that
to
time, after
manage
45
and
days to
access the
50
data
days, you
from
will be good
database,
at
then
Python
we
for
use
sure, no
SQL
doubt at all. You can handle
Server,
the
relational
things
database
which
management
are in
system.
Python. So easily we can
So
understand the
why
things.
SQL
Okay.
generally
So
by
that,
Microsoft SQL Server? It is a product of
yeah, course
Microsoft.
fee and
Yes, we are going to
particulars and
completely
everything
deal with
our
the
team will
Microsoft
send to you
software
through
only,
mail.
MS
Okay.
SQL.
This is not
Why
right
SQL Server
platform
means
to
it is
disclose
used
the
to create
details. So
or
don't
design
worry. So our team
databases,
will assist you regarding
especially
this.
for
Okay.
.NET
So they'll
programmers
send the
or
mail. So in
MSPI,
that
Power
the
BI, or reporting
complete
tools.
particulars
There
will
are
be
so
there.
many
Or else we
tasks
can
we can
feel
do
free
with
to
SQL Server.
contact Durga sir
So why
so that
SQL
they can
Server means
assist
which
you
is
regarding
used to
this
create,
clearly.
design or
So first
databases
you
which
have
are
to
used to
focus
store some information
to
that is in
attend
the
the
form
demos.
of
After demos, you can
tables
decide it, no
like rows and
problem.
columns. To
Okay,
work with
that's my
SQL Server, we use SQL
what we can
Server
say
tool.
suggestion.
Actually, SQL
Don't look
Server
at that everything. First, try to attend the
SQL
demo
Server
sessions next 3 to 4
2022,
sessions so that you will get
SQL Server
clarity how I'm
2022 or SQL
delivering
Server
the content
2019.
and all,
This is a
so that
software tool.
if you, based on if your
So I strongly
comfortability,
recommend to
you
install
have to
this
choose
SQL
the right
Server
instructor,
2022
then it will
version.
be good for
I
your
will tell
career,
you in the
right?
next tomorrow
So
session
just
how to
focus on
download
that.
and
That's
install
it.
this SQL
Rest of
Server
the things we'll
2022.
take care of, no
So
problem.
any version
But one
2019
thing I
also
can
it's
say
run
from
for
my
no
end
problem.
as
There is
a
no much more differences version
trainer
software.
from
This is
Durga
editor
Saf.
tool actually.
So if you enroll for
SQL
this course,
Server
at the end of the
2022 is
day,
nothing but what?
you
Simple
will never
database
disappoint.
editor
That
tool
much guarantee
where
we
we
will
can
give.
write database
So other
code,
than this, you have to be
where we
focused
can write
and be
completely
practical. Okay.
completely
So regular
database
attendance is required. So regular
queries,
classes will leads to
queries
your
and
knowledge,
code or
more
SQL
skills you can
statements,
improve that.
database queries
So instead
and
of
SQL statements like
uh,
stored procedures, views and
skipping the
everything you can
sessions,
able
so
to
regular
pass it.
attendance is
So
important. If
through
you
this
attend the
SQL Server
classes, the concepts will be clear
2022 editor tool
and
only.
you will
The
be
moment when we
your
successfully
flow will
install
be
SQL
good
Server
in the learning
2022
process, right?
software,
So that's what.
we will get
And you have to
one
learn properly
internal
this
tool that
Python
is
full stack
SSMS.
development courses
SSMS
like
means SQL
orderly.
Server
So
or
some
SQL Server
students
Management
ask me,
Studio.
can't we directly
Okay,
join
SQL
Django
Server Management
sessions?
Studio.
No.
SSMS
Without
is not
having
a
Python
database
knowledge,
actually.
so
Okay,
Django sessions
it
are
is
not
just a
possible
client tool.
because
SQL Server
once we start framework
Management,
development like Django,
SQL
REST
Server
API, Flask,
Management Studio.
every time I'm going to write Python script only. So you cannot
Management
understand Python
Studio.
script, right? Before going to
It is not a
without
database.
having
It is
Python
just
knowledge
simply
with Django. So Python
client
is
tool.
mandatory here. So in full
Client
stack
tool. Every
development of
client
Python,
need to
wherever
maintain
you
this
write
tool,
some logic, that
especially
is
to
Python
manage
related
the
only.
data
You must
from
have the
database.
knowledge
Client
of Python
tool
first. After
or
that, you can
editorial
go
tool.
with remaining
SSMS
frameworks
is
and all.
this editor
And
is used
most
to write the
important thing I
SQL
forgot
commands
to
and
tell you,
post your SQL statements
once
to the database.
in the Django
And
ending, after
whatever
completion
the
of Django,
statements we are
I'm
passing
going
through
to
SQL
deal
Server
with 2
Management
to
Studio,
3
that
projects
statements need to
like
be
real-time
executed by SQL
experience,
Server engine.
real-time hands-on
After
project I'm
execution
going to
only,
deal with
you will
you.
be able to get your
So these
required
projects
data
we
which
can
is
include
present
in your
in
resume
required
also as a
format.
fresher
So this
candidate,
is
so that we
just a
have
basic
you can
introduction
disclose your
with
skills.
explain in this
Okay,
session.
so
Okay,
we
what
have
is
implemented
database,
this
what
type
is
of
SQL,
projects
what
in
is
your
data,
resume
what
also.
is
You can include
information.
those projects
So
clearly.
still
So
more
project development and
information or
real-time
more
exposure you will get with this
statements I
course.
need to
Okay.
us with the related
Yes.
SQL server, but that is in tomorrow.
Yes, yes.
There are
Tomorrow
different
demo,
types of
the
services
topics
also
will be
there.
different because it's a
First
continuation
time while
process.
working with the
Today,
SQL
what I
Server
explained,
Management
just
Studio,
our
database engine
agenda I
service,
explained,
analysis
right?
service, and
In the full
reporting
stack
service,
development, what
integration
subject
service,
and each subject purpose and
SQL
course
Server
details and
Compact or
time
mobile
duration.
edition services are
But
there.
tomorrow,
So
from
all
here
these
onwards, we'll
remaining
continue.
rest of the
So tomorrow,
information we will
I
discuss
will
in the
focus
tomorrow. This is
completely
just you
on
can
Python
consider
exactly.
basic
So
demo session, sir,
what is Python?
and try
Why
to attend
don't other languages?
exactly 3
And
demo sessions,
where do we use
especially
Python
SQL Server.
exactly?
We have
And
a
what
3
are
demo
the
sessions.
versions?
After
Which
three
version is
demo
required
sessions,
to install
if you
and
really wish
download?
to continue
What is the official
SQL
website
Server
of
development
Python?
session,
These are all
you can
details will
enroll
be
the
covered in
course.
tomorrow's
Okay,
session.
after
And next
enroll
we'll start
the
coding
course,
part also
I will
slowly, which
start
by
sharing
including some
the daily
editors.
basis
Okay,
recording
so many
videos to your
editor
mail
tools are there,
along
software
with SQL
editors to
Server
deal with Python full
complete
stack.
PDF
Which
document.
editor
Okay,
is the
soft
best
copy of
editor for
material also
Python full
we will
stack
upload to
development?
your
Also, I'll
mail only.
disclose. From then
Please try
onwards,
to
I'll
attend
continue
regular
with that
demos.
editor only.
Still 2 more demos you can
Yes,
attend.
for sure.
So after that, you can decide whether do you wish to
Yes,
continue
throughout
or
the
not.
course 7 a.m.
Okay,
only,
but
because
let
there
me
is no
show you
chance
the
to move
SQL
this
Server
session
development
before or
topics
after,
which
because
I'm
I have
going to
already
cover.
sessions
So we have
engaged. My batches
complete,
are engaged with that time. So 7 to 8
you
only
can see
fixed
this.
time.
This
Undoubtedly,
is
no.
complete SQL Server
No
development.
changes. 7 to 8. Daily 1 hour session. Monday
This
to
is
Saturday regular sessions.
we are
And
going
Sunday
to
will be
cover
the holiday.
all
Every
these
day
topics,
after
in-depth
session,
topics we'll
recorded
cover.
video will be
So let me
uploaded
explain what are the
in the
topics
shared folder.
which we are going to cover in
Okay,
SQL
so every
Server.
day you have to check in that folder
Introduction,
in Google Drive. So
database
recorded
designing,
video will be
creation,
there with the clear
okay,
number,
client server
Python 1,
architecture,
2, 3 orderly, how
and
to watch it.
basic
Along
what
with
we can say
complete
transaction
material, I'll
SQL
send
command
once your
language,
enrollment process is over.
and
Core Python
normalization,
PDF, advanced
constraints,
Python PDF,
and working
with
with
interview questions folder.
what we
And
can
then
say
we will maintain some WhatsApp group
classes,
once
where
your
class order
enrollment
by distinct,
over.
and
Then you
DML
are the
commands,
part of WhatsApp
DGL
group. If you
commands,
have any
built-in
questions
functions
and
also
doubts,
there,
you can
string
feel free to
functions, date
post
functions,
in that
mathematical,
group. We will assist you
and group
regarding
functions,
that.
aggregate functions, deterministic and
So this is
non-deterministic,
about complete
set
details.
operators,
And
subqueries,
then now
nested
it's
queries, joins,
your turn
views,
to ask any
triggers,
questions.
stored
If you have
procedures,
any
okay,
doubts
database
about these
transactions
sessions,
and
feel free to
security,
ask me so that I'm ready to
temporary
give
tables. So
answer.
there are so many topics are there here. This is
Yes,
completely
yes.
backup
After,
and restore SQL Server agent services,
yeah, it's a part
even
of
advanced topics
core
in SQL
Python
Server.
only, no?
All
So yes,
the
yes.
detailed discussions is going to be
Web
happen
scrapping and
during
everything will
these
be there.
SQL
So
Server
that is
development
part of,
session.
you can
The
check
duration
the
of
course
this course
content
is
so that
30
it will be
days.
clear.
Okay, so in this 30 days,
So
we'll
yeah,
cover
Mohan.
complete SQL
Web
Server
scraping means
database related tips only, sir.
actually we
So
have a
all the
project
recorded videos we'll send to your Google
uh,
Drive,
going
that
to
is
come.
lifetime
So
access,
we have to
and
get the
soft
data
copy of
from
material also will upload to your
different
mail
applications by
only.
using
Once
Python. So
the
is it
demo
covered
sessions,
in
3 demo
Python or
lectures over,
Django?
then you
Python
must
only,
enroll
Python
for
only.
this
There is a
course to
concept
continue
called web
this SQL
scrapping.
Server
Some tools are
lectures.
there.
Okay,
Request and
so this is from my
request
side
libraries
today.
will be there.
If you
Even
have any
Django also
questions,
we
you
can
can
use,
feel
and
free to
Python
ask
also
me
we can
now,
use. Just
so that
grab the
I'll
data and
clarify your
keep the data in
queries
required
related
format,
to
right?
database.
Yeah, yes.
Even
Yeah,
more
that's
discussion is
that
going
will
to
cover,
happen
sir.
in
No
tomorrow's
doubt at all.
session. Don't
Okay,
miss it. So
thanks.
let least continue the demo sessions. After that, you can decide, sir.
Yeah, one thing to ask you,
Now
sir.
it's your time to ask the questions.
Like, is
Please
there any
feel free
doubt
to ask
session
any
separately
questions. I'll try to
happening
give the
after the class,
answers.
or it happens during the class?
No, sir. During the class, you can see
Are
when I
the
explain
SQL
the concept and while
server
writing the script
development tool
here,
and the
and if
client
you have
tools are
any
different, sir?
questions, meanwhile, you can
Tell me.
raise the voice or
Sir, please
raise the
scroll down the
message
page,
in the
sir.
chat box so that
Last thing.
I'll quickly
Yes,
answer
sir,
that
sir.
in the
Yes.
during the session only. Or else at the
Yes,
end
sir,
of the
sir.
session
Here,
also, I'll ask any doubts
SQL Server
after ending the
2022 is
session.
an
I'll
editor
wait in
tool
the
here.
meeting 10 minutes of time so
No,
that you
it
can
is
feel free
editor
to
tool actually.
speak with me.
It
Or
is
else
a
we
software
have a
tool.
group, right?
Okay,
So
whenever
at
we
any
install
point
SQL
of
Server
time, even in
2022
the during
software,
the entire the day. So
then
if
you
you
will
have
get
any question
automatically
while
SSMS
practicing,
tool.
you can feel free to post the
Both
question
are
over
different.
there. We'll
SQL
ready to
Server
give
management,
answer
that is client tool,
with
is different,
proper
the editor tool.
screenshots and all. You can
Yeah,
also
why?
share that,
Because
no
this
problem.
is a main software. After
As long as the
installation,
course
there are
is
so many services are there.
going, so
This is our
our
main
assistant
service
will
we are
be
using.
there. Even after
SSMS is there,
completion of core,
SSIS
also
is there,
any
SSRS are there. There are
requirement is
so
there,
many
so
tools
we'll
will be
help
there
you
in tomorrow.
regarding that, undoubtedly.
Our tool is mainly
Because we have a
SSRS.
lot
The
of
reason is we are going to
group
manage
of
and access
students
the
are there
data
in
every
that
time.
group, so
Somebody they use
anybody can
SSRS,
react at
SQL
any
Server
time.
reporting service. If they want to generate
Got you, sir.
reporting
Thank you.
kind of things with your data or tables, that they can use. Integration service
Any
purpose
software
SSIS
need
is
to
there.
install?
That has different mechanism.
Obviously,
Okay,
Python
it's
software
just as
first
a
you have to
service
install,
from
then
the
after
SQL
that
Server.
some
Yes,
editors are
yes.
required. So you
Different
will come to
services
know
will provide
mostly
from SQL
tomorrow or
Server.
day after tomorrow.
Okay,
So
sir.
we'll go
This is
through
software software
Adobe.
name,
So
what need to be installed?
editor tools are compulsory
Okay, sir.
required
It's
to
a service.
write some
SSM is
script.
one of the service
So
from
whenever we
SQL
install
Server.
for
Okay.
the first time Python,
We are
so
the
default
developers.
editor will
SQL
be
Server
there,
development
like
topics we are going to
ideally.
discuss.
So
That's what
integrated
I'm using
development
this tool.
learning environment. Okay, sir.
But
Okay,
you
sir.
can go through it, or else you can go with separate editors like VS Code, Visual Studio
Sir, I
Code,
have one
or
question.
PyCharm editor. I'll
Tell.
assist you. Don't go with Visual Studio. We'll
You
go with
told that
completely
yes,
PyCharm
show me
editor
the
only in our Python development.
what are the topics covered in this session? 30 days. In 30 days is completed all the session,
So very
all
simple
the
software, lightweight
topics.
software.
Sure.
It
It's
it
enough.
takes just 2-3 minutes of time to set up
Okay.
complete Python. It's not a big deal.
Is there any real-time experience in provide after the
So
session?
that's all from my side
See,
today.
once
Thanks for
you
attending this
real-time
session,
experience means we
and
will not give
just feel
experience
free
from our
to
organization.
continue the demo
If
sessions
you have
for
any
next
career
3 to
gap, you
4.
have to
You
get
can
it
use
from
the same
outside
link at
because
same times
exclusively
morning
this is
7 a.m.
training institute.
So after demos, you
So
can
we will
decide
give
that.
you course
Okay.
completion
So have
letter
a nice time.
and complete
See you tomorrow at 7
material
a.m.
and video
I'm not
lectures.
asking
Join
like that
with the same link.
experience like that. So any project, real-time project.
Yeah,
Thank you.
obviously. That
Yeah.
means we are going to write completely coding pattern, not only theoretical explanation. We are going to
Okay.
deal with the data, with real time, how they can
Yes,
manage or
let's start
process the
today's session.
data or applying so many conditions against the table
So
information.
this
We will
is
do
your
that way
first
only.
session of
Okay.
Python full
Yeah.
stack web development. Okay. So this is Python full stack development session. So first of
Fine,
all,
sir.
in
Have a
today's
nice time.
lecture,
Thanks for
I'm
attending
going
this
to
session. Please
discuss
don't miss next 2
in
demo
Python
sessions.
full
After
stack
that, you can decide.
development
Okay.
what
So have a nice time.
subjects
See you
are going
tomorrow.
to be
You can
covered.
use the same link tomorrow
Okay.
and day after tomorrow also.
So I'll explain
Okay,
you
thank you.
clearly each and every subject
Sir,
purpose. Okay.
Yeah, proceed.
Then you
actually I
will
did
get
not get any
clarity.
link. Just
So what
again I
things are
went to
there in
the
Python full stack
whenever
development,
I
right?
registered the
Yeah.
link that
So
so I go to
first
the
of
that
all,
link
in
and
Python
join.
full stack
Is there any
development,
link?
or
Actually
if you
I
want to
registered
become a
yesterday, but
Python
I did
full
not
stack
receive
developer,
any
you must and
I
should
mean
learn one
demo link.
language.
Zoom link you have not
Okay,
received,
that
no?
is our main
No.
core language.
Okay, no problem.
So
Okay.
that
Anyway,
language name
today
is
you'll receive the
Python.
official link also, no
So this is the
problem.
main
No problem. You can
subject.
Okay.
join same
Python,
way
first
for
language.
next 2 more days also.
Next, some
Okay.
frameworks are there
Yeah.
in Python full stack development, especially to develop
Yes.
web
That's all
applications
for
or
today. See you
websites.
tomorrow.
Okay, some frameworks are there. The frameworks are nothing but like Django
Okay.
framework,
First,
REST API framework,
I'm covering this part
Flask framework.
to make
These
you
are the
understand,
frameworks.
to make you comfortable in
Along with
understanding
these
the concept
frameworks,
and
you
to
must and
perform the
should
testing.
aware
Okay.
of
So after covering this
UI
part, before jumping
basics,
into automation,
means user
first we are learning
interfaces
the Java concept.
like
Okay.
HTML
Maybe some of you already know the Java
plus
concept. Maybe
CSS
some of you are not.
plus
Okay.
JavaScript,
So it's
and then
whatever
jQuery,
maybe it's a part of
and
a
then
course. Okay.
Bootstrap.
I will be giving you the overview on each and every
Okay.
topic which is required to perform
Then
automation.
along with UI
Okay.
designing or UI
So meanwhile,
basics,
while I'm
so you
covering the
must and should
manual, you
aware
guys have to go
database
through the
knowledge. So in full
topics
stack
of the Java.
development,
Okay, just a
we are
core
going
Java
to
is
cover
enough as of now.
SQLite
Okay,
and
so you have to go through the
MySQL.
concepts. Okay, because you should
These
not
are the
waste time.
database tools.
Because while I will be taking
So
a
observe
class on the
carefully.
Java,
These
at
are
least you
the
should be knowing
main
some part of
subjects which
it,
I am going
so that
to
it will
cover
be very
in
easy
full
to
stack
catch it and
development.
understand
Okay,
better.
one language that
Okay,
is
so I
Python,
will be I'm just
and
specifying
total 3
some
frameworks:
concepts here.
Django, REST
Okay,
API,
in
Flask.
yesterday's workshop I just
These are
written
web
this.
application
So you will be
development
getting
frameworks.
all the
In the
content
web
data
application development process, you
through the
must
mail
aware
from
the
the Lucas
UI design,
Okay.
like how to prepare the web pages or websites
After
design
covering the
wise.
manual part,
Design
I'm going
purpose, we need
towards
to learn
Java.
UI
I'm
basics.
covering the required
Okay,
concept.
and
Okay.
database management
I'm
also
going
required,
through
right? In the web
all these
development process,
concepts. You know
compulsory
about the
we
basics
need
of
to
an
handle
API
with our
and
data.
some scenarios
So that
using the
database
tools to
management
perform.
purpose, we need to
And you
learn
know on
database
the
tools like
JSON part, and
SQLite
you
and
know
MySQL.
now you
So
are
total
already
these
know about
6
the Java.
subjects
So
I'm
after
going
knowing
to
all
cover
those things, then we
in
are going
Python
towards
full
a
stack
rest assured
development.
library learning. Okay,
So
so this
if
is also
you
kind of how
enroll
you
for
perform a
this Python
Selenium,
full
right?
stack
So in order
development,
to
the
perform a
course
Selenium, you
duration
use
is 4
Selenium,
months.
right? Sorry, in order to
Yes, it will
perform a
take
UI
totally
automation, you use
4 months
but here in
to
order to
complete
perform a
all
API
these
automation, we are using
6
a rest assured
subjects.
library.
That
Okay,
is a
this is also
part
Java
of
library,
Python full stack development.
and I will tell you
For
in the
suppose if you
course how we
enroll
can
only
make
for
use of it in
Python,
order to perform
that
a
means some
API
students are
automation.
looking for only Python
Okay,
programming language.
so
According
here
to their
also many
requirement, it's
concepts are
enough.
there. It's not possible
Python,
to
basic
list
Python,
out
that is
all
core
these things
Python,
here.
advanced Python,
So
both
you
are
will
there in Python language. Only
get a
Python if
course
you
detail.
enroll. So it takes
right? In
the
that, please
duration is 45 working days to 50 working days.
go through that.
Okay, that means up
All
to 2
the
months I can
details,
say that. Only Python up
yesterday,
to 2 months, like 45 working days to 50
as I
working days.
mentioned,
And full stack development of Python,
this is
that
an
means total 3 frameworks, 1 programming language, UI
official
basics, and
document of the
SQLite
rest
and
assured.
MySQL.
So I will
For
be
this,
covering,
it will take 4 months duration.
what are
Okay.
the scenarios
So
available
depends
in the
on your
official
requirement, you can
document,
choose
as
any
well
one.
as
So I can
some
give you
other
some
real-time
clarity about this.
scenarios.
Who
Okay,
should go with
so all
only
those things
Python
will be
language
covered.
and who should go with complete
Rest
Python
assured
full stack
execution on each
development.
and every like a
Suppose
concepts
your
wise.
requirement
Okay,
is
how to
after learning Python,
how to
if you want to move
get
towards
to perform the validation
data
on the
science
request, and how to
or
perform the
data
validation on the
analysis
rest of the request,
or MI,
fill
ML,
the
machine learning
response, or
or
we can
AI,
single value
in this
adding,
area,
or we can
if you are
handle the
planning to
cookies.
go
Okay,
with this
many
area
other
like
stuffs
data
are in
science,
this. Many other concepts is also
data
there.
analysis,
We'll be learning each and
AI,
every
and
concept. Okay,
ML,
like a concepts
even
wise we are executing
AWS,
here.
DevOps.
After learning
So
all these
after
things, now
learning Python, if you
by
are
having
moving
the
towards
knowledge
these
of
courses,
this,
then better
you'll
to
be
go with
creating the
only
project
Python
here.
core and advanced.
Okay, it's gonna be a
So no
Cucumber
need to
project,
learn
as Cucumber
Django,
is
REST API,
booming,
Flask, UI, and
in all
all.
the
Okay,
organization right now.
but some
So I'm
students
taking a
are
Cucumber
looking for
project here.
purely
So
Python.
here,
They don't have any plan
you
to
are
move
creating the
towards data
project
science
by
or
having a knowledge
AL,
of all
ML,
these
ML,
things.
AI, and
Then
DevOps,
you are designing
AWS,
and
like this. So
implementing
if you
the
want to become
project.
complete full stack developer of Python, so better to go with all these subjects, full stack
Gonna
development.
be
So this is just I'm
like,
giving clarity. Then you can decide
you
which you
have
want.
to
Okay. Yes. Now
learn
let's talk about
thoroughly
each
till
and every
this,
subject purpose actually. So I'm saying in full stack development, you are going to
each
learn
and
these
every
all 6
concept.
subjects, right? So each
Okay, if you
subject
stuck
purpose you
your
must aware.
every day, whatever you
So first
stuck,
subject
if you
is
stuck in something, you
Python.
have to get
So what is Python here? Okay. Yeah.
back
First
to
we'll
me, and
talk
you have
about
to
Python
resolve the
later.
doubts
I'm
before
giving just
we are jumping
brief
towards the project.
introduction
Okay,
each and
in the
every
project, I would
subject so
suggest you
that
guys
what
to.
is
I
the
mean to say, I will
purpose of
not give
subject, you
spoon
must know
feeding
that.
here. I will do
So
some part.
after
I will
that we'll begin
you
with
also
Python
have to
only.
do of your the
Because
project,
Python
as
is
usual. You know that,
mandatory
right? In the
before
if you
going
are
to
working already in
learn
the
anything
automation
in full
projects
stack
like a
development
UI
like
part,
Django, REST
you know,
API,
right?
Flask,
We
other
will
things.
implement, we
So
will
first
design, and we
45
will
days to
implement the
50 days,
project. We
we
will
have to focus
attach
on
the
only
reporting
Python.
part, and
So
we will store
first
that in a central
Python
repository
is
like a GitHub or a Bitbuckets. Other
Python is a
the tools also
programming
there, but
language.
I am taking your GitHub. Okay,
Yes,
so you will
Python is
you
a
will store
programming
your code in the
language.
central repository, and
Generally,
you will
any
integrate that
programming
with the
language, if you take, which is
CI bar
used
CD tool
to
in order to
develop
execute it.
coding
Okay,
part,
locally also you can
coding
execute,
part
but by using
for
a
the
Jenkins,
applications.
we are using a Jenkins
Yes,
here. How you can trigger the
Python is a
build, how you
programming
can
language which is
trigger your
used to
build in
develop
order to
coding part or which is
perform a
used to
scheduled
write
execution or
coding
to
part
execute in
for
the
the application
Jenkins. Okay, that part
development.
also we are seeing here. So
So
this
if
is
you want
how
to
the
develop the applications,
complete course
you
goes.
must write
You are
some
learning
logic
from
or
very
coding,
basics
right?
to
That
advanced.
coding
Okay,
we can write
this
using what
much knowledge
language?
is more
Python
than
language.
enough you to
So that's what we
get
can say it is
inside
a
the
programming language.
company and to start working with the
So
rest assured. Okay,
programming
when
part
I
is
got a many
important and logic
I
part is
will also,
important for
after each
developing any
batch
application.
finishes, even I will get a
Okay, this is the
response from
language
the
actually.
students that
So
whatever the
throughout
things we are discussed
entire
here,
full stack
and
development,
that
wherever
is
you
very
write some
useful for
logic
them to
or
crack the
wherever
interview,
you
and
write some
also to
coding
start
part,
working with it.
that
Okay,
coding
I
part
have many example
going
in
to
that
be
case.
written in Python
Yeah, this
language
much is
throughout.
enough. Anyhow, I have
So that's
designed
what
this
you must
course
aware
by
Python
considering the interview perspective
compulsory
as well.
before
And
going to
one more
start
thing, that
writing
while
coding
I'm
any
working with
framework
this,
like Django, REST API and
I
all.
will be telling you guys
So this
interview
is our
questions
main
as well,
core
and also
language.
I will get some interview
What
questions
we are going
from
to
the
learn
students
first initial
also.
days
That
of
also I will be
Python full
sharing
stack
meanwhile
development
while you are
course.
working, and I
Okay.
will also be
So once
discussing
you
on the
know
interview
about Python, once
questions
you are
while I'm
good at
working
Python,
itself,
okay,
wherever it's
so then
needed,
it's easy to develop
and
any
you have to mark it
applications
down.
by using
Okay,
these
so
frameworks.
when I'm saying that this
So
is the
next
interview question,
subject
this
is
is how
what?
they asked.
Django.
Okay, this is
What
very
is
important.
Django here?
Okay, you have to answer like
So
this, you have to
Django is not a
tell like
programming
this, you have to
language.
resolve like
Then
this.
what
Like
it
when
is?
I'm saying, you have
So I
to
can say
keep an eye on
Django
that, and you have to
is
mark it down.
a
Okay,
framework.
so this is how the course goes, guys.
Yes,
If you
Django
have
is a
any doubt, do
framework
ask me. I will give you
which
5
is
minutes.
used to
You
develop
can please make use
the
of a
web
chat, guys.
applications.
I will respond on to everyone. Please
So if
make
you
use of
want
a
to
chat.
develop web applications, then we use Django framework
And
in Python
I
full
will
stack
confirming
development.
you again. This is a
So it's not a
weekend
programming
batch. Okay,
language. It is a framework.
it's a weekend
Okay.
batch,
What is framework generally? Yes,
and
framework is nothing but it's a collection of built-in class libraries.
The course
Built-in class
timing
library
will
means
be
each class library contains some
10:32.
built-in classes like predefined classes, and each predefined class is having built-in
10:30 it will start.
functionality.
See, if you
That means
guys
already
can't,
pre-written
sit
or
complete 2.5
developed
hour, 3
code,
hour means
which is directly
according
available
anyhow you will be
to
connected
use
with
in our
me
applications.
after you enroll.
So the
We
moment
can
when we install
adjust the
Django
timing like here
framework,
and there. Okay,
so
morning
it offers
1.5
lot
hour,
of
evening
libraries,
1.5 hour,
especially
according to
which are
you guys
required to
convenient and
develop
according
web
to my
applications.
convenience we can
Those
adjust the timing.
libraries can
Okay,
be
but
used
it's a
to
weekend
develop
batch.
web applications at
Minimum
faster rate.
Saturday
That
and
means
Sunday, minimum
if they
2.5
have
to 3 hours it will be.
built-in libraries
Okay,
or predefined libraries,
and you will be having a
using that
time
built-in
till
libraries,
the
we can
next
quickly
weekend.
develop the web
So
applications, right?
within that,
We don't need to
please
waste the time.
enroll. Okay, tomorrow
Because
I
from
will
the
start
scratch, we
with
need not to write any logic.
some basics.
Only
Okay, I will start with some
we
basics
can use
tomorrow.
the libraries
Today
which are provided
actually I
by
traveled.
Django.
Okay, I
So
traveled
it's
from
a
Bangalore
framework.
to my
Framework
hometown.
means it's
I was
having
not knowing that it's at
set of
10:30. I
rules
thought
and
it's at 10:30.
specifications.
Okay, they started by
Okay,
10.
it's
Okay,
having sort
I
lot of
just
libraries. By
reached my
following
home.
that rules and specifications, we
I
have
will
to
start
develop some
some basics
applications.
of
So
API
Django is
tomorrow.
not a programming
But today,
language.
if you have any doubts
Django
with
is a
respect to
framework
this,
which is
please
used
do
to
ask
develop
me.
web applications.
Please
Web
ask in the
application
chat. I
means
will
what?
respond to everyone.
Please mute your audio. Yeah. Web application means what? The application
Okay.
which will provide
Duration of the
services over
course.
the web
Yeah.
is called web
Yes.
application.
See,
right?
duration of the course, it's going to be a
application
45 days. Okay. I'm just
which
giving
will
some
provide
within the 45 days
which
also
will
we can
provide
complete if you guys also
the
supporting.
services
If you guys are
over
not
the
missing the session,
web
and if you are
is
also
called web
if there is no
applications.
any
Simple.
holidays in between. Okay. We
Application
can
which will
cover
provide the
as much as
services
possible
over the
early,
web
but I'm
is
just
called
giving you
web
span of
application.
45 days.
Okay,
Maybe it will
fine.
comes around
But I'm saying that
7
Django is
weeks
a
to 8
framework,
weeks.
and
Okay, so it's
Django
span
is
of
a
2 months.
Python-based framework. Django
What
is
about we don't have
Python-based
experience, ma'am? Yes, not required.
web
Okay,
development
if you don't have
framework.
experience, also not required. You
It's
are learning
completely
from scratch.
Python-based web development
Hi, good
framework.
morning.
So
Okay,
that means Django framework completely written in Python
because only
language
one
only.
student has got
Okay,
experience in
Django
testing.
framework
Because only one. I didn't get you,
written
Sam.
in
How many weekends? Yeah, I already
written in
confirmed you, right?
Python
Weekends. What is that, Sam?
So
Because
ultimately,
only
I
one
can
student
say
has got
to
experience in
start
testing.
learning
What
of
does it mean?
Django, especially
I
to
didn't
develop web
get you.
applications,
Could you
first of
please
all,
elaborate?
you must have the knowledge of
Because
Python. So Django prerequisite
okay.
subject is
Mm-hmm.
Python. If you know
So
the
I mean
Python
that
knowledge,
see,
then easily we can
not
implement
entire
web
course.
applications using
Okay.
Django
For
framework.
example, if I am
Why
if I'm
Django need
if I'm
Python means because
if I'm
Django is
executed post
completely
request.
written in
Okay.
Python
Next
language
time
only.
I will
How
be
they
giving you one
developed
post
Django
request to
framework by
execute. By the
writing
time I will
Python
not
script.
execute. You have to execute
So that's the reason we can
because I
say
already showed
Django
you
is a
one example.
Python-based web development framework. It's completely
So
Python
like that, it's
frameworks.
going to be kind of
And Django can understand
yes,
the
in school
instructions
days and all you
from
followed,
Python
right?
only.
Teacher has
So you
explained
can't
one
send
thing
any
and they will give
instructions
you
from
kind of
different
assignment
language
to
like Java or
practice.
C
Yeah, that
language.
it's
So
going to be
Python
like that.
instructions
Okay.
only can understand by Django, so it is easy to implement web applications by writing
Okay.
code in Python language. So to learn Django, Python is mandated. To learn Python,
See,
nothing
this
is
course
mandated
is like
because Python is
if you don't
a
have
basic
experience
programming
also fine.
language.
Okay.
To learn this
Anyhow, from
basic
basics,
language, no any basic language is
I'm
required.
starting.
Like
Anyhow,
C,
some of
C++,
my folks are here.
not at
My
all.
students are
Because
here.
itself,
They know
Python
how
itself, it
how
is
the
a
course
basic
goes.
language, right?
Okay.
You
You
can
can
learn
take a
from
help
scratch.
of their feedback as
Okay.
well.
And
If you
also you
need.
will get the
Okay.
knowledge in the basic level and intermediate level and advanced level once you complete your Python course here. So I'll teach from the scratch, no need to worry. So if some students feel that I don't have any programming knowledge, then is that possible to
Okay.
learn Python? Undoubtedly, it's possible to learn Python. Python, no prerequisite languages. Okay, directly you can start learn with Python only. And Django, before going to Django, you must have the Python knowledge. Okay, otherwise you can't. So this is about Django subject purpose. Okay, it is purpose is what? To develop web applications. What type of framework it is? Python framework. Why it
Are
is
you
Python
asking
framework?
anything?
Because it's written in completely Python language, right? Fine.
Good morning.
Next, I'm trying to discuss about
Yeah.
a third subject, which is also very, very important in real
Is the
time.
same? Srinu
That
and
is
Srinivas
REST
is same?
API. This is our third
No,
subject, which I'm going to cover in our full stack
Okay.
development course. REST API. See, sir, whatever the order I have written here, same order I'm going to cover all
Good
these
morning.
subjects,
Good morning.
but except UI and
What is
SQLite,
REST
because
Assured?
these two under comes
See,
into
REST
Django,
Assured is a
REST API
Java-based
and Flask
library.
with these
Okay.
frameworks
Are you
only in the middle.
experienced or you are
So
fresher?
let's talk about REST API. Sir,
First
we know
means
how to develop
BTech
Django
only,
web
ma'am, but
application
gap
by
is there.
using Python. We are ready with
Fresher,
web
You,
application,
no
right?
you are
experience.
working now?
Then
No
why
experience.
REST API
Non-technical,
again?
non-technical.
Do,
It's
do
very
you have
important
experience
in real
with
time.
Selenium?
What is the
No,
REST
ma'am,
API purpose?
non-technical.
I'll tell you that. So
You are still
here, first
in
of
the
all,
non-technical background only?
REST API is one of the framework.
Okay.
Let's talk
So
about
at this
this.
time, how we
REST
can
API
explain?
is a
Okay.
framework.
See, for example,
It is also
REST Assured
completely
means it's a
Python
Java-based library.
based
Okay.
framework.
So, okay, you will
REST API is
understand
a
better
framework.
when I'm starting with the basics. Okay. But as of
Purpose
now,
of the REST
I will tell
API
you.
is which
See,
is used to
we do have to automate the
develop,
services, right? So for that,
which
we are
is
using
used to
these
develop
libraries
the
to help,
APIs,
to take a help of
APIs
their classes and
for web
interfaces available in
applications.
it to automate the
APIs for
APIs.
web
Okay.
application.
I don't know how much you
In REST
understand
API,
right now, but after starting
REST
with,
API,
after you knowing on the
REST
basics
means
and after you are going through the course, you will
REST means
understand better. Okay.
representational
So we will use like for the UI
state
automation, we use a
transfer
Selenium to automate it,
in
right?
REST API.
UI
Okay.
application, the similar
In
way,
REST
in order to
API,
automate the backend APIs, we are using
API
this REST
means
Assured. Okay.
REST
Since you
means
are
what?
from non-IT background,
REST
I don't know
means
how much you understand right
representational
now.
state transfer.
By going forward
In
with the
REST
course, if you are
API,
interested to jump to IT,
API
or if
means
you are interested with a course to learn,
application,
you can take it and you will understand better
application
after knowing the basics more. Okay.
programming interface. Application programming interface. So REST means representational state transfer. API means application
It's not
programming
a Spring
interface.
Boot, Sam.
REST is
Okay.
an architecture
It's the
or
course is
design
on
pattern.
API testing.
Simple. The
Okay.
APIs which is
First,
going to
you decide your
design
goal.
based
You want to
on
go
REST
towards the
architecture is
development
called
or you
REST
want to go
API.
towards the testing.
So what
Because
is
since
the
you
use
are
of
also working
API,
in
sir?
non-IT background,
Because
as
I'm
you
saying that
mentioned,
REST API
but
is used to
yeah,
develop
by looking
APIs,
your
application programming
text,
interface
I
for
could
web
see, okay, you got
applications.
some
So why REST API
ideas.
means
Okay.
actually API
But
is
yes, okay,
a
since you are
software tool.
trying to switch from
API is a
non-IT to
software
IT,
tool
first you have to
which
decide you are
enables which
what
enable
exactly you want. Means you want
the
to go
web
towards
application,
development or you want to go towards
which enable the web
testing. Okay.
application
If you are
to
going towards the
communicate,
testing and you want to learn the testing
to
technologies, okay,
communicate
this is also
with
the
other
in
applications,
course which
with
talks about
communicate
testing
with
of a backend
other
service.
application.
Okay.
Yes,
Not a
this is
UI.
very
UI
important
means
in
you have
real
to
time,
join
right?
Selenium.
For example,
If you want to
you
API
are
side,
going to
backend
deal
side,
with
okay,
many web
you have to
applications
join
in
this
real
course.
time. For example,
If you want to go towards the
consider a
testing and if you want to
flipkart.com
learn more
website
on
is there.
testing, you have
In
to
the
join this course.
flipkart.com
Okay.
website, what we can do generally, we can select the product
Yes,
and we can
Sonali.
click on
Yes, it's
buy
from
now.
scratch only.
After that, the Flipkart
Yes,
website
it's CLUD operation we are
can
performing. Okay.
communicate with the banking application
Complete
for making payments,
end-to-end
right?
operation we are
Here,
performing.
what's going to happen for doing transaction over the
Ma'am, front end
Flipkart
means
website? So
just
the
like Angular, React,
Flipkart
like that,
web
madam.
application should
Yes,
communicate
yes,
with
yeah.
banking web
Selenium,
application,
Front end
right? Here,
application.
two
Selenium is like
applications
that
are
EA
communicating
related.
or talking
No,
with each other by sending
means
request and response
content
for
only
making
displaying like
transaction
that. Huh?
successful. So that communication who is going to provide means
Okay.
exactly
Like that
API,
See,
API.
okay. For
application
example,
programming interface. Here, two or more application can
No, ma'am,
communicate
I
with
understood,
each other.
ma'am. Just I
That
have the
purpose
doubt
API
because what are
software
the
is
front end
required. It's a
means
software tool
Angular,
we
React
have
like
to
that.
design
Selenium, when you use
for our
Selenium,
web
you can
application.
display the front
Yes,
end that
Python
display
with
what is the
Django through, we are
client
going to develop
means
web
user
applications.
expected all
Once
the
our
things
web
like that.
application is ready,
Is correct,
yes,
and
madam.
to
see,
provide
yeah, for
more
example,
But
services
when using
for
API
the
testing,
customers,
instead of front end, you are
our web
interacting with
application
DB
need
like
to be
that, madam.
interact with other application for
yes,
making
yes, listen.
transactions. So for
Okay,
that we
front
need
end
to
means
generate
yes, as you
API
understood.
as a
Okay,
web developer
those are the
responsibility.
technologies like
So
a
API
Angular.
generate
First, it starts
purpose,
from the
we need to
basics.
use
Okay,
another framework called REST
HTML,
API.
CSS. Have you heard that?
So the
Well, in your
API is a
courses,
Yes,
software
ma'am.
tool
HTML, CSS, okay,
which
Angular,
enables
okay, React
the
also
web
is used for the
application to
front end
communicate with
technologies.
other
Okay,
application. It's
so by
mandatory.
using those technologies, for
And
example,
the API
okay,
which
you
is
will
used
open
to
your
generate
phone pay
or
application,
design
right?
by using
Correct?
An
Okay, so
architecture
what is
called
that?
REST
That is the
architecture
user experience,
is
right?
called
Means
REST
user
API.
interface. You
In
will
any
open
full
that.
stack
They will be
development,
having
not
many
only here
options like a
Python full stack
contacts,
development,
you
even in
know,
Java
bank
full stack
account,
development,
pay
.NET
through
full stack
UPI, okay,
development,
pay now,
APIs are very
and
common.
a few other options
Here
also,
we are using a
recharge,
name of subject
loans,
like REST API.
insurance. So
Java
those are
people
all
they
the
use RESTful APIs.
you know,
.NET people
features
they use
inside the
web API.
application.
So
Okay,
simple.
so as a
So
user,
this
you are
is
the
another
user of a
subject
phone
we are
pay.
going to learn,
Okay,
a REST
so being a
API for
user,
generating
you
APIs for web
just, you know,
application.
experiencing that UI.
And when
Okay, that is a
we
UI
should learn
interface.
REST API
Okay,
after
so
completion
that
of
is of a,
Django only.
you know,
So to
development
learn
part.
REST API,
Okay,
what are the
being a
prerequisite
user, by
subject?
using your
Django
hand,
and
you
as
how
well
you
as
will perform
Python.
the
Both are
testing. Okay,
required.
you will open the phone pay application, you will
How
click
I
on that
said, to
option,
learn
and
Django,
whatever
Python
the
is mandatory
you know,
before
scenarios are
going
there,
to
you will perform by
starts with
using your
Django. Means
hands, you can say.
Python
Okay,
is mandatory.
but now the
So to
scenario
learn
is
REST
you
API,
don't
what
want
is
to do that
required? Django
with
as
the
well
help
as
of,
Python.
you
Both
know,
are required because
you know, with the
even
help
though
of
we are
that,
using
you have
REST
to achieve
architecture
that
to
with
generate
the help
APIs,
of a tool.
complete logic
Okay,
part we are
that
going
is
to
where
write
the
using
Selenium
Python
comes into
language only.
picture. You will
So
write the
Python is
script
mandatory.
there,
Everywhere we are
and you
going
will
to use
run the
in full
script.
stack
That script
development.
will
Whenever you
automatically
write logic
open the
part, that
application,
logic part should be
and
written in
it will
Python only.
perform the task as
So
we
REST
written
API
the
need
script, whatever the
two
scenario we have
prerequisite
written.
subjects
That is
like
nothing but
Django
UI
and Python.
automation.
Next,
Okay,
other framework
yeah,
is there.
UI
This is
development
Flask.
means
So
using
it
this
is
whatever the language you
a
said, right?
completely
That they are
different
developing.
framework here.
Okay,
So
but
it is also Python-based
with respect to
framework.
tester, UI
So to
automation means
learn
using
Flask,
these tools, we are automating
Django
it.
is not at
Backend
all
means,
required.
yes,
REST API not
okay,
required.
you are
Directly you
entering
can
your
start
details.
learn
Okay,
Flask with
for
only
example,
Python knowledge.
1,000 rupees there in
So
your
Python
account.
is enough
You are done
to
some
learn Flask.
transaction.
What is Flask
Okay,
framework? It is.
and how much
So Flask
you
is a
know, 500
framework.
rupees transaction you are done. Then what
Flask
is
is a
the account
framework
balance in your
which
account
is
right now?
Flask is a framework
500.
which is used
500,
to
right?
develop
Okay, so now after
a
doing a
single page
transaction, when
web
you're fetching your
applications.
details,
Yes,
it is coming as a
single page
500.
web
Okay, so
applications.
okay, now it's coming as a 500
So
updated
as I
value,
said,
but what
Django is a
happened in the
framework
back
which is
end?
used to
Okay,
develop
in the
web
back end there
applications.
are some codes.
But what is
Okay,
the
so that
difference
has to
between Flask and
process, and your
Django means
data has to
Django
store
through we
some,
can
you know, it has
develop
to
medium
store
scale
somewhere.
and
Okay,
maximum scale
maybe as you
applications.
said, okay, in DB and all
Okay,
your data
but
will be
using
stored,
Flask
right?
we can't develop medium
Correct.
scale
Okay,
and maximum
so
scale
in between
applications.
that there are some
Mostly using
logics we have
Flask we
written.
can develop
Okay,
what
it's kind of a three-tier
single
layer
page
it
web
will work,
applications
like
only.
a
Single
front
page
end
web
layer
application means
and a mid
like
layer and
dashboard
a
applications
database
or
layer. Okay, what is that
microservice
mid layer?
programming
Many
purpose we
APIs
use
we will
Flask.
be, you know,
Flask is a
we will be
framework which is
calling
used to
to
develop
interact
single
with the
page web
DB2
applications,
front end.
and Flask
Okay,
is a
in between the services,
Python
many
based
services will be
micro
calling. So
framework.
we need to validate how the services are working.
Flask is
Okay, where it
a
comes to
Python
API
based
part. Okay,
micro
so all those things I
framework.
will explain. Don't worry, guys. Okay, so this is how the
Micro
three-tier
framework
architecture works. Okay,
which can
so
be
everything I will
Ma'am,
explain from
used
final
basics.
conclusion, ma'am.
to
API
write
testing means you are communicating to middle layer to
microservices
DB now, madam.
programming.
Finally.
Yes, yes, yeah.
Microservices
Okay.
programming also.
See, for example,
So this is Flask. To learn
application to
Flask,
application.
only
For
Python
example,
is
you see,
required, not
there are many things are
anything
there in that.
required.
Okay,
So it's a small
okay, you
Flask
have a
framework. So instant
okay, Amazon, you can say.
service
You
usage
have a
purpose, we
Amazon.
can write Flask script
Okay, Amazon
and it can be
application.
helped
That
to
is one
develop
application.
applications
So what
clearly.
is PhonePe? Is that
So
an
in our
application or what?
syllabus, Flask is
Yes, ma'am.
also one of the
Application, that
framework
one also.
which is
Okay.
going to be deal a small
Then
scale
in the
application
Amazon,
development. This is also used to
you have
design
a
web
okay,
applications.
pay now
Okay,
option. So
right.
when you click
So
on the pay
total
now
three
option,
frameworks are there.
okay,
One is
what
the
and all
Flask
the
framework
you know
and the
details
REST
you will
API
get.
and then Django. Three
Are you
frameworks
taking to
and
any
one
payment
language,
portal and all?
programming language. And strictly remember that these three frameworks,
When you're
especially
clicking on the pay now
Django, REST
option
API, Flask frameworks,
in the
are
Amazon,
completely written in Python.
They are
So
asking UA
Python
payment
based
or a
frameworks.
bank payment or credit card or
So
a
if you
debit card.
write Django, REST API,
yeah,
Flask,
okay. So many things.
logics,
Okay, for
that should be
example, they
in a
will ask,
form
you
of
know,
Python only.
they will
So that's
redirect
what
you to the
Python
phone
is
pay, and they
mandatory
also want,
language
if
to
you want,
learn these
they will
frameworks.
redirect you to the Google
Okay,
Pay
fine.
or Paytm
So
or through
let's
the UPI
talk
or
about
through the
UI
debit
and
card, credit card. All
SQLite.
those
In
options
what
you will get,
context do
right?
we use this?
Yes,
But
ma'am.
before going to
Okay.
talk
So
about
suppose
this,
you clicked on
let's
the PhonePe
discuss
redirection.
in Python
Okay.
full
So
stack
now
development, especially,
Amazon is
we
interacting with
need
the
to
PhonePe or
focus
not?
on front-end development and back-end development.
Correct.
Front-end and back-end. Yes.
Amazon is
So in front-end
Amazon is
development, what
Amazon
things
is
under
interacting with
comes?
the
Like,
PhonePe
for
or not?
example, here front-end means first time when we open any web page or
Okay,
website.
how it will
So
interact.
what we are going to
Say for
see on
example,
the
my
screen,
Amazon is
that is called front end, right? Front
my
end
Amazon,
development.
maybe they have used
So the front end development
Java
purpose,
language
we need to
to
focus completely
implement it,
on
and my
UI.
phone page maybe it's a Python language.
So
Okay,
this is
how
UI.
it will communicate?
UI means user interfaces. UI means what? User interface.
Okay.
So
According
user
to
interface
Santoshini,
means
it's
what we are
services.
going
What
to
about
present,
according to
like
San?
login
Is that
form, registration page, change password form. This
Srinivas?
type of UI design we need to represent
Yes,
to the
ma'am.
customers, right?
Yeah, how
So
it will
that's is
interact
UI
from
basics. It
Amazon
is
to
only for
PhonePe?
designing, which is comes into front
Based
end
on request,
development.
ma'am.
So in the UI basics, I'm going to
Okay.
cover HTML.
Okay,
First,
based on
to
request.
create
Okay,
web pages.
so what we are calling in
And do you want to
between
add
that
some
services?
styling to the web pages, CSS,
What you are
cascading
calling, that
style
one
sheets.
reach that
And then if you
server,
want to make
they
some
will open
functionality
the
like validations
based on
purpose,
request,
we need to use
give the response
JavaScript.
to different another
So
page, ma'am.
HTML, CSS, JavaScript are the basic UI
Okay,
technologies.
okay.
It's
Okay,
mandatory
okay.
for
So
every
this is
web
all the
development
scenarios
process.
where we are
When
using
it
the
comes to
APIs
jQuery
predominantly.
Bootstrap,
Okay,
jQuery is the
so in order to
extension of
communicate from one
JavaScript. It is
application
an
to another application.
other
Okay,
framework.
see for example.
So Bootstrap is the
Amazon
combination of
has maybe
CSS and
built in the, for
JavaScript.
example, I'm
So
speaking in
mostly we
English and
will
you are also
prefer
speaking
to
in
use
English. We can communicate,
Bootstrap for
without any
bringing look
interruption.
and
By
feel
any chance, if I'm speaking in Kannada,
better
if you are
when
speaking in
compared to
Telugu,
normal
is it
plain
possible to
HTML and
communicate? No,
CSS
right?
styling.
So that's the way.
Because
Amazon is
nowadays
maybe built
Bootstrap
in
will
Java
play the
language.
major role
PhonePe is
in
maybe
web
Python
development
language.
design.
I
So
want to do
it's
some
bring
transactions
look
through
and
the
feel
PhonePe
more
because
for
my
our
account
web
is there in the
application or
PhonePe.
for our
So
UI
who is
user
there to
interface.
middle to
Okay, this is the main.
to have a seamless
So
communication?
React.js will
So
not
for
be included here.
that also
It's
we need
not
a
required
services.
because what
Okay,
we are
in
going to
that
do
case also
React.js,
how it is
we are
useful,
going to
the
do with the
APIs how we
Django
are
itself
using
only.
there,
That's what
how the
it is
data
not
being
part of our
transferred to that
curriculum.
one service to another service, how we are
So
getting the
Bootstrap,
response back. Okay,
jQuery,
so
all
those
these
things also we
basics
need
will
to
be covered
understand.
in
So not only in this
Django time
scenario,
only. At
APIs
the
are
time of
used in many
Django
other
development,
scenarios in real time.
okay, so we'll be
Maybe
covered that
once
all
we are
UI
starting with the
because you
actual
have to deal
sessions
with the
from tomorrow,
complete
we'll
front end
discuss more
development
on it.
like UI design, everything
Okay.
is there.
API, they're
So
supporting
this is the
different
part of
languages,
front
ma'am.
end. And back end is having three
Sorry,
subcomponents.
API?
Okay,
API,
back end
you
is
telling
having
that
three
two
subcomponents
different
actually.
applications means
So what are
Java,
that? In
Python.
the back end
They're
development, what
communicating
are
to
the
each other with
required?
the help
First
of
thing is
API, ma'am.
the programming language. It's
Yeah,
compulsory.
I'm
In the
not
back
saying
end
like
programming
if
language,
there is a
that
two
means
different
logic must and should be
application.
right, right?
Okay,
The
so in
programming
between
language, what
that
is that?
we are calling
Python.
the services to have a
Next, the
communication
frameworks.
between two
Yes,
application.
in the
Okay, for
back end
example,
development,
since they both
compulsory
are designed
frameworks
in a
also
different
required.
language,
So
okay,
frameworks means
maybe they will
it's
not
having
understand. For
set of
example, if I'm speaking in my
rules
own
and
native language, do you
specifications you
understand
have to
it? No,
follow
right?
while developing
Yes,
the
ma'am,
web
exactly.
If you
applications
speak in
in
your
Python
native
full stack
language, do I
development.
understand?
So
No,
what
right?
are the frameworks we are going to
So as
cover?
a
Django
mediator here,
framework,
what we are using to
REST
communicate?
API framework,
One broker is there.
and then Flask
Yeah,
framework.
who
These
is
are the
that now
frameworks.
in between us now?
Next, the database. Yes,
There
three
one human is there.
compulsory.
Here
The
API
database.
testing.
Okay, so
So
here in
database
between us,
purpose, we are
English we are
having the
using as
tools
a
like SQLite 3
mediator
and
to have a
MySQL.
seamless communication,
These are
correct?
SQLite 3
Yes, ma'am.
is a built-in
Yeah, so similar
database
way in
integration
the application
with
level
Django
also
framework.
we
For
need
the first
someone.
time,
Okay, for that
when
we
we
are calling
create
the service
Django
layer to
application
have a
or
seamless
Django web
communication.
application,
Okay,
Django project, that
so
project
maybe
is
other people are not
associated with
understanding
inbuilt
more.
SQLite 3
Okay, don't worry
settings.
guys. Okay, this
So
is all comes
maximum
with the APIs. I
operations
will explain all these basics. I will
with
explain the
database we can
once
do
I
with
start with the actual
SQLite 3, and
sessions.
also we are going to cover
Okay,
MySQL because
but
most of the
yeah, this
cases
is all
in
the
Python
basics.
or Django applications in real time, MySQL is preferred database. It doesn't make sense using
What is
Python
that?
font to be communicate with other databases like MongoDB, okay, MS SQL, Oracle. Yes, it's possible, but majority of the cases in Python development as well as Django web
You're asking
development,
integration
MySQL is
testing?
the preferred database, or else SQLite 3 is the integration.
Again,
This is
Sonali, it's
pre-integrated, already integrated with Django framework. Okay, no need to install explicitly. But it's a combination actually.
Okay,
But
guys, let's
suppose
get started
.NET
without any
full
further ado.
stack developer,
Let me
how they
record
use
this
MS
session
SQL,
as
right?
well.
Microsoft SQL Server. It's a product of Microsoft.
Oh, 1 second.
Similarly, Java programmer, Java full stack developer, how they use like Oracle. So same in Python full stack development, we prefer to use MySQL. You can configure with any database, it's not a problem. Database main purpose is what? How to deal with your customer data how to store the data and manipulate or retrieve something, access data like that. Database operations we can do in these tools. So backend development need three things.
I hope you can hear me now,
In the
guys.
backend,
So
while
in today's class, we're
working
going to
in
be
the
continuing
application,
exactly from where we
behind the
left off in
scenes,
the
what
last
is
session,
required?
guys. We're going to talk
Python
about
language is
networking
required because
fundamentals
we have to
and
write
specifically
complete
about
logic
these
part with
classes.
Python.
What is class A? What is
Frameworks are
class
required.
B?
We are
What is
going to
class C?
design and develop our
And
websites
DNS.
or web
Okay, we've
application
covered
by
up all
following
these
this framework
public
set
and
of
private
rules and
IPs, the
specifications.
entire range of
And
IPs, and
database
the
is
sequencing
required
of IPs. This is
to
all that we
store a
covered in the
customer
last session.
data that
Just
is
in
in
case if you
MySQL or
haven't
SQL
joined that
entry.
session, guys, these
So
sessions
these
have been
three
recorded. And you will be
language
getting the
frameworks
recordings. And if you're from
databases
Durga
are
Soft,
behind the
you can
scenes
get
it
it
works.
online as
That
well.
means we
Okay.
can say backend
Now,
development
in
process.
today's class, we're going to discuss
See, for
about
the
these
first time when we open any website, we are
other
going to
concepts
see
called
on the screen right
classes.
what? Presentation
So each
layer,
of these
right?
class has its own
Presentation
specific
layer means
range, guys,
UI,
fixed by
user
the people who
interface.
invented IP addresses
But
itself.
user interface
And
will
these
provide
ranges are
us some
constant. They will
registration
never
page
change
like
with the rest of
labels,
the time.
text boxes,
Okay. And
buttons.
it's important to remember
Okay,
these
you are going
ranges.
to interact
There's an
as a
easy way to
customer with
remember
that
it. You only have
forms.
to remember
So, but
4
behind the
numbers.
scenes,
Okay.
what's going to
Class
happen?
A
Actions will be
starts at the
performed,
first
right?
IP,
So that
0000,
actions and everything
and
will be
class
managed.
E ends at the last IP,
These three only,
255,
language
255,
and frameworks
255,
and
255. That's a given.
databases. It will not
Now, what you have
appear
to remember here
to
is
the
class A
customer.
starts at 0 and
Customer
goes
can
all the
only
way
see
up to
in the front
127,
end like UI only.
255,
So
255,
in
255.
Python full
And
stack
since it's ending in
development, so
127,
you
class
must
B
involved
starts
in
at
two ways
128.
like front end and
On the
back.
left side, you have all
So
zeros
the
in the
person
ending
who
of this.
can easily
On the right
handle
side, you have all 255s.
both
Okay.
front end
So class B
development and
starts at
back end
128,000
development things,
and goes
then
up to
that person is said to
191,
be full
255,
stack
255,
developer.
255.
Okay.
And
Or
since
else
it's
the
ending in
person who
191,
can
class
handle
C
with
starts at
only
192.
front end,
From
but they don't know about
192,000, it goes all the way
language
up
and
to
frameworks
223,
and database
255,
management.
255.
So this is UI
Since it's
developer,
ending at
user
223, class
interface.
D starts at
Or the
224.
person who
From
is
224, it goes all
having
the way up to
only
239,
Python,
255,
so they
255,
cannot
255.
handle with
And
frameworks
since it's
and
ending at
databases
239,
and
class E
UI.
starts at
So they can
240.
only
Okay.
involve
And from 240, it goes up
writing
to the
the
last
logic
number,
with
255,
Python. So
255,
exclusive Python
255,
developer
255.
like this.
So the
But
only
if you
4
know
numbers you have to remember
how
here
to
are
manage
127,
UI,
191,
programming
223, and
and
250.
frameworks
From
and
these numbers,
database,
you
everything,
automatically get the
so
range
you
of the
will
next
be
class.
considered
Class
as
A
a
0 to
full
127, class
stack
B
developer like that
128 to
only.
191,
So
class C
nowadays
192 to
full stack
223,
developers
class
are
D
having
224
huge
to
demand in the
239, and
market.
class E 242
So
to
the
255.
better
Now
to
this is
go
the
with full
entire
stack
class
development
D,
process. If you
Now in
don't
each of
have
these classes, we have some
any
public
other
IPs
course,
and
you
some
are not
private
looking
IPs,
like
as discussed in
DevOps,
the last session.
AWS, AI,
Okay.
and
So
ML,
between
as I
class
said in
A0
the
and
beginning session of
127,
this
there's a
today.
small private IP range
See,
from
Python,
10,000
only Python
to
who
10,
needs means
255, 255, 255.
if you
Any
want
IP
to
within
go
this
with
range is a
furtherly,
private
like
IP,
after learning
and
Python,
any
Python
IP
with the data
outside
science,
this range is a public
Python with
IP by
data
default.
analysis,
Similarly,
Python
in
with
class
AI
B
and
as well,
ML,
between
so
128
AWS
and
and DevOps,
191,
testing,
there's a small
networking.
range,
If you want to go
172,
with this side,
1600
that
to
all
172,
tools are
31,
required
255, 255.
Python script, then
Any
you
IP
can go
within
with
this
only
is a
Python.
private IP,
Other
and
than
any
that,
IP
you
outside
can
this range is
focus
a
on full
public
stack
IP
development.
again.
Full stack
And
means one
similarly,
language,
in class C as
total
well,
3
between
frameworks, Django,
192
REST
and
API,
223,
Flask, and
any IP from
knowledge of
192,
UI,
16800
user
to
interface,
192,
and knowledge
160,
of
255,
MySQL and
255 is a
SQL
private.
entry. So this is
Any
about
IP
our
within this range is
subjects,
a private IP,
which I'm going to
and any
deal
IP outside that
in
range
our
is a
upcoming
public
sessions.
IP again.
So
Okay. Class B
after
and Class E are
completion of this
exceptions. They
demo
don't have any
session,
private
our
IPs.
team will
All of
communicate
them are public
with
IPs
you
itself.
through mail, so that
So
they'll send
again, to
complete
elaborate a
content,
bit
the
more
syllabus
further on this, if we
content.
take
You
the
can
example
observe
of
once
any
what I'm
class
going
here,
to cover.
let's say class E.
So
So
all
from
the subject related
0000
content,
all the way up to
and they'll also
127, 255,
send
255,
the
255. That's
today's
the
recording
class A
demo
range.
link also.
That's the entire
So
range consisting
totally
of both public
4 to
and
5
private
demos
IPs.
will be
Okay.
there.
Now
So
in that
from today
entire range,
onwards,
there's a small
so
private
feel
IP
free to
range
attend
from
and
10,000
regularly the
to
demos.
10,255
After the
to
demo
255.
completion only, you can
So
decide
any
that
IP within this
whether you
range is a
want to go
private
with this
IP,
course or
something
not.
which you
Okay,
can
that's
use in
feel
your
free to
local
take the
networks, in
decision.
your
It's
home
not a
network,
matter.
in your local
So
organization
because of
network,
the thing
etc.,
is
etc.
you have to learn
But
comfortably,
when you
right?
want to
So
communicate
wherever
with
you
the
comfort,
internet,
you
you
can
need a
go with
public
that.
IP for that.
But you
So
have
any
to
IP
learn properly.
outside the
That is our
private
main
IP is
intention.
a public IP.
And
So from
every
0
session is
all the way
going to
up
be
to 10, which
recorded.
is
The recorded video I'll
9255255
upload to your
and
Google
after
Drive
10 from
once the session is
11000
over.
to 127,
And the
that's the
sessions
other
will
public
be
IP set.
from
So
Monday
in
to
each class, in
Saturday.
a similar fashion,
The
you have one
Sunday
private
no
IP set
session.
this way and two
So,
public
and
IP sets.
each and
Okay, one
every
on each side.
subject, look at
Okay.
this,
So
a
this is the
Python,
same
right?
scenario
First
in each of
subject.
these classes, A,
And then
B, and
Django,
C.
REST API.
In
Each and
class D
every
and class E,
subject,
the entire range
the
is
PDF
public IP
material
set.
will be
There are
handed
no
over
private
to you.
IPs in class
Once
D
your
and class C.
enrollment process is over,
Might seem a bit
so
tough,
each and
guys, but
every
it's important to
subject
remember these ranges. Because in the upcoming
uh,
sessions, when we go through
material,
laws,
I'll
you'll
send to your
notice a lot
mail.
of IP addresses
So
mentioned there. So as
material
soon
will
as you
be
look
there,
at an
that is
IP, you have to
PDF,
figure out
and
which IP is
recorded
the
videos
public and
will
which
be
IP is
there.
private. From that, you can figure out where
Like
the
the
attack is
recorded videos will
initiated
be
from.
once I
If it's a
send or
private
shared
IP,
the
it means the
folder, that is
attacker is in
lifetime
your own local
access,
network.
like
He's in the same
Python
network as
related
you.
videos
If
and
it's a
Django
public
related
IP, it
videos.
means the
Every
attacker is from
subject
the
clear
internet. He's
videos
not in the same
are
network.
there. Okay.
The attack is
So
coming
let's see this
externally from the
material. You will
internet.
be able to
Okay.
get like
So it's
that
important
is
to
core
remember these
Python,
ranges
basic
to
Python,
distinguish, okay, which is
advanced
public and which
Python,
is private IP.
and
Okay.
Django,
Now,
Flask,
let's talk about
REST
the
API.
relevance of these
In the
classes.
Django
A very
folder
commonly
only,
asked
the
question
UI
among
basics
students
and
is,
database
why
things will
5
be there
separate
in this
classes?
folder
Why not
only.
just one class
So
with some
total
public and
each and
private
every
IPs?
subject's PDF
No,
will be
there's a
sent
reason for it,
along
guys.
with recorded
Each
video here
class
only.
has a unique
Okay.
number of
So this
network
is
and
which
host
I covered
portions.
basic things
Class
today.
A has
Python full stack
one network
development,
portion
what is Python,
and 3 host portions.
and Django,
Class
REST
B, on the
API,
other hand,
Flask, and
has
UI
2
and
network
SQLite.
portions
Just
and 2
basic
host
information
portions.
I have
Class C
given
has 3
today now.
network portions and
But
1
from
host
tomorrow
portion.
onwards, what
Class
is
D and
our
Class C
action
have
plan
all
means?
network
I'll
portions
focus
itself. There are
completely
no
on
host
Python
portions in
only,
it.
sir. For
So as
first
you're going down
45
the
days to
line,
50
network
working days.
portions are increasing in
So my
number.
focus is
Host portions
completely
are
on
decreasing in
Python.
number.
The reason
Class
is
A
why,
has
you
1
know,
network portion.
I said
Class B has 2
already,
network portions.
without
Class C has
having
3
knowledge
network
of
portions. Class D and
Python,
Class C have
then
4
you
network
can't able
portions.
to start with
Now,
Django, right?
what is the meaning of
So
this
that's the
network and
reason.
host portion?
Whether
Let's
you
talk
are
about that.
looking for
Okay.
full stack
So to
development
understand
course
these network and
or
host
only for
portions,
Python
we'll take the
course, no
example
matter.
of
For all
Class
of
C
them,
first, which
I'll
has 3
start
network
from tomorrow
portions
onwards
and
only
only 1
Python
host
language.
portion. Okay.
Once
So
we
to write this down,
complete
if I open up a notepad file,
Python
just a second.
within the 45 working days to 50 working
So we all
days,
know the private
then
IP range for
after
Class
we'll
C
start
starts at
with Django.
192.168.00.
So at that time,
So let me
after
write down the same
45
thing
days
here.
to 50 days, you will
Just a
be good
second.
at Python
Yeah.
for sure, no doubt at all.
So
You can
Class
handle
C
the
private
things
IP
which are in
starts from
Python, so easily we can
192.168.00
understand the
and
things.
goes all the
Okay.
way to
So that
192.168.255.255.
yeah,
Okay.
course
And
fee
this
and
has 3
particulars
network
and
portions
everything our team
and
will
1
send
host
to you
portion. So
through
we take the
mail.
first address,
Okay. This is not
192.168.00.
right
The first 3
platform to
portions are the
disclose the
network portions.
details.
The
So
last
no,
portion is
don't
the
worry.
host portion.
So our team will
Okay.
assist you
Now,
regarding
leaving
this.
that aside for a
Okay.
while, let's talk
So
about the
they'll
sequence.
send the
So
mail.
this is the
So
first
in
IP.
that
What's the next IP?
complete particulars will be there.
192.168.01.
Or else you
Next
can
IP,
feel free to contact Durga sir
192.168.02.
so that they can
Next
assist
IP,
you regarding this clearly.
192.168.03. Next
So
IP,
first you have
04.
to
This
focus
goes on all the way
to attend the demos.
up
After
to
demos, you can decide it, no problem.
192.168.0254
Okay, that's my
and then 255.
what we can say suggestion.
Now, as
Don't look
long
at
as
that
the network
everything.
portion is same,
First, try to
all of
attend the
these
demo
IPs
sessions
indicate that
next
they belong to the
3
same
to 4
network
sessions
area,
so that
which
you will
means
get clarity
each of
how
these
I'm
IPs is
delivering
in
the
one
content
singular
and all,
group
so
and
that
they can
if you,
communicate with
based
each
on
other.
if you are
This is just the
comfortability,
first host,
you
the
have to
second
choose the
host,
right
the third
instructor,
host, the fourth
then
host.
it will be good
Each
for your
unique
career,
host
right?
portion indicates a
So just
different host.
focus on
So
that.
this
That's
could
it.
be my
Rest
Wi-Fi
of the things
router.
we'll take care of, no problem.
This could be my
But one thing I can
Wi-Fi
say from my end as a
router. This could be my,
trainer
let's say,
from Durga
mobile
Soft.
phone.
So if you
Yeah.
enroll for
My
this course,
smartphone or something.
at the end of the day,
Okay.
you will never
Next one would be
disappoint.
my,
That much
let's
guarantee we will
say,
give.
PC, my
So other
laptop.
than this, you have to be focused and be
Okay.
practical.
So each unique host
Okay.
portion is just
So
representing a
regular
unique
attendance
host
is
in the
required.
network.
So
This
regular
could be my
classes
smartwatch.
will leads to
Okay.
your
And as similar,
knowledge,
I can
more
have these
skills.
many
You can
hosts in
improve
this
that.
network.
So
But
instead
whenever there's a
of
change in the network portion, so when you have
skipping the sessions, so regular attendance is
192.168.1.0 after
important.
this,
If you attend the
that
classes,
divides the
the
network
concepts
there,
will be
which
clear
means now this
and
is
you will
from a
be
completely different network.
your flow will be
And this
good
IP
in the
cannot
learning
communicate
process,
with
right?
these
So that's
IPs
what.
because it
And
has a
you have to learn
different
properly
network
this
portion.
Python full
Okay.
stack
So
development
as long
courses
as the
like
network
orderly.
portions are same, all of these
So
IPs
some
belong to the
students
same
ask me,
network, the
can't
same
we
group, and
directly
each of
join
these is just
Django
individual
sessions?
host in the same
No,
network. So
without
one
having
is, again, this
Python
is the
knowledge.
first host, the
So
second host,
Django
the third
sessions
host,
are
the
not
fourth host.
possible
As such, you can
because
connect a maximum of
once we
254
start
hosts.
framework
Okay. You
development like
cannot use
Django,
00
REST
and
API, Flask,
0255 IPs.
every
These are
time I'm
not
going to write
usable
Python
IPs.
script
Okay,
only.
so this
So
is
you
called the
cannot
network
understand
ID.
Python script concept, right? Before going to
This is called the
without having
broadcast ID.
Python knowledge with Django.
Okay, so you don't
So
use these
Python is
IDs at all.
mandatory here. So in full stack
Okay.
development of
So
Python,
again, the only
wherever you
usable
write
IDs you would
some
have
logic,
are
that
from
is
1 to
Python
250.
related only.
And if we
You
round
must
it
have
up,
the
you could say
knowledge of
class
Python
C
first. After
in
that, you
each
can
class
go
C
with
network.
remaining frameworks and all.
Class
And
C
most
network,
important thing I
we
forgot to
can
tell you,
connect only a
once
maximum of
in the Django ending, after completion of Django,
255
I'm going
devices,
to
not more
deal
than
with
that.
2 to
Okay.
3
So no matter what
projects
network you
like
take, from
real-time
00 to
experience, real-time
0255 or
hands-on
from 10
project I'm going to deal with you.
to, let's say,
So
Again,
these
after this,
projects
you
we
would
can
have
include
1,
in
1.
your resume also as a
Then you would
fresher
have 1, 2.
candidate, so that we
So
have
as long as
you
this
can
first
disclose
3
your
portions are
skills.
same,
Okay, so
all of them
we
belong
have
to the same
implemented this
network.
type of
So all
projects
the way
in your
from
resume also.
192,
You can
168,
include those
10 to
projects clearly.
1255, this is
So
another
project
network.
development
And
and
even in this
real-time
network, you can
exposure you
connect a
will get
maximum of
with this
255
course.
devices.
Okay.
Then from 190 to
Yes.
168.20, all the way
Yes,
up
yes.
to
Tomorrow demo, the
2255, that's
topics will
another
be
network.
different because
So
it's a
in this network
continuation
also, you can
process.
connect only
Today, what I
255
explained,
devices.
just our
So in each
agenda,
Class C
I
network,
explained,
guys,
right?
we can
In the
connect
full
a
stack development,
maximum
what
of
subject and each
255
subject
devices.
purpose
No matter
and
which network
course
you take in
details
Class
and
C,
time
that's
duration.
what the first 3 network
But
portions
tomorrow,
can
from
cover.
here onwards, we'll
So the
continue.
first 3 network
So
portions
tomorrow,
give the
I will focus
identification for the
completely
network.
on Python only.
Last
So
host portion gives the
what is
identity for the
Python?
host
Why
in that
don't
network.
other
Each
languages?
individual host in
And
that network is given the
where do we
identity
use
for the
Python
host portion.
exactly?
Okay.
And what
So
are
in each
the
Class C network, we
versions?
can
Which
only
version
connect
is
maximum
required to
55
install and
devices.
download? What
Now,
is the
when you come
official
to Class
website
B,
of Python? These
Class
are
B
all
has
details
2
will be
network
covered in
portions
tomorrow's
and 2
session.
host portions.
And next
Okay.
we'll start
So
coding
moving
part
on to
also
Class B
slowly,
now.
which by
So
including
Class B
some
starts at
editors. Okay, so many
172.16.00
editor tools are there,
and goes up
software
to
editors to deal with Python full
31,
stack.
255,
Which editor is the
225.
best editor
You
for
have to
Python
remember these
full
ranges,
stack
guys.
development
These are
also I
mentioned over
disclose.
here
From
if
then
you notice.
onwards, I'll continue with
So
that
Class
editor
B
only.
private IP starts from 172.16.00,
Yes, for sure.
goes up to 172.31, 255,
Yes,
255.
throughout the course
Okay.
7 a.m. only,
And in
because
Class B
there is
now,
no
you have 2
chance to
network
move this
portions
session
and
before
2
or
host
after, because I
portions.
have already sessions
Okay.
engaged.
So with the
My
same logic
batches
now,
are
if we
engaged
go
with
with the
that
first
time.
IP, you
So
have the first
7 to
IP
8
as
only fixed
172.
time. Undoubtedly, no. No
16,
changes.
00.
7 to 8.
Next IP,
Daily 1 hour
172,
session.
1601. Next
Monday
IP,
to Saturday, regular
1602.
sessions. And
Next
Sunday
IP,
will be the holiday. Every
1603.
day after
This goes
session,
on all the
recorded
way
video will be uploaded
up
in the
to
saved folder.
160255.
Okay, so every day you have to
Now,
check
after
in that folder in Google
160255,
Drive.
you
So
have
recorded video will be there with the clear number,
1610.
Python 1, 2,
Okay.
3
Now,
orderly how
please
to
note the
watch it.
network doesn't divide
Along
here.
with complete
Last
material, I'll send once your enrollment process is
2
over.
octets
Core
still
Python
belong to host
PDF,
portions.
Advanced Python
So as long
PDF
as the host portions are
with
changing,
interview
it
questions
just
folder.
indicates a change in
And
the
then
host.
we will
Okay.
maintain
So
some
since
WhatsApp
this
group.
third
Once your
octet is also an
enrollment
host portion,
over,
when it
then
changes to
you are
1,
the
there's no
part
change in
of
the network
WhatsApp
here.
group.
Okay.
If you have
So
any
0255
questions
can
and
still
doubts,
free
you can
communicate
feel
with
free to
10
post
and all the
in
IPs
that
after
group.
that
We
as
will
well.
assist you
So
regarding
16, 11, 16, 1,
So
2,
this is about
all the
complete
way up to
details.
16,
And
1, 2,
now
5,
it's
5. Oh, sorry.
your turn to ask
172,
any
16,
questions.
1, 2, 5,
If you have
5.
any
And then
doubts
16,
about these
20.
sessions, feel free to
Again,
ask
this
me
is
so
also
that I'm
still
ready to give
reachable. Okay.
answer.
This goes on all the way
Yes,
up
yes.
to
After
172.16 to
yeah, it's a
550
part of
and
core
then 16
Python
to
only, no?
55 to
So
55.
yes, yes.
Now once both the last 2
Web
octets are
scraping
full,
and everything will be
okay,
there. So that
then
is
you have
part
the
of.
network
You can
division
check
again,
the
because
course
after this you
content
have
so that it will be clear.
172.17.00. So whenever there's a change in the
Yeah,
network
Mohan.
portion,
Web
then the
scraping means
network divides. Okay.
actually
So
we
all the
have
way
a
from
project
16.00 to
going to
16.255
come.
255,
So
all
we
of these
have to
IPs
get the
belong to
data
the same
from
network. But when
different
16 tends to
applications by
17,
using
the network
Python.
divides
So is
also.
it
Yes.
covered in
So from
Python or
17.00
Django?
Python
all
only,
the way up to
Python only. There is a
17.255 to
concept
55,
called
that's
web
the next
scraping.
network.
Some tools are
Okay.
there.
After that,
Request
we have the
and
next network.
request libraries will be there.
172,
Even
18.00
Django also we can use,
to
and Python also we
18.255
can use.
to
Just
55.
scrap the
That's the
data and keep the
next
data in
entire
required
network.
format, right?
Okay.
Yeah, yes,
After
yes,
that,
yes.
Yeah, yeah. That's
from
that will cover, sir. No doubt at
19.00,
all.
sorry,
Okay, okay, thanks.
all the way up to 19.255 to 55. That's the next network.
Yeah,
So like
one thing
that,
to
if
ask you,
each
sir,
Class B network now from
like, is there any
16.00
doubt
to
session
16.255
separately
to
happening
55,
after the
since you have
class,
2
or
host portions,
it
the
happens
total
during the
number of
class?
devices now you can connect
No,
here
sir.
are
During the class, you
255
can
into
see when I
55.
explain the
So in
concept and while
each
writing the script here.
Class
And
B
if you have
network
any
now,
questions, meanwhile, you can raise the
we can connect
voice or raise
a
the
maximum
message in the chat box so that
of
I'll
255
quickly answer that in the
into
during the
255
session only.
rows.
Or else at the end of the session
Okay.
also I'll
That's
ask
the
any
specialty
doubts
of Class B
after
now. Okay.
ending the session.
Because
I'll wait
each
in the
octet
meeting
here
10 minutes of
for
time
the
so
third
that you
one
can
is
feel free
repeating
to
25 times. So from
speak
0 to
with
0
me,
to
or else
55, that's
we have
one
a
time.
group, right?
Then from
So
10 0 to
at
1,
any
2, 5,
point
that's
of
another
time,
line.
even in
2, 0 to
during
2,
the
2, 5,
entire
5,
the
that's
day.
another
So
line.
if you
All
have
the
any
way from
question while
2550 to
practicing, you can feel
255,
free to
255,
post
that's
the question
56th
over
line,
there.
right?
We'll
So
ready to
each
give
octet
answer
here, okay,
with
the third
proper
octet is repeating
screenshots
255
and all. You
times.
can also share
And the
that,
third
no
octet
problem.
itself is repeating another 255 times.
As
So
long as the
255
course is
into 255.
going,
Okay.
so our
And
assistant
finally,
will
when you
be
talk
there.
about
Even
class
after
A,
completion of core also,
which
any
has all the IPs from
requirement is there, so
10,000
we'll help you regarding
to
that,
10,
undoubtedly.
255, 255,
Because we
255.
have a lot
All
of
of this you can log in one
group of
single
students
network
are there in
itself.
that group, so
Because the first portion is network
anybody
portion.
can react at any
Remaining
time.
3 portions are host portions. So from 10,000
Yeah.
all the way up to 10, 255, 255, 255. It's one single large network. And
Any
in this one
software
single
need to
large
install?
network, you can connect a maximum of
Obviously,
255
Python
into
software first you have to
255
install, then
into
after that some editors are required.
So
So
the
you will come
difference
to
in each
know
of these
mostly
classes is
tomorrow
how
or day
many
after
devices
tomorrow.
can you connect in
So
each
we'll
network.
go through orderly.
Class
So
C is used for small networks, in
editor
home
tools are
networks and
compulsory
organizational
required to
networks,
write some
where you don't
script.
have a requirement for connecting
So
more than
whenever we
55
install
devices,
for the
there you
first
go for
time
class C.
Python, so
But if you
default
have a
editor will
requirement
be
for
there,
connecting
like
more than 55
ideally,
devices in a
so
network,
integrated
there you can
development
go for
learning
class B
environment.
or class A.
But you can
Anything
go
would
through
work.
it, or else
Okay.
you can go with
So that's the
separate
relevance
editors
of
like
each of
VS
these
Code, Visual
classes,
Studio
guys, over
Code,
here.
or PyCharm editor.
Oh,
I'll
hi,
assist
Huma.
you.
Can
Don't
you
go
hear me?
with Visual Studio. We'll go with
Am I audible?
completely PyCharm editor only in our Python development.
Hello. Huma, am I audible?
So
Can
very
you hear me?
simple software, lightweight software. It takes
Audible,
just
guys.
2-3 minutes
Shiva
of time to
Krishna,
set up
Monica,
complete Python.
Abhishek.
It's not a big
Any
deal.
Yes,
questions?
you are audible, sir.
Any questions or doubts up to this point?
At present, no. If any,
So that's all
we
from my
will ask.
side today. Thanks for attending this session, and
Right.
just
So
feel
moving
free
on, that's
to
the relevance
continue
for each
the
of these
demo
classes, guys,
sessions
A,
for
B, and
next
C.
3 to
Now
4.
you might have a
You
question,
can
what
use
about
the
class
same
D
link
and
at
class
same
E?
times
Okay,
morning
class D
7
and
a.m.
class E do not have
So
any
after
private
demos, you
IPs
can
and interface.
decide
That's
that.
why you don't have
Okay.
networks in them at all.
So have a
Okay.
nice time.
Each of this
See you
is a
tomorrow
unique
at
public
7
IP.
a.m.
Okay. And these
Join
public
with the
IPs are
same
again
link.
special public IPs. They're not given to your general public for internet access.
Thank you.
They're
Thank
reserved
you.
for
Bye.
special organizations. Organizations like research and development organizations, military organizations, special government portals or government services, RAW,
Yes, let's
FBI,
start
CIA,
today's
blah,
session.
blah, blah. Okay. All of these special organizations have
So this
class
is
D
your
and class
first
E public
session
IPs with them.
of Python
They do
full
not go for
stack web
class A,
development.
B, and C. These
Okay.
IPs are only reserved
So
for
this
these
is Python
organizations. Okay. So you
full
can never
stack
get a class D and class E IP for
development
internet
session.
access. Okay. Whatever internet access you have
So
is from
first
the
of all,
first three
in
classes,
today's
A, B,
lecture,
and C.
I'm going to
Okay.
discuss
So that's what the
in Python
relevance
full
of each
stack
of these classes is.
development,
guys. Okay.
what subjects
Moving
are
on,
going
let's
to
now
be
talk
covered.
about what subnet
Okay.
mask is.
So
So
I'll
again,
explain
if you
you
open up your
clearly
command prompt,
each and
guys,
every subject
and if you type
purpose.
this command
Okay.
ipconfig
Then
over here,
you will get clarity.
you can see under the
So what
IP
things
address,
are
you see
there
some
in
value
Python
called
full
subnet
stack
mask.
development, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's talk about what the
So
subnet mask
first
is.
of all,
Okay.
in
Now the
Python full
subnet
stack
mask
development,
is a
or
very
if you
simple
want to
concept.
become a
It
Python
is for the
full stack
computer to
developer,
understand which IP
you
belongs to which
must and
class.
should
Okay.
learn
So
one
for us humans, we
language.
can understand which IP
Okay,
belongs
that
to which
is our
class with the
main
alphabets
core
N and
language.
H. Class A has
So
one
that
network
language
portion and 3
name
host
is
portions.
Python.
Class B has 2 network
So
portions
this is
and
the
2
main
host portions.
subject. Okay,
Class C has 3
Python,
network
first
portions and
language.
1 host portion. Now,
Next,
we
some
humans can understand
frameworks
this
are
with the
there
alphabets N
in
and H.
Python full
But how
stack
does a computer
development,
know which
especially
IP belongs to which class?
to
So with the
develop
network
web
portions and host
applications
portions
or
to differ,
websites.
what the computer
Okay.
would do is it would
Some
assign the
frameworks are
network
there.
portions with the value of
The
1
frameworks are
and the
nothing
host
but like
portions with the value
Django
of 0.
framework,
So when you have class A,
REST
if there's
API
one network
framework,
portion here, it puts all ones in the first
Flask
portion.
framework.
And
These are
wherever
the
there's a host
frameworks.
portion, it puts all zeros there.
Along with
And when
these
you convert that
frameworks, you
number
must
from
and should
binary to
aware
decimal
of
now, all
UI
ones is 255
basics,
and all zeros is
means
simply
user
0. So for
interfaces
class A with one
like
network
HTML
portion and 3 host portions,
plus
subnet mask
CSS
is 255
plus
000.
JavaScript
For class
and
B
then
with
jQuery
2 network portions and 2 host
and then
portions,
Bootstrap.
subnet mask is 255 255 000.
Okay.
And finally
Then
for class
along
C,
with UI
for 3 network
designing or
portions and 1
UI
host portion,
basics,
subnet
so you
mask is
must and should
255
aware
255
database
255
knowledge.
0.
So in full
Wherever there's a
stack
network portion,
development,
there's 255.
we are going
Wherever
to
there's
cover
host portion, there's
SQLite
0.
tree and
that is the same reason why
MySQL.
I see here
These are
255
the database
255
tools.
255 0. Why
So
so?
observe
The
carefully.
IP that I'm
These are
getting here,
the main subjects which I'm
192.168.05
going
is
to
a
cover in
class C
full
type
stack development.
and class C
Okay.
has a
One
subnet mask
language,
of
that is Python,
255 255
and total 3
255
frameworks,
Okay.
Django,
So that's
REST
how a
API,
computer
Flask.
understands that this IP belongs to
These
class
are
C,
web
and
application
from that it
development
understands
frameworks.
its range as well. So
In the web
since I
application
belong to class
development
C, I can
process,
only communicate a
you must
maximum of
aware the
255
UI
IPs.
design,
That's what the
like
computer
how
gets
to
to know
prepare the
from the
web pages
subnet
or
mask.
websites
Okay.
design
So it
wise.
knows its range, it
Design
knows its
purpose, we need
IP's
to learn
connectivity,
UI
how many
basics.
devices can communicate with, what's the
Okay,
first
and
IP, what's the last
database
IP.
management
All
also
that is
required,
understood
right?
from
In
the
the web
subnet
development
mask
process,
itself.
compulsory, we need to
Now,
handle with our
moving on,
data.
after this we have next
So the
value called called default
database
gateway.
management
This is
purpose,
just
we need
another
to
fancy
learn
name for your
database
Wi-Fi
tools
router
like
guys.
SQLite 3
In
and
your home
MySQL.
network, if you click over
So
here,
total these
in this
6
image,
subjects I'm going to cover
which I showed
in
yesterday.
Python full stack
Now,
development.
whenever any of these
So
devices
if you
wants to communicate with the
enroll
internet,
for this
they have to
Python full
always send the
stack
packet to your
development, the
Wi-Fi
course
router.
duration is
Similarly,
4
when any
months.
packet needs to come from the
Yes,
internet
it
to
will
your
take
internal
totally
devices, they
4
have to
months
pass your Wi-Fi router.
to complete
So your
all
Wi-Fi
these
router here is
6
acting as a
subjects.
gateway in
That
between
is
the
a
private
part
network
of Python
and
full
the
stack
public
development.
network. Okay.
For
So
suppose
whenever
if you
there's a
enroll
device
only
which
for
is acting
Python,
as a gateway
that
to
means some
transmit data
students are looking
across
for
2 different
only
networks,
Python
okay, it's
programming
either called as a
language
router
according to
or a
their
default
requirement.
gateway.
It's enough.
Okay, the gateway between
Python,
2
basic
different
Python,
networks.
that is
All
core
of these
Python,
devices will defaultly
advanced
send
Python,
packet
both are there
always to
in
the router
Python
itself,
language.
and the router
Only
transmits it
Python
to
if
the
you
other
enroll.
networks,
So
and
it
vice versa.
takes,
All the
the
packets
duration
coming in from
is
the internet will
45
reach the
working
router,
days to
and
50
router
working
transmits
days.
transmits it to the
Okay, that means up
appropriate
to 2
device
months
or
I
the
can say
required
that.
device. Okay.
Only
And your
Python
router usually
up to
gets the
2 months,
first IP in the
like
network.
45
That's why it
working
has
days to 50 working days. And full stack
192.168.0.1.
development of Python,
Okay,
that
that's my
means
Wi-Fi router,
total
which
3
is called the
frameworks,
default
1
gateway.
programming
Okay.
language,
So when you run the
UI
IP config
basics,
command,
and
these are the 3
SQLite and
important pieces
MySQL.
of information you
For
get for
this,
every
it will
adapter.
take 4 months
Just
duration.
adapter's IP address,
Okay.
the subnet
So
mask
depends
to
on
define
your
which class it
requirement, you
belongs
can
to,
choose
and
any
how
one.
does it communicate to the
So I
internet.
can
What
give
is the
you
device
some clarity
device
about
which it
this.
needs to connect to
Who
when it
should
wants
go
to
with
communicate with
only
the internet,
Python
the
language,
default.
and
Okay,
who
this
should
is
go
your
with
Wi-Fi router.
complete Python full stack development.
So
Suppose
that
your
is the piece of
requirement
information
is,
you get in your
after learning
command prompt, the
Python,
IP config
if you
command
want to
phase.
move
Okay.
towards
Moving on
data
after
science
this,
or data analysis or ML, machine learning or AI, in this area, if you are planning to go with this area like
moving on.
data science,
After this, let's talk about
data analysis, AI
the
and
assignment
ML,
of private
even
IPs.
AWS,
So we all know public
DevOps.
IPs are
So
assigned by the
after
ISP, Internet
learning
Service Provider.
Python,
We
if
don't
you
have
are
the
moving
control to
towards
assign
these
our own
courses,
public
then
IP
better
address.
to go with
They're
only
always assigned
Python
by
core
the
and
Internet
advanced.
Service Providers, by the
So no need to
organizations like
learn
Airtel,
Django, REST
Act
API,
Fiber,
Flask, UI and all.
Geo,
Okay. But
whatnot.
some students
Okay.
are looking
But
for
private
purely
IPs are in
Python
your
if they
control.
don't
You
have
can
any
assign
plan
any
to
private
move
IP that you
towards
want
data
to your
science or
network.
AL,
So today we'll be
ML,
learning how do you
AI,
assign a private
and
IP to your system. Okay.
DevOps,
And there are two
AWS
methods to
like
do
this.
this, guys.
So if you
One,
want
you
to
can assign
become
it
complete
manually
full
from the
stack
control
developer
panel.
of
Or
Python,
two,
so better
alternatively,
to
you
go
can
with
get it
all
from
these
a
subjects,
DHCP
full
server.
stack development.
Okay. So let's talk
So
about
this
both the
is
methods
just
today.
I'm giving
Okay.
clarity.
So
Then
firstly,
you can
we'll go with the
decide
manual
which you
method,
want.
and then I'm going to
Okay.
talk about
Yes.
the DHCP
Now
server
let's talk
method.
about
So to assign it manually, you
each
have to
and
open up
every
your control
subject
panel.
purpose
Then you
actually.
go to network and
So I'm
internet.
saying in
Then you
full
go to
stack
network
development,
and
you are
sharing
going to
settings.
learn these
Then you
all
go to
6
change
subjects,
adapter
right?
settings.
So each
You right
subject
click on the
purpose you
adapter,
must aware
go to
that.
the properties,
So
go
first
to IPv4
subject is
properties, and then
Python.
you change the
So
IP
what is
address.
Python here?
Quite lengthy, but
Okay.
let me show you
Yeah.
this
First
practically
we'll
now.
talk
So I
about
can open up
Python
my
later.
control panel.
I'm giving just brief introduction each and every
In the
subject
control
so
panel,
that
I go
what
to
is the
network
purpose
and
of
internet.
subject you must know that.
In network and
So
internet, I
after
go to
that we'll
network and
begin with
sharing
Python
center.
only. Because
In
Python
network
is
and sharing center, I
mandatory
can go to change
before going
adapter
to
settings.
learn
And
anything
these are
in
all the
full stack
adapters
development like
available on my
Django, REST
system
API,
currently.
Flask, other
I'm
things.
connected on
So
my
first
Wi-Fi adapter
45
here.
days to
So
50
if I want to
days,
change the IP for
we
this,
have to
I can
focus
right
on
click on
only
this, go
Python.
to properties,
So first
IPv4
Python
properties,
is
okay, and I can assign the IP. So you see there are two
Python is a
methods.
programming
Currently,
language.
I'm getting the IP automatically from a DHCP server.
Python is
If I
a
had to change this, I
programming
can select the
language.
second option here,
Generally,
and I
any
can start
programming
assigning the
language if
IP
you
of my
take, which
choice.
is used
So
to
currently, I'm
develop
getting the IP 192.168.0.5.
coding part,
But if I have
coding
to
part
change that, I can assign a
for the
different IP.
applications.
192.168.0. Dot, let's say
Python is a
50
programming
or
language
60 or
which
anything.
is used
Okay.
to develop coding part
Since this
or
is
which
class
is used
C,
to
it's
write
255,
coding part
255,
for the
2550.
application
And default
development.
gateway, it's my router's IP.
So if you want to
192.168.0.1.
develop the applications,
Okay. Now,
you
along
must
with
write
this
some logic
information,
or
you
coding,
also
right?
have to
The
assign
coding we
something
can
called the
write
DNS
using
server
what
element.
language? Python
Now,
language.
just in case,
So
if
that's
you don't
what
know
we
what
can
to
say it is
assign
a programming
you can
language.
go to your browser,
So
and in the
programming
browser,
part is
you can do a
important
quick
and logic
search
part is important important
Google
for
DNS
developing
server
any
IP.
application. Okay,
Google
this is the language actually.
DNS server
So throughout
IP. And this
entire
will
full
provide you
stack
two
development,
addresses. One
wherever
is
you write some logic or
8.8.8.8,
wherever you write
and the other
some
one is
coding part,
8.8.4.4.
that coding part
And you can use
going
any
to
one of
be
them
written
place.
in
So you can go back
Python
here.
language thrown.
You can type
So that's what you must aware Python
8.8
compulsory
or
before going to start
8.8
writing code in any
4.4.
framework like Django, REST
Okay.
API and all.
And as soon as I click on
So this
OK,
is our main
my
core
system's IP
language,
address will change from 0.5 to
what we are going to
0.16.
learn first initial
So let me
days
just show
of
this
Python
again.
full
When I'm
stack
changing my
development
IP, we
course.
might get
Okay.
loss
So
of
once you
connection,
know
guys.
about
We might get
Python,
disconnected from the
once
meeting,
you are
but don't
good
worry,
at
we'll
Python,
automatically connect
okay,
back as
so
well.
then
Okay.
it's easy
So be a
to
bit patient.
develop
I
any
might get disconnected
applications
for a while, but I'll
by
automatically
using
connect
these
back. Okay.
frameworks.
So let me
So
show you.
next
As soon as I
subject
click
is
on
what?
OK, now this should
Django.
change my IP.
What is
I'll
Django
show you.
here? So Django is not a programming language. Then what it
Okay.
is? So you can
Are we
say
still connected?
Django is
Hope I
a
am.
framework. Yes, Django is a framework which is
Am I audible,
used
guys? Can you
to
hear me? I hope we
develop
didn't lose the
the
connection.
web
Or did we?
Yes,
applications.
you're audible.
I am
So
audible,
if you
right?
want
So
to
as you can see,
develop
the
web
Wi-Fi router
applications,
has
then
now,
we use
again, my
Django
system which
framework
has the
in
Wi-Fi
Python
router
full
has
stack
now the new
development.
IP 190.
So it's not a programming language. It is a
168.0.16.
framework.
Okay.
Okay.
So that is
What
how you
is
can change
framework
the private
generally?
IP on your system,
Yes.
guys.
Framework
But
is nothing but
one second.
it's
I
a
think I
collection
lost the
of
connection.
built-in
Yeah.
class libraries. Built-in
We are
class
done.
library means each class library
Hi, Homa. I
contains
hope
some
you can hear
built-in
me now.
classes like
As you
predefined
notice, this is
classes,
now the changed IP
and each
address.
predefined class
So
is
earlier it was
having built-in
192.168.0.5,
functionality.
but
That
now it
means
shows
already
0.60. The
pre-written
reason why it shows
or
that is because that
developed
is the
code,
IP which
which
I've
is
assigned
directly
over here,
available
if you
to
notice.
use in our
Okay. So in
applications.
the olden days, if you were the
So the
network admin
moment
for the
when we install
organization,
Django
it was your
framework,
responsibility
so it
to go to
offers
each and every
lot
system
of
in the network and
libraries,
assign a unique IP
especially
this way.
which are
So no matter how many
required to
devices
develop
in your
web
organization, you were
applications.
supposed to go
Those
to each and every
libraries
single system,
can
open
be
up the
used
control
to
panel,
develop
go to
web
the network
applications
settings, and
at
assign
faster
a plan your
rate.
IP this way. Okay.
That means
If it were a
if
small
they have
network, that's completely fine.
built-in
But it
libraries
is not
or
that big of a task.
predefined
It is that
libraries,
hectic. But let's say if your
using that
organization
built-in
has like
libraries, we
thousands
can
of systems,
quickly develop
in
the
such a
web
scenario,
applications, right?
you going to
We
each and
don't
every
need to
system
waste
and
the time
assigning an IP this way
because from
is
the scratch
practically
we need
impossible.
not to write
It's
any
very
logic.
lengthy.
Only
So rather than you going and
we can
manually
use
assigning an IP
the
to each
libraries
system,
which are provided by
alternatively,
Django.
you can use
So it's a
something called
framework. Framework
DFC.
means it's
With
having
just one single click
set
of a
of
button,
rules and
your system
specifications.
automatically gets an
Okay,
available
it's
IP.
having
So
sort
when I
lot
select
of
the first
libraries.
option
By
here,
following
and
the
if I
rules
click
and
on OK,
specifications, we have to develop
and
some
if I click on
applications. So
I get my
Django is not a
original IP
programming
back, the
language.
first IP which I got.
Django is a framework which
So if
is
I go
used
back to
to
my
develop
command
web
prompt now,
applications. Web
and if I run
application means what?
ipconfig again, you
Please
can
mute
see
your audio.
I've got my original IP back.
Web application means what?
So
The application
I think
which
I
will
got
provide
disconnected here again.
services
One
over
second,
the web
guys.
is called web application, right? The application which will provide
Okay. I think
the
Huma, you can.
services over the web
Huma, I hope you can
is
hear me
called
now again.
web
Since
applications.
I've changed my
So
IP again, we should be
application
reconnected back.
which will
Okay,
provide
so as you
the
can see,
services
now I
over
get my
the
original
web
IP
is
back,
called web application.
192.168.5.
Fine.
Okay.
But
I
I'm
got that
saying
IP
that
just with
Django
one
is a
single click of a
framework,
button. I went to my
and
adaptive
Django
properties,
is a
IPv4
Python-based
properties,
framework.
and I selected the first option.
Django
And with
is
just that first option
Python-based
selected, I got my
web
original IP back.
development
But the main question
framework.
is, how am I getting this IP?
It's
Who is
completely
providing this
Python-based
IP?
web development
So
framework.
this IP is provided by something
So that
called
means Django
DHCP
framework
server.
completely
DHCP
written in
stands
Python
for
language only.
Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol server.
Django
It
framework
stands for Dynamic
written in
Host Configuration Protocol server.
Python language.
So the name itself
So
tells you what it
ultimately,
does.
I
It
can
is to
say
dynamically
to
or
start learning
automatically
of Django,
configure and
especially
assign
to
an
develop
internet
web
protocol
applications,
address to every
first of
host
all,
in the
you
network.
must have
Okay. And that
the
happens with
knowledge
something
of
called the
Python.
Durga process, guys.
So
I'm going to explain what this
Django
Durga process is.
prerequisite subject is
So to
Python.
explain this
If you
in a
know
very
the
simple
Python
manner, let me
knowledge,
show you a
then
simple
easily
diagram.
we can implement web
So
applications
let's say
using
in our
Django
home
framework.
network, we have a DHCP
Why
server.
Django
Now you
need
might ask a
Python
question,
means because
where is the DHCP
Django
server
is
in our home
completely
networks? Our
written in
Wi-Fi
Python
router
language
itself
only. How they
acts as a
developed
DHCP server,
Django
guys.
framework by
So in our
writing
home
Python
networks, the
script.
Wi-Fi router
So that's the reason
or
we
the
can say
DHCP
Django
server
is a
is
Python-based
the
web
same
development
device.
framework. It's
Okay.
completely
And your
Python
DHCP
frameworks.
server always
And
has the
Django
pool
can
of free
understand the
IP addresses.
instructions
It gets the first
from
IP in the
Python only.
network,
So you can't send any instructions from different language
192.168.0.1,
like Java or
and all the
C
remaining
language.
IPs
So
are
Python
available as a
instructions
pool.
only can understand by Django, so it is
Okay.
easy to
So from the
implement web
next IP,
applications
0.2,
by writing code in
0.3,
Python language.
0.4,
So to learn
it has a
Django,
pool of
Python
all
is
these
mandatory.
available IPs.
To learn Python, nothing
till
is
the
mandatory
last IP,
because Python is
254
a basic programming
and
language.
255.
To learn this basic language, no
Now, whenever
any
this there's a
basic
device in the
language is
network
required.
connected.
Like C, C++,
These devices
not at all.
automatically get
Because
an IP
itself,
from the
Python itself,
DHCP
it is a
server
basic language,
with the
right?
process called the Durga
You can learn
process.
from scratch.
DORA.
Okay.
And with this
And
DORA
also
process,
you
they
will
can
get
get
the
IP
knowledge in
available
the
from
basic level and intermediate
0.2
level and advanced
let's say
level
0.3.
once you complete your Python
And please
course
note,
here.
whenever an
So
IP
I'll
is
teach from
assigned
the
to any of
scratch,
these
no need to
systems,
worry.
those
If
IPs
some
are
students
removed from
feel
the
that
pool
I
again.
don't
So
have
now you
any
don't have
programming
0.2 and
knowledge,
3
then
anymore.
is that
Okay.
possible to
So the
learn
next
Python?
available IP will be
Undoubtedly,
4,
it's possible to learn Python.
5, 6, so and
Python,
so. Okay.
no
So whenever an
prerequisite
IP is
languages.
assigned from the
Okay,
pool,
directly you
that
can
IP does
start
not
learn
exist
with
in the
Python
pool
only.
anymore. It is
And
given to the
Django,
system
before
there.
going to Django,
Now, what is
you
this
must
DORA?
have the
Let's talk
Python
about that.
knowledge.
So
Okay,
let's say you
otherwise
connect
you
one
can't.
more system in the network.
So this is about
Okay.
Django.
So the first thing
Subject,
that this
purpose.
system does is it
Okay,
starts broadcasting a
purpose is what?
signal
To
so
develop
to
web
whatever other
applications.
devices are there in the network.
What type of framework it
Okay,
is?
it sends a
Python framework.
broadcast
Why it
signal.
is
So it
Python
sends a
framework?
packet to
Because
this
it's written
device,
in
to this
completely
device,
Python
and to
language, right?
this device as well.
Next,
Now you
I'm
might have a
trying
question:
to
how
discuss
does it
about
send a broadcast signal?
third
So if
subject,
you
which is
remember,
also
there
very,
was an
very
IP called the
important in
broadcast
real
IP, the
time.
last IP.
That is REST
Whenever a
API.
packet is sent to this IP,
This is our
it is
third
sent to
subject,
every
which
other
I'm
system
going to
in the
cover
network.
in our
Okay.
full stack
So a
development
packet sent to
course,
the broadcast
REST
IP will go
API.
to every other
See,
device.
sir, whatever the order
And
I
this
have
packet
written
is
here,
called the
same
discover
order
packet.
I'm going to
So
cover all
basically,
these subjects.
it's trying to
But
figure
except
out who
UI
the
and
DHCP server is.
SQLite,
It's trying to
because these
discover
two
who the
under
DHCP
comes
server
into
is.
Django,
It's asking every
REST
system,
API
are you the
and
DHCP
Flask.
server?
These frameworks
Are you the
only in the
DHCP
middle.
server? Are you the DHCP
So let's talk
server?
about REST API.
So when it reaches the wrong
Sir,
devices,
we know
they just decline the packet.
how to develop Django web
But when it reaches
application
the
by
correct
using
server,
Python. We are
that
ready with
server
web
responds
application,
back
right?
saying, hi,
Then
I'm the
why
DHCP
REST
server
API
at this
again?
network,
Yes, it's
and I
very
can
important
offer you
in real
an
time.
IP address.
What is the
So an
REST
offer
API
is made
purpose?
with the
I'll
next
tell you
available
that.
IP
So
in the
here,
pool.
first of all,
Okay. When that
REST
offer is
API is
made,
one
your
of the
client says, oh,
framework.
thanks for offering me that
Let's
IP.
talk about
I'm
this.
requesting you
REST
that you
API
allocate that IP to my
is
system
a framework.
and do not assign it to
It is
anybody
also
else.
completely
Okay.
Python
So for that
based
request
framework.
now, your DHCP
REST
server
API is a
says,
framework.
okay, I acknowledge your request,
Purpose of the
and this
REST
is my
API is which is
confirmation.
used to
So there's an acknowledgement sent.
develop, which
And
is
with that
used to
acknowledgement,
develop
the system
the
gets the
APIs.
next available IP,
APIs for web
192.168.0.4.
applications.
And once it gets that, it is removed from
APIs
the
for web
pool again
application.
here. Okay.
In REST
So next
API,
available IP would just be 0.5.
in REST API,
Okay. Oh, sorry.
REST
Yeah.
means
So this entire process is called the DORA process. D for
REST
discover,
means
O for offer,
representational
R for request,
state
and A for
transfer.
acknowledgement. All of
In
this
REST
happens in a
API.
split second, guys. Outside.
Okay.
I'm pretty
In REST
sure you might have
API,
observed this at least once in your life. Okay.
API
So whenever you
means
connect your phone to a Wi-Fi router, when you
REST
enter the
means what?
password and click on
REST
connect,
means
for a very short
representational
duration, you see a
state
message
transfer.
saying obtaining IP address.
In REST API,
So that is why your phone is
API
performing the DORA
means
with the router and trying to obtain an
application,
IP. And once it has obtained it, it shows connected there.
application,
Okay. So after you enter the correct password and authenticate yourself,
programming,
it performs the DORA, assigns an IP to your system, to
interface,
your phone, and
application
shows connected
programming
after that.
interface.
So that is when the DORA
So
happens.
REST means representational
So
state
that is your
transfer.
DHCP protocol.
API means
guys. D
application
for discover,
programming interface.
O for
REST
offer,
is an
R
architecture
for request,
or
and A for
design pattern.
acknowledgement.
Simple.
Okay.
The
Any
API
questions? Any
which
doubts
is
up to
going
this
to
point?
design based
Abhishek,
on REST
Monica,
architecture
Shiva,
is called
Uma.
REST API.
No.
So what is the use of APIs? Sir? Because I'm saying that REST API is used to develop APIs,
So
application
let's talk about
programming
one more server
interface
for today,
for
guys.
web
I'm going to end the
applications.
session after that.
So
Let's
why
talk about
REST
the
API
DNS server.
means?
So if you remember,
Actually,
when I was
API
assigning
is
a manual IP, it was asking me for
a
DNS server
software
address.
tool.
Okay. And I
API
assigned
is a
something like
software tool which enables
8.8.8.8.8.4.4. Now, what is a DNS server and what does
the
it do?
web application,
DNS stands for Domain Name System
which
Server.
enable the
Okay.
web application
And a DNS server
to
is like the
communicate,
internet's contact book, guys. Okay.
to
Now, all of us
communicate
has a phone, and
with
in that
other
phone, there's an
applications.
application called Contacts.
To
What does the
communicate with
Contacts application do,
other
guys? It
applications.
links a
Yes,
contact
this is
name
very
with a
important
contact
in
number,
real time,
so
right?
that you don't have to remember
For
all those
example,
numbers.
you are
You
having
might have hundreds and hundreds
you
of
are
numbers
going to
in your
deal
phone.
with many
You
web
don't have to remember
applications
them
in
because
real
you can
time. For
save it to memory.
example,
You can
consider
contact
a
them. And next
flipkart.com
time when you want to
website is there.
contact that person, you can just search by
In the
the name. You can dial
flipkart.com
by that
website,
name,
what we can
etc.
do
etc.
generally, we can
Although
select
the
the
connection is still
product
made
and we
on the
can
10-digit
click
number,
on
the
buy
SIM card
now.
number,
After that,
you only have
the
to remember
Flipkart
the name,
website
right?
can
Similarly, when you go
communicate
to your
with the
browser
banking
and when you
application
search
for
for something
making
like
payments, right? Here, what's going to
www.google.com,
happen consultant for doing
Your
transaction
browser does
over
not
the Flipkart
understand this
website.
language, guys.
So
It
the
doesn't know what
Flipkart web
Google.com is.
application
Okay. This is
should
called a domain
communicate
name.
with banking
Okay.
web
So
application,
domain
right?
name
Here,
is
two
only for you to
applications are
remember what
communicating
that
or
web
talking
server
with each
is, or
other
which
by
web server
sending
you're trying to
request and
connect to.
response for
What the
making
browser
transactions
actually needs to
successful.
connect is the web server's
So that
IP address.
communication
So
who is
somewhere on
going
the
to
internet,
provide means
there's a physical server.
exactly
On that
API,
physical server, you have to
application
specify
programming
hosted.
interface.
And
Here,
this
two
physical
or
server
more
has an IP
application can
address.
communicate
So
with
that
each other.
IP address
That
is required by
purpose,
a browser to
API
connect to it.
software is
But
required. It's a
again, you
software
might
tool
not know
we
what
have
that
to
IP is.
design
So what you do
for
is you
our web
contact a
application.
DNS server.
Yes,
Okay.
Python
So
with
the
the
request
Django
that
through, we are
initiates
going to
first from your
develop web
system
applications.
is
Once our
always a
web
DNS
application is
request.
ready,
Okay. So when you
And
search
to
for
provide
google.com, your
more
system sends a DNS
services
request
for the
to the
customers,
ISP, internet service provider.
our web
And your
application
internet
need to
service
be
provider
interact
has
with other
DNS
applications for
servers.
making
These DNS
transactions. So for
servers
that, we
have
need to
huge
generate
records of
API
databases.
as a web developer
So there's a database
responsibility.
with
So
records here
API
telling
generate
which domain
purpose,
has
we
what
need to
IP
use
address.
another framework called REST
Google.com stored on
API.
so-and-so IP.
So the API
Bing.com
is a
stored on so-and-so
software
IP.
tool
YouTube.com stored on
which
so-and-so IP.
enables the
Show.com
web
stored on
application to
so-and-so IP.
communicate
So
with
this
other
is like a
application.
contact
It's
book for the internet.
mandatory.
Again, domain name
And
linking
the
with the
API
contact
which is
number
used
or the
to
IP address.
generate or
Okay, so this is the
design
contact name,
by
contact
using
domain
an
name,
architecture
IP
called
address.
REST
So once it
architecture
gets to know what the
is
exact
called
IP
REST
is,
API.
from there now
In
it
any
reaches
full
the
stack
exact
development,
server.
not only here,
Now,
Python full
we don't
stack
have to
development,
remember these
even in
IP
Java
addresses
full stack
anymore
development,
because the
.NET full stack
internet's contact
development,
book
APIs
is
are very
linking all
common.
that. So DNS
Here we are
server is the
using a
internet's
name
phone
of
book,
subject like REST
translating
API.
human
Java
readable
people, they
domain
use
names into
RESTful
IP
APIs.
addresses.
.NET people,
When
they
you type a
use web
URL in the
API.
browser,
So simple.
the DNS will
So
resolve
this
or
is another
convert that
subject we
domain
are
name
going to
into
learn,
the
a REST
corresponding
API
IP.
for
And
generating
it allows
APIs
your
for
device
web
to connect to
applications.
that exact web server.
And when
Okay.
we should
If you don't have
learn
this
REST
DNS
API
server,
after
you have to
completion of
remember the public
Django.
IP of each and
So
every
to
website
learn
you have to
REST
connect.
API,
Okay.
what are
Thanks to
the
a DNS server,
prerequisite
we can only
subject,
connect with their domain
Django
names
and
directly.
as well as Python.
If
Both
I
are
show you an
required.
example for this, if I open up my command prompt again,
How I said, to learn
and in my
Django,
command
Python is
prompt,
mandatory
oh,
before
sorry.
going to starts with
If I run a
Django
command
means
here, let's say ping.
Python is
Ping is a command
mandatory.
to check for
So to
connectivity.
learn REST
Okay,
API,
it
what is
sends something
required?
called
Django as
ICMP
well as
packets
Python,
and
both are
checks and
required.
gets a
Because
response if the
even
server is
though we are
available.
using REST
So if you
architecture
type ping
to generate APIs, complete
www.google.com,
logic part we are
it
going to
sends some
write using
packets to
Python
Google's
language
server
only.
and checks
So
if it's
Python is
getting a
mandatory.
response or not.
Everywhere we are going
And
to
you can
use
see
in
here,
full stack
I'm getting a
development,
response
wherever
back,
you write
reply
logic
back
part, that
from
logic part
Google.
should be written in
But you see,
Python
there's
only.
an IP address here.
So REST
142,
API need
251,
two prerequisite
221,
subjects like Django
196.
and Python.
If I copy that
Next,
IP,
other
if I go
framework
to
is
my
there. This
browser
is Flask.
and if I
So
paste
it
that
is
IP address here,
a completely
and if I hit
different
enter,
framework here.
carefully observe what happens.
So it is also Python
I
based
get Google
framework.
website.
So
Okay.
to learn
So this was
Flask,
the actual IP for Google.
Django
But we
is
don't have to
not at all
remember this
required.
anymore
REST API
because
not
there's a
required.
DNS server
Directly you can
converting
start
this domain
learn
name into
Flask
that
with
IP
only
and vice
Python
versa.
knowledge.
Okay. So
So
DNS
Python is
servers are the
enough
internet's
to
phone
learn
books.
Flask.
Okay.
What is Flask
Translating
framework?
domain
It
names
is.
into human
So
readable.
Flask is a
Translating
framework.
IP addresses and domain names.
Flask
And
is a
vice
framework
versa. Okay.
which is
So earlier when we gave
Flask is a framework
8.8.8.8.8.4.4,
which is used to
those are
develop
basically Google's DNS
a
servers.
single
Okay. So
page
Google is
web
also maintaining
applications.
global DNS
Yes.
servers. These can be used for
Single
free
page
by
web
anyone in the
applications.
internet. Okay. So Google Public DNS is a free
So
public
as I said,
service.
Django is a
That
framework
allows
which is
anyone to
used
use
to
Google's
develop web
contact servers,
applications.
I would say. Okay.
But what
For
is
faster,
the
safer, and
difference
more
between
reliable
Flask and
internet
Django
browsing.
means Django
Okay.
through we
So you
can
could either use your
develop medium scale and
DNS servers or
maximum
you could
scale
use Google's DNS
applications.
servers.
Okay.
Anything would
But
work.
using
Okay.
Flask, we
Unless and
can't
until you have a
develop
DNS
medium
server
scale and
or the
maximum
DNS
scale
server's IP,
applications.
you would
Mostly
not know how
using
to
Flask, we
route the
can
traffic
develop
over
what
the
you know,
internet. Okay. So
single
that's what
page
a
web
DNS
applications
server is.
only.
Is
Single
that clear,
page web
everyone?
application means
Abhishek,
like dashboard
Monica,
applications
Shiva,
or microservice
Frank.
programming purpose, we use Flask.
Right.
Flask is a
Umang, any
framework which
questions?
is used to develop single page web application, and Flask is a Python based micro
So
framework.
yeah, that's that, guys. That's nothing. Again, I think
Flask is
we can conclude the
a
session over.
Python
These are a
based
few important networking topics.
micro
Okay. There's a
framework.
few more. I think there's one more topic called special
Micro
IDs.
framework,
Okay, that's the one last topic left
which
out.
can be
We'll cover this in the next
used
session on Monday.
to
Okay.
write
So if you have not registered already, please do register at the
microservices
earliest, guys.
programming.
I think the link might change from Monday. Okay.
Microservices
So
programming
if you have not
also.
registered already, please do so at
So
the
this is
earliest.
Flask.
Okay.
To learn
And in the
Flask,
next class,
only
we're going to
Python
discuss
is
the
required,
special IDs,
not
and we also dive into the next
anything
topic,
required.
lab setup
So it's a
installation.
small
How do you
Flask
install this
framework.
application called
So
VMware,
instant
VMware Workstation?
service usage
And in this
purpose, we can
VMware
write Flask
application,
script
how do you
and it
install
can be
this
helped to
operating system
develop
called
applications
Kali
clearly.
Linux? Okay.
So in
So I'm
our
going to show you a
syllabus,
practical
Flask
setup
is also one
for
of the
the
framework
lab environment
which
for
is
the
going to
entire
be
course.
deal a
This
small
is what we
scale
talk about in
application
the next
development.
class.
This is also
Okay.
used to design
So yeah, that's that. Nothing further. If you have any questions, you can let me know, guys. If not, we can exit the session here.